पर एंड पर ये 6th स्पॉट तक आ चुके थे। सो अभी के लिए निग्मा गैलेक्सी को भी बचना पड़ेगा, कहीं ना कहीं नीचे जो टीम्स उनके मौजूद हैं वो उनको टारगेट करने की जरूर कोशिश करेंगी। दो टीम्स का इनिशियल्स में अगर वो इस मैच में एलिमिनेट हो जाती हैं, अगर वो इस मैच में इनिशियल्स में एलिमिनेट हो जाती हैं, बहुत कुछ चेंज होगा लीडर बोर्ड के ऊपर। एक तो टीम फाल्कन्स है, दूसरी है टीम टीजेबी। टीजेबी ने कल के दिन दे वर नॉट इन फॉर्म एट ऑल, वो 52 के बिल्कुल ऊपर मौजूद हैं और 13 स्पॉट के ऊपर फिलहाल मौजूद हैं। कल के दिन उन्होंने एवरेज पॉइंट्स पर मैच सिर्फ 3.3 स्कोर किए हैं और पहले दिन का जब उन्होंने इख्तिताम किया था तो वो पहले पेज पर #6 पर मौजूद थे, लेकिन अब वो #13 पर आ चुके कल के दिन। सो कहीं ना कहीं टीजे भी बिल्कुल भी इन फॉर्म नहीं है, जोर मारते हुए नजर आएंगे। लेकिन वही बात है, जोर जब भी कोई टीम लगाती है और इस स्टेज पर आकर आखिरी दिन पर आकर बड़ी बड़ी टीम्स लड़खड़ा जाती हैं, ऐसा बड़ी बड़ी टीम्स के कॉन्फिडेंस शाटर हो जाते हैं। टीजे भी कल की जो इतनी खास नहीं दिखाएगी उनकी तरफ से परफॉर्मेंस। तो आज के दिन इम्कानात ज़रूर हैं कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा प्रेशर उनके ऊपर बिल्ड हो चुका है। 52 और सोल के लिए एक विंडो ज़रूर ओपन हो चुकी है।
बिल्कुल विंडो ज़रूर ओपन होगी, लेकिन देखते हैं क्या इस विंडो से ताज़ी हवा आएगी या फिर माय गुडनेस जो हम देख रहे थे कल के दिन, जिस तरह ये दोनों टीम स्ट्रगल कर रही थी। एंड अगेन आज के दिन मैं समझता हूँ कि लास्ट 6 मैचेस रह चुके हैं एंड आई वांट देम टू प्ले लाइक कि आज ही आखिरी दिन है, आज ही आखिरी मौका है इस कंपटीशन के अंदर अपना मार्क बनाने का। एंड अगर उसी निडर और जो है वो एक मैं समझता हूँ कि टेक्निकल तरीके से ये दोनों टीम्स खेलती हुई नजर आएंगी, तो पॉसिबली ऊपर की जो रैंक्स की टीम्स हैं उनके लिए मसला खड़ा करती हुई नजर आएंगी। एंड यही चीज़ जो है वो इस कंपटीशन को भी एक्साइटिंग करेगी आदि, बिकॉज अगर नीचे वाली टीम्स जो है वो ये चीज़ फील कर जाती है, वो चीज़ ये समझती है कि हमारी वजह से कंपटीशन जो है वो और ज़्यादा टफ हो जाएगा अपर रैंक की टीम्स के लिए, सो उन्हें इस चीज़ का भरपूर फ़ायदा उठाना चाहिए और मुश्किल करना चाहिए इस जीत को तमाम टीम्स के लिए जो कि अभी फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड स्पॉट के लिए कंटेस्ट कर रही हैं। सो अगेन एक एक्साइटिंग सिचुएशन जो है वो हमारे सामने बनती हुई इस पूरे लीडर बोर्ड की, और उतरते साथ ही फाल्कन ई स्पोर्ट्स ने अपने लिए पहली एलिमिनेशन सिक्योर कर भी ली है। एक किल पावरफुल की तरफ से कंफर्म कर दिया जा चुका है। आई बिलीव मॉर्फ का स्क्वाड उनके काफ़ी करीब था, जिनके ऊपर जो है वो पॉसिबल एलिमिनेशन आ सकती थी, लेकिन मॉर्फ के प्लेयर्स टाइमली अपने आप को वहाँ से रिट्रीट कर लेते हैं और वहाँ से उनकी तरफ से निकला जाता है। लेकिन पहला सर्कल यहाँ पर क्लोज इन होता हुआ और उसी के साथ हमारा पहला सर्कल जो है वो शिफ्ट भी थोड़ी ही देर के अंदर हमें लेता हुआ आदि नजर आएगा। एंड पॉसिबली सर्कल जो है वो हमें घटका और प्रिमोस की तरफ ही मूव करता हुआ नजर आएगा।
अगर गाटका जाता है सर्कल तो एसएन टीम सोल को बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा पहुंचेगा, क्योंकि वो वहां पर ही लूट करते हैं और टीम सोल के प्लेयर्स के लिए एक प्लेट में रखकर उनको ये मैच दिया जाएगा। लेकिन वही बात है कि ये वाले जितने भी 6 मैचेस हैं ये आपको अपने ज़ोर बाजू पर लड़ने हैं। इनमें आप ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि सिर्फ #1 आ जाएं और आपके पास इतने ज़्यादा किल्स ना मौजूद हों। अगर आप ऐसा करते हैं तब भी आप शायद फर्स्ट पेज तक नहीं आ पाएंगे, क्योंकि हर टीम ही लड़ने वाली है आज के दिन। कोई भी टीम आराम से नहीं बैठने वाली, कोई भी इन मैचेस के अंदर डॉर्मेंट नहीं जाने वाला, सारे खुलकर खेलने वाले हैं। और ये खामोशी जो आपको दिखाई दे रही है, कोई ड्रॉप क्लैश फिलहाल हमें दिखाई नहीं दे रहा, इसी वजह से क्योंकि टीम्स बहुत ज़्यादा सीरियस हो चुकी हैं। किल्स स्कोरिंग की जाएगी ऑब्वियसली, बहुत भरपूर तरीके से की जाएगी, इतनी की जाएगी और आने वाले मैचेस के साथ इतनी ज़्यादा की जाएगी कि जितनी आपने फिल्मों में नहीं देखी होगी। लेकिन इस्तांबुल वाइल्ड कैट्स कल के दिन एग्रेशन दिखाया, पहले 2 मैचेस में बहुत अच्छा एग्रेशन दिखाया, लेकिन प्लेसमेंट के मामलात के अंदर ये भी थोड़े से लड़खड़ाते हुए हमें दिखाई दिए। आज के दिन इनका भी इम्कान एक बनता है, #7 के ऊपर ये मौजूद हैं अभी तक के लिए, और इनको आज के दिन इनफैक्ट अगर पहला मैच अच्छा निकालते हैं तो अभी डिफरेंस 45 पॉइंट्स का है पहले स्पॉट से। सो ये भी इतना ज़्यादा दूर नहीं है। ऐसा इतनी टीम्स हैं, सबके पास ही कहीं ना कहीं एक बहुत अच्छा चांस है। इस पहले मैच को यूटिलाइज करना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है।
बिल्कुल एग्री करूंगा आपकी बात के साथ। एंड अगेन आदि यहाँ पर शॉर्टर फॉर्मेट के अंदर हमेशा से ऐसे ही हमें देखने को मिलता है कि मोस्टली टीम्स जो हैं वो काफ़ी एक क्लोज कॉल होती है टॉप रैंक्स के दरमियान। लेकिन कल के दिन फाल्कन ई स्पोर्ट्स की जो परफॉर्मेंस है उसने ये सारे सेटअप को ही एक्साइटिंग कर दिया है। हम सोच रहे थे कि शायद स्टालवर्ड स्पोर्ट्स अपनी जो उनका एक रेगुलर तरीका है खेलने का, उसी के साथ खेलते हुए एक एक करके जो है वो यहाँ पर अपनी लीड जो है बढ़ाते हुए नजर आएंगे। लेकिन कल फाल्कन स्पोर्ट्स और आरएसजी ने जो उनको शट डाउन किया, वो चीज़ ज़रूर जो है वो सारे कंपटीशन को चेंज करती हुई नजर आई। लेकिन बॉक्स और यहाँ पर बैक टू बैक के दरमियान थोड़ी एक एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर हमें देखने को ज़रूर मिला, लेकिन टीम्स रिट्रीट कर जाती हैं। बैक टू बैक पहले ही अपना प्लेयर फाल्कन के हाथों लूज कर चुकी है, सो इनिशियल्स के अंदर एक और प्लेयर को लूज करना अगेन उनके मैच को फर्दर मैं समझता हूँ कि बिल्कुल डेड कर देगा। इस तरह से ये टीम फर्दर परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाएगी। दो प्लेयर सिर्फ सर्वाइवल मोड के अंदर ही जा पाएंगे। लेकिन लुक एट दीज गाइस, अपने व्हीकल के साथ एक नया साइबान ढूंढने की उनकी तरफ से कोशिश की जा रही है, एक नया हार्ड कवर लेने की कोशिश की जा रही है, एंड पॉसिबली कुछ के आउटस्कर्ट्स में जो हमारे पास बॉर्न हाउसेस हैं उनके अंदर ही ये जो स्क्वाड्स हैं वो अपने लिए जगह तलाश करते हुए नजर आएंगे।
जस्ट इमेजिन कि मॉर्फ यहाँ पर टीम फैल्कन्स को एलिमिनेट कर दे। एक सेकंड के लिए ज़रा आप सोचें, हालांकि पिछले कुछ दिनों से ये टीम्स यहीं पर आती हैं और दोनों की दोनों टीम्स आती हैं, लेकिन कोई ऐसे इनिशियल में फ़ाइट इनकी होती हुई नहीं दिखाई देती। लेकिन आज के दिन यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग, आप कुछ भी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं इन टीम्स की तरफ से। मॉर्फ का माइंडसेट हम नहीं जानते, वो कुछ भी प्ले ऑफ कर सकते हैं फैल्कन्स के अगेंस्ट, लेकिन अभी के लिए लग ऐसे ही रहा है कि वो यहाँ से बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं। मैं तो चाहता था कि फ़ाइट हो, लेकिन मॉफ ऑब्वियसली अपनी प्लेसमेंट को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए लीडर बोर्ड के ऊपर हार्ट 7 पर मौजूद हैं, सो उनको भी कुछ पॉइंट्स एदाद चाहिए। अगर अर्ली क्लैश के अंदर एक भी प्लेयर अपना ये एट दिस पॉइंट गवा देते हैं तो ये एक अच्छी ट्रेड नहीं साबित होगी। लेकिन आरएसजी जैसे ही अपने व्हीकल्स में विराजमान होते हैं तो मेरा दिल थोड़ा सा तेज़ हो जाता है, क्योंकि ये फिर नहीं छोड़ते किसी को। कल के दिन भी ऐसे इन्होंने मूव आउट किया और किसी को बख्शा नहीं। अभी के लिए भी टैग्स रजिस्टर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है और निग्मा गैलेक्सी के प्लेयर्स इनके क्रॉसर्स के अंदर आ भी चुके हैं, लाइटनिंग फ्रंट एंड पर भी जा चुके हैं। M416 उनके हाथ में मौजूद रहेगी। पोचिंकी के बिल्कुल बैकयार्ड में चर्च के पीछे ये फाइट बनती हुई। एनजीएक्स के प्लेयर्स को अंदाजा हो चुका है कि हमें हार्ड कवर में रहना है। अभी के लिए एनजीएक्स के दो ही प्लेयर्स यहां पर मौजूद हैं। आरएसजी के सारे प्लेयर्स व्हीकल के अंदर आ चुके हैं और थोड़ा सा रैप अराउंड करने की कोशिश की जाएगी, लेकिन निग्मा गैलेक्सी राइट ऑन टाइम उस जगह से ट्रीट बैक कर लेती है।
बिल्कुल व्हीकल्स की कुछ कमी रहने वाली है निग्मा के पास, और ये चीज़ उनको बुरी तरह से मैं समझता हूँ कि परेशान कुन सूरत हाल की तरफ भी लेके जा सकती है। लेकिन सर्कल शिफ्ट हमारे सामने होता हुआ, और सर्कल आई बिलीव गार्ड का फेरी पेयर प्रमोस की तरफ ही मूव करता हुआ जाएगा, बिकॉज आप देखें कि वेस्टर्न साइड के ऊपर वाटर इंक्लूडेड है, सो सर्कल के इनिशियल कुछ शिफ्ट जो है वो हमें उसी साइड के ऊपर जाते हुए नजर आएंगे। है वी गो हॉस्पिटल, गार्ड का, क्वारी, फेरी पेयर, प्रमोस, ये एरिया जो है वो हमें अभी तक के लिए नज़र आ रहे हैं अंडर कंटेस्ट, और बहुत सारी टीम जो है वो यहाँ पर काफ़ी अच्छे तरीके से अपने आप को प्लेस भी कर चुकी हैं। स्पेशली 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स की अगर हम बात करें, सेंट्रलाइज पोजीशन के ऊपर मौजूद है, बिल्कुल उनके करीब ही सोल ई स्पोर्ट्स का स्क्वाड भी मौजूद है। सो ये सारी सिचुएशन जो है वो कुछ ऐसी ही बन रही है कि सेंट्रलाइज हमें क्लस्टर देखने को मिलेगा आदि।
बिल्कुल ऐसा, लेकिन टीम 52 और टीम सोल की पोजीशन, वंस अगेन आई रिपीट कि मैं बाइस बिल्कुल नहीं हो रहा, ये फैक्ट है कि उनकी पोजीशन सर्कल के हिसाब से बहुत ही ज़्यादा बेहतरीन है। 52 को मैं ये चीज़ ज़रूर रिकमेंड करूंगा कि सेंटर में क्लस्टर में रहकर बिल्कुल भी ना खेलें। जो शोर साइड है जहां पर उन्होंने ड्रॉप किया था इस मैच में, वहीं पर रहकर खेलते हैं तो एक चीज़ क्लियर हो जाएगी कि बैकस्टैब उनको फेस नहीं करना पड़ेगा। अभी के लिए बैकस्टैब कर दिया जा चुका है टीम निग्मा गैलेक्सी के प्लेयर्स को। आज का दिन इनके लिए भी बहुत ज़्यादा अहमियत का हामिल रहता है। पहले पेज पर अपनी जगह बनाने में बेहतरीन तरीके से कामयाब रहे, बहुत अच्छी कारकर्दगी इन्होंने दिखाई, लेकिन आरएसजी के दो प्लेयर्स डाउन हो चुके हैं। डीडब्ल्यूजी के हाथों जूनी एक और किल यहां पर कंफर्म करते हैं। बैक एंड से रिटालिएशन का कुछ सामना करना पड़ रहा है, लेकिन फ्लावर सी सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। टीम आरएसजी के दिल थोड़े से तेज होते हुए धड़कने, लेकिन डीडब्ल्यूजी के प्लेयर्स मजीद किल स्कोरिंग करने की कोशिश करेंगे, लेकिन इजाजत नहीं दी जाएगी फ्लावर सी की तरफ से। राइट ऑन टाइम यहां से पीछे हटेंगे, बैकफुट पर रहेंगे, नहीं मजीद फाइट को लेना चाहेंगे और एक डिफरेंट एरिया से रोटेट भी करते हुए नजर आएंगे। टीम आरएसजी के प्लेयर्स मौजूद हैं अपनी सीट्स पर। टीम वीजीएस के प्लेयर्स काफी ज्यादा करीब थे टीम 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स के, लेकिन अभी के लिए टीजेबी के प्लेयर्स कुछ नेट स्पैम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आई शॉट राइट ऑन टाइम यहां पर अपनी गाड़ी के अंदर निकल जाते हैं और अभी के लिए इस फाइट को थोड़ी देर के लिए पॉज किया जाएगा वीजीएस की तरफ से। डीडब्ल्यूजी के प्लेयर्स ने बहुत ही बुरा एक बैकस्टैब एक्सचेंज किया है।
बिल्कुल नॉक जो है वो यहाँ पर टीम, अगर हम आरएसजी की बात करें, उनको यूएससी डोनर्स की तरफ से पड़ता हुआ हमें नजर आया, लेकिन वहाँ पर जो है वो टाइमली डीडब्ल्यूजी के फॉरेस्ट का जाना और किल कंफर्मेशन करना, ये 2 एलिमिनेशन पॉइंट्स डीडब्ल्यूजी के बैकपैक में डालेगा। यूएसजी दूसरी तरफ 1 पॉइंट उनके बैकपैक में भी रहेगा, लेकिन अभी के लिए इनिशियली इतनी ज़्यादा हमें उस तरह से फाइट्स होती हुई नज़र नहीं आ रही, एलिमिनेशंस जो है वो उस तरह से हमें होती हुई नज़र नहीं आ रही है, एंड स्टिल एक स्क्वाड वर्सेस स्क्वाड फाइट एंगेज होना बाकी है। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ अगर हम सर्कल की सूरत हाल की अगर बात करें, सर्कल जो है वो अगले शिफ्ट के लिए रेडी हो चुका है। 11 मिनट का गेम प्ले, 2 जो है वो सेकंड फेज जो है वो हमारे सामने चलता हुआ, और टीम जो है वो अपने आप को प्लेस कर रही है इस सर्कल के अंदर। अगेन काफ़ी एक ओपन सर्कल है, आप देख सकते हैं कि बहुत ही कम कंपाउंड मौजूद है। क्वारी की जो वेस्टर्न साइड है वो भी काफ़ी ओपन रहती है, और जैसे वीवो कीट के प्लेयर्स ये कंपाउंड अपने लिए लेने में कामयाब हो चुके हैं, बाकी और भी बहुत सारे उम्मीदवार इस साइड की तरफ हमें मूव करते हुए नजर आएंगे, और यही चीज़ वीवो कीट के लिए इन कंपाउंड्स को डिफेंड करना फर्दर मुश्किल बनाती हुई नजर आएगी। आदि
बिल्कुल ऐसा, लेकिन नॉर्दर्न साइड पर अगर आप देखें तो टीम B2B के प्लेयर्स एक बहुत अच्छी रोटेशन इन प्ले दिखाते हुए, और इन्होंने वाकई ही अपनी गलतियों से सीखा है। कल के दिन भी इनकी रोटेशंस पहले दिन के मुकाबले में काफ़ी हद तक इम्प्रूव की थी और आज उससे भी ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव की हैं। लेकिन 52 और टीम सोल एक दूसरे के बिल्कुल साथ, एक दूसरे के पड़ोसी बन चुके हैं अभी के लिए, और भी बहुत ज़्यादा टीम्स इनके पड़ोसी बनने के लिए आ चुकी हैं। एक क्लस्टर फॉर्मेशन हमें दिखाई दे रही है, लेकिन एक और सर्कल शिफ्ट, और इस सर्कल शिफ्ट के अंदर भी 52 और टीम सोल का स्क्वाड मौजूद रहेगा। निग्मा ऑलरेडी एक बहुत अच्छे स्पॉट के ऊपर मौजूद है, जो अभी अभी सर्कल बना है, सेकंड फेज ऑफ द सर्कल, थर्ड फेज ऑफ द सर्कल। इनफैक्ट वहां पर निग्मा अभी सेंटर के अंदर मौजूद रहेगी, लेकिन टीम ऑफ टीजेबी का एक और मजीद किल स्कोर करते हुए नजर आए हैं, और एक प्लेयर ऑलरेडी टीम टीजेबी इस मैच से गवा चुकी है। कल के दिन भी मैंने जैसे आप लोगों को मेंशन किया, बताया कि 3 पॉइंट्स पर मैच इनकी तरफ से लिए गए हैं टीजीबी की तरफ से सिर्फ, और पहले दिन के मुकाबले में ये पहले पेज से 6 से नीचे उतरकर 13वें पायदान तक आते हैं। लेकिन अभी के लिए वीवो कीट का स्क्वाड कोशिश कर रहा है कि ये एरिया अपने लिए मखसूस किया जाए। कुछ फाइट्स भी बनती हुई, डोनट्स यूएसजी के प्लेयर्स एक एक कर एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश करें, लेकिन बैक एंड से टीम 52 के प्लेयर्स कुछ टैग्स रजिस्टर करने में कामयाब हो चुके हैं यूएसजी के स्क्वाड पर।
बिल्कुल, यूएसजी के प्लेयर्स को यहाँ पर वीवो कीड और 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स दोनों की तरफ से एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर देखने को मिलेगा। मिसाइल यहाँ पर नॉक हो चुके हैं, फर्दर चिप डैमेज पड़ता हुआ हेवी को सिलो की तरफ से मिकॉन को जो है वो ओमिकॉन को जो है वो यहाँ पर टेक डाउन कर दिया जाएगा, और यूएसजी विद नो टाइम यहाँ पर एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है। 52 स्पोर्ट्स मुंह ही तकते रह गए हैं कि वो भी किल्स यहाँ से उठाएं। एक एलिमिनेशन जरूर उनके बैकपैक में गई, लेकिन बाकी के किल्स जो हैं वो हमें टीम अगर बात की जाए यहाँ पर वीवो कीट के बैकपैक में जाते हुए नजर आएंगे। अपना एक प्लेयर पहले ही इनिशियल्स के अंदर वीवो कीट लूज कर चुकी है, लेकिन स्टिल पोजिशनिंग वाइज सर्कल के अंदर मैं जैसे भी पहले भी बात कर रहे थे कि बड़ी बेहतरीन जगह के ऊपर बैठे हुए, और उस चीज़ का फायदा उन्होंने उठाया, और यूएसजी को एक अर्ली एलिमिनेशन डील करवाई गई यहाँ पर 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स और वीवो कीट की तरफ से। हर पासिंग बाय जो भी यहाँ पर रोटेशन होने वाली है वो मेक श्योर करेगी सारी सिचुएशन में कि वो इन कंपाउंड्स को चेक करती हुई जाए, बिकॉज काफ़ी एक इंपॉर्टेंट कंपाउंड्स रहते हैं। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर दमार को यहाँ पर पिन डाउन करते हुए उनकी बगी के पीछे, लेकिन रॉकी यहाँ पर अपनी मिनी 14 के साथ दमार को टेक डाउन करेंगे। डाकू यहाँ पर पॉसिबली ये किल उठा सकते थे, लेकिन रिज के पीछे प्लेयर रहेगा, और टीम फाल्कन अपना एक प्लेयर यहाँ पर ऑन रोटेशन लूज करती हुई आती।
बिल्कुल, और चारों के चारों प्लेयर्स फिलहाल मौजूद है टीम 52 स्पोर्ट्स के, और कुछ अटैक्स भी उनकी तरफ से रजिस्टर किए जा रहे हैं। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स का स्क्वाड जिनकी साइड से कल के दिन कोई फ्लैशी परफॉर्मेंसेज नहीं निकली, और जिस तरह से इन्होंने पहले दिन परफॉर्म किया था वो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आ सके। अनफॉर्चुनेटली काफ़ी ज़्यादा इन्होंने चोक किया कल के दिन, कुछ खास अपने लिए पॉइंट्स नहीं गैदर कर पाए, कल के दिन से अखज़ नहीं कर पाए। लेकिन आज के दिन कोशिश उनकी तरफ से भी की जा रही है कि किलफीट के अंदर थोड़ा सा अपना बोलबाला ज़रूर करें। अभी के लिए सर्कल एक और मजीद शिफ्ट लेकर जाने वाला है, और ये शिफ्ट बहुत ज्यादा डिसाइसिव होने वाला है। जो भी स्क्वाड इस नेक्स्ट शिफ्ट में आ गया, शुमार हो गया, वही इस मैच का चिकन डिनर लेकर जाएगा। उन्हीं स्क्वाड्स में से कोई एक स्क्वाड होगा जो कि इस मैच का चिकन डिनर लेकर जाएगा। टीम राइट इन द सेंटर ऑफ द सर्कल 52 नॉर्दर्न साइड के ऊपर मौजूद है। किल स्कोरिंग अच्छी की जा सकती है। 4 राइवल्स जिस एरिया से आ रहे हैं वहां पर इतना ज्यादा कवर मौजूद नहीं है। वीजीएस उनको चैलेंज करने के लिए आ चुकी है, और ऑडियंस कंप्लीटली हाइप्ड अप हो चुकी है जो अरीना में मौजूद है। फाल्कन्स का स्प्लिट बहुत ही अच्छा स्प्लिट है, येट वियर्ड भी में जैसे प्लेयर्स ओपन यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर एक भी प्लेयर इनको स्पॉट करते हैं हाई रिच से, तो ये भी एलिमिनेट हो सकते हैं। 2 प्रायोरिटी टीम फाल्कन ईस्पोर्ट्स अपने गवा चुकी है। टीम स्टार स्पोर्ट्स के एक्शन वंस अगेन इन द किल फीड, भरपूर एक्शन दिखाते हुए नजर गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स के ऊपर। टीम स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर मौजूद रहते हैं। चौको 4 प्लेयर्स अभी तक इंटैक्ट हैं, एक किल इनके पास आ चुका है, लेकिन सर्कल के एज के ऊपर मौजूद है। अनफॉर्चुनेट करना पड़ेगा, काफी हद तक फ्रिक्शन का कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि वो एरिया अपने लिए मखसूस किया जाए, लेकिन एनजीएक्स के लॉर्ड 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 अपना डेरा जमाते हुए टीजीबी के एक और मजीद प्लेयर सोल अक्षर के हाथ तो एलिमिनेट हो जाते हैं। ओमेगा का नेट जाता है, ऐश्वर्य को भी एलिमिनेट किया जाता है इस मैच से। टीजेबी एक और बुरे मैच का सामना करती है और फाइनली पूरे का पूरे स्क्वाड को इस मैच में एलिमिनेट कर दिया जाता है। 2 किल टीम सोल अब बैक में लेकर जाती हुई बहुत खूबसूरती के साथ आगाज कर लिया जा चुका है विदाउट लूजिंग एनी ऑफ देयर प्लेयर्स। टीम सोल और 52 दोनों ही पड़ोसी मुल्क की टीम्स अभी तक सरवाइव करती हुई बहुत ही जगह के ऊपर रेवन क्लॉ की कोशिश कर रहे हैं टीम सोल के ऊपर। सोल को बचना पड़ेगा क्योंकि ये क्रॉसेस जो थर्ड पार्टी की सूरत के अंदर आपके ऊपर जाते हैं ये बहुत ज्यादा खून रेजी करते हैं।
बिल्कुल, और जो है वो यहाँ पर अगर थर्ड पार्टी की सिचुएशन बनती है अगेन मैं समझता हूँ कि मुश्किलात खड़ी होंगी, लेकिन मॉर्फ वर्सेस एटॉन ई स्पोर्ट्स की एक फाइट बनती हुई फ्रैन की तरफ से जे को पिन डाउन किया जा चुका है। जे यहाँ पर नॉक हो चुके हैं। दूसरी तरफ अगर हम बात करें मॉर्फ के की क्लोजिंग करते हुए स्मोक्स के अंदर, लेकिन सामने ब्रूनो को भी स्पॉट करते हुए यहाँ पर मॉर्फ के प्लेयर ब्रूनो टेक डाउन होते हुए क्लोज प्लेयर को यहाँ पर स्पॉट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है स्मोक्स के अंदर। सामने नेड्स भी यहाँ पर फ्रैन की तरफ से दिए जा रहे हैं, लेकिन इसी के साथ रॉकी उठते हैं। फ्रैन को स्पॉट किया जाएगा। फ्रैन डाउन हो चुके हैं। टीम एटॉन ई स्पोर्ट्स डाउन टू देयर लास्ट मैन स्टैंडिंग। डिजिटल मॉड की बात करें, फ्रेंजी और रॉकी यहाँ पर सफाया करते हुए पूरी टीम का, लेकिन वीवो कीट के ऊपर पुश, वीवो कीट का पुश जाता हुआ फाल्कन स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर के ऊपर। फाल्कन के आखिरी यूसुफ यहाँ पर सरवाइव करते हुए, यूसुफ की पोजीशन भी कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी ही देर के अंदर यहाँ पर हमें ओपन होती हुई नजर आएगी जैसे ही फाल्कन स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर जो है वो वीवो कीट के प्लेयर के ऊपर एक्सचेंज फायर करते हुए नजर आएंगे। नेवर अलोन यहाँ पर नॉक होते हुए यूसुफ की तरफ से नेट जाता हुआ, यूसुफ के ऊपर पुश आता हुआ। यूसुफ काफी लो ऑन एचपी रहेंगे। यूसुफ 1v1 फाइट के अंदर काफी ज्यादा डैमेज देते हुए सीलो को, सीलो यहाँ पर स्टार्ट से काफी ज्यादा डैमेज देते हैं, लेकिन M762 आखिरकार हाथ जो है वो यहाँ पर साफ करते हुए सीलो UMP45 वर्सेस M762 की फाइट के अंदर सीलो ये फाइट जीत कर जाते हुए, लेकिन एटीएन लो ऑन एचपी थे, उनको वापस रिवाइव कर दिया जा चुका है। टीम वीवो कीट एक दफा फिर से हमें सरवाइव करती हुई नजर आएगी। बेहतरीन किल्स उनके बैकपैक में जा चुके हैं, और साथ ही साथ यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें लुक एट द किल काउंटर, वीवो कीट के पास 5 किल्स बैकपैक में रहने वाले आदि।
बिल्कुल एसन और सर्कल का एक मजीद शिफ्ट थोड़ी ही देर में एक रंग लेकर जाएगा, एक जरूर करवट बदलेगा, और देखना यह है कि कहां पर यह सर्कल एक रुख लेकर जाता है। क्या 52 पर जाएगा या टीम सोल पर यह सर्कल जाता है, क्योंकि ये दोनों ही स्क्वाड्स एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट साइड्स के ऊपर मौजूद है। सोल, ओमेगा और उनके चारों के चारों प्लेयर्स इंक्लूडिंग हिम अभी तक सर्वाइव करे, लेकिन सर्कल इन दोनों में से किसी भी टीम पर नहीं जाएगा। अभी के लिए सर्कल के अंदर सिर्फ 2 ही टीम्स मौजूद है, DWG और टीम 4 राइवल्स का स्क्वाड। टीम 52 के पास एक एरिया मौजूद है अभी सर्कल के अंदर होल्ड करने के लिए, लेकिन वहां पर ज्यादा कुछ कवर भी मौजूद नहीं है, और सेम ही सिचुएशन टीम सोल के लिए बनाई जा चुकी है सर्कल की तरफ से। और इनफैक्ट टीम सोल को कुछ हद तक फ्रिक्शन का सामना भी करना पड़ेगा, कुछ रुकावटें बीच में आएंगी ड्यूरिंग द रोटेशंस, लेकिन टीम स्टालवर्ट ई-स्पोर्ट्स के पिका स्नाइपर के थोड़े से जलवे दिखाना चाहते हैं। स्क्राई बैक एंड के ऊपर घुटनों पर आ जाते हैं। एक किल स्क्वाड के पास ओवरऑल मौजूद है। जस्ट लुक एट हिज हैंड कैम, कितना ज्यादा एक्टिव वो रहना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन जस्ट लुक एट दैट क्विक स्कोप्स और क्विक फायर्स। कार 98 का बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल, कोई नॉक नहीं निकाल पाए, लेकिन वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर मिनी 14 का इस्तेमाल करते हुए बहुत बेहतरीन नॉक निकालते हैं। बहुत अच्छा बैक टू बैक के प्लेयर सामना करते हैं। टीम IWD के प्लेयर्स चारों के चारों सामने मौजूद है। एक प्लेयर को गिरा दिया जा चुका है। बैक टू बैक के पास हाई ग्राउंड भी मौजूद है। टीम स्टारवर्ड ई-स्पोर्ट्स का स्क्वाड भी उनके बिल्कुल सामने है, लेकिन तीनों के तीनों ये स्क्वाड जो स्क्रीन पर फिलहाल मौजूद है सर्कल से बाहर है। IWL के एक प्लेयर को इस मैच से एलिमिनेट किया जाता है, और 2 से 3 टीम्स मिलकर उनके ऊपर क्रॉसर सेट करती हैं। आखिरी प्लेयर को भी एक ही चुटकी में इस मैच से गायब कर दिया जाता है, लेकिन मौके का फायदा उठाते हुए टीम स्टारवर्ट ई-स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर्स एग्रेस करते हुए दे नो इनको पता है कि सही वक्त क्या होता है और सही वक्त को इस्तेमाल कैसे किया जाता है, लेकिन स्टारवर्ट ई-स्पोर्ट्स को लगभग 15 पॉइंट्स इस मैच में चाहिए। टीम फाल्कन्स का स्क्वाड इस मैच से आई थिंक सो एलिमिनेट हो चुका है एग्जैक्टली, और टीम स्टारवर्ट ई-स्पोर्ट्स के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी विंडो ओपन हो चुकी है, लेकिन स्क्राई घुटनों पर आ जाते हैं और वास बैकएंड के ऊपर वीके के ऊपर किल स्कोरिंग करते हुए, लेकिन पिका की तरफ से कोशिश की जाती है, लेकिन वो भी घुटनों पर आ जाते हैं। बैक टू बैक के प्लेयर्स आज के दिन बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से खेलते हुए, जलवागर होते हुए बाइजन का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, और 20 बुलेट्स अभी तक इनके पास रहेंगे, कुछ ब्लाइंड फायर्स किए जाते हैं, लेकिन बैक एंड के ऊपर एक ऐसी टीम जो कि एसएन की फेवरेट है, जो कि हम सब की फेवरेट बनी कल के दिन, वो हमें छोड़कर चली जाती है। कुछ सैड मोमेंट्स का हमें सामना जरूर करना पड़ा, लेकिन स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स को लड़खड़ाना नहीं है इस टाइम, क्योंकि #1 उनसे सिर्फ 12 ही कदम दूर रहने वाला है लीडर बोर्ड पर। बैक टू बैक के प्लेयर्स कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इस टीम को #1 तक ना जाने दिया जाए। 4 पॉइंट्स ऑलरेडी टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स का स्क्वाड स्कोर कर चुका है। बैक टू बैक के पास भी 3 से 4 किल्स मौजूद है, लेकिन आखिरी खिलाड़ी अब जिंदा यहां पर मौजूद है। टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स भी बैक एंड से थर्ड पार्टी बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से कर सकते हैं, लेकिन टीम सोल की फाइट बनती हुई टीम वीपी के स्टेट्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है वीपी की साइड से।
बिल्कुल वीपी की तरफ से यहाँ पर एक एक्साइटिंग सिचुएशन बनती हुई सोल के ऊपर। सोल के 2 प्लेयर्स यहाँ पर नॉक हैं, एक प्लेयर ही गॉब्लिन की सूरत में यहाँ पर फाइट लेने के लिए रेडी रहने वाले, और किल कंफर्मेशन यहाँ पर होती हुई थर्ड पार्टी फायर्स, यहाँ पर मोलोटॉव, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ गॉब्लिन की तरफ से फायर बैक, वीपी के एक प्लेयर को टेक डाउन किया जाता है। 2 प्लेयर्स नॉक हो चुके हैं, लेकिन इसी सारे के चलते हुए टीम सोल ई स्पोर्ट्स हमें इस मैच से एलिमिनेट होती हुई नजर आएगी। वैम्पायर ई स्पोर्ट्स की अगर बात करें, ब्लू जोन का काफी ज्यादा प्रेशर रहने वाला है, ब्लू जोन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता मूव करता हुआ, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ सर्कल के सेंटर के ऊपर बैठी हुई टीम TWG बेहतरीन तरीके से इस सारी सिचुएशन के अंदर इंगेज करती हुई हमें नजर आएगी। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ अगर हम बात करें सिचुएशन की, टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स स्टिल दे आर सर्वाइविंग, और अभी तक के लिए किल स्कोरिंग जो है उनकी तरफ से कंटिन्यू रहने वाली। लेकिन टॉप की तरफ से डाकू को नॉक किया जाता है, डाकू ओपन के अंदर मौजूद है, डाकू का यहाँ पर किल कंफर्म भी हो सकता है, लेकिन रिवाइवल की एक सिचुएशन बनती हुई दोबारा से नजर आएगी। डाकू रिवाइव लेने के लिए जाते हैं वापस फेरो के पास, लेकिन सर्कल अभी भी DWG के पास है। VGS दूसरी तरफ काफी ज्यादा सर्कल का कंट्रोल ईस्टर्न साइड के ऊपर लेती हुई नजर आती है। पूरे के पूरे चारों प्लेयर्स उनके सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। निग्मा गैलेक्सी एक किल स्ट्री के ऊपर, रऊफ के किल्स आप देखें, रऊफ के पास 4 किल्स रहने वाले, लॉर्ड के पास भी 2 किल्स रहने वाले हैं। सो एक बेहतरीन किल स्प्री निग्मा गैलेक्सी के लिए भी रहती हुई, लेकिन वीवो कीट के आखिरी प्लेयर एड्रियन सर्वाइव करते हुए टीम वीवो कीट का ये मैच खातिर खा बेहतर निकलता है उनके गुज़िश्ता मैचों की सूरत में। लेकिन वैम्पायर ई स्पोर्ट्स आखिरकार पकड़ी जाती है। जूनी की तरफ से यहाँ पर 2 प्लेयर्स को नॉक किया जाता है। फाइनल प्लेयर यहाँ पर अगर बात की जाए सर्कल के अंदर जाते हुए नजर आएंगे, लेकिन ज़्यादा देर सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाएंगे। ऑब्वियसली एक ओपन एरिया है, 2 से 3 साइड से उनके ऊपर क्रॉसर बनेंगे, लेकिन एड्रियन बैकएंड के ऊपर लॉर्ड को टेक डाउन करते हुए निग्मा गैलेक्सी के प्लेयर यहाँ पर क्रॉस फायर के अंदर आते हुए बैक स्टैप पड़ता हुआ नजर आएगा। लेकिन रऊफ विल मेक श्योर कि एड्रियन को वो फर्दर एग्रेस ना करने दे। लेकिन फलूजी ऑन द अदर साइड टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर नॉक्स निकालते हुए स्काई एक दफा फिर से अपने घुटनों पर आते हुए नजर आएंगे। आदि
बिल्कुल, और वैम्पायर ई स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर्स कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि आहिस्ता आहिस्ता और बहुत ही चालाकी से आगे बढ़ते हुए नेट भी स्पैम करते हैं टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर। अपना यहाँ पर इरादा रखते हैं कि उस स्क्वाड के कुछ 1 से 2 प्लेयर्स को एलिमिनेट किया जाए, लेकिन नेट तो हिट नहीं करता, लेकिन M249 बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से हिट की जाती है। टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर तीनों के तीनों सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। वीके के एड्रियन एक नेट के जरिए टीम निग्मा गैलेक्सी के आखिरी प्लेयर को एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं। 8 किल्स स्कोर करने के बाद टीम निग्मा गैलेक्सी इस मैच से एलिमिनेट हो जाती है। टीम वैम्पायर ई स्पोर्ट्स के आखिरी प्लेयर सर्वाइव करते हैं। 6 से 7 किल्स उनके भी बैकपैक में मौजूद रहेंगे। 52 एक ऐसा स्क्वाड है, सिर्फ 2 ही स्क्वाड जिस सर्कल के अंदर मौजूद है जिनके चारों के चारों प्लेयर्स सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं, और 52 उनमें से एक है। DWG के प्लेयर्स रहेंगे। 52 के पास सर्कल का एक अच्छा हिस्सा मौजूद रहने वाला है। टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के एक्शन नेट निकालते हुए इरादा रखेंगे VPE के उस एक प्लेयर को इस मैच से बाहर भेजने का। 52 आउटसाइड इन दी ओपन है, बिल्कुल कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो चुके हैं, और अगर उनको स्पॉट किया जाता है तो एक ही झटके में एलिमिनेट भी किया जा सकता है। लेकिन विचुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड के प्लेयर नेड हिट करता है, बिल्कुल उनके पांव पे गिरेगा ये नेड और नॉक किया जाता है। इनफैक्ट उनको DWG के प्लेयर्स कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इन 3 किल्स को ज्यादा किया जाए और इन 3 किल्स को मल्टीप्लाई किया जाए, लेकिन जूनी की तरफ से टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के एक प्लेयर को टेक डाउन किया जाता है। स्क्राई आएंगे, बैकएंड से रिवाइव देने की कोशिश की जाएगी, नेट थ्रो करते हैं, कोशिश करेंगे एलिमिनेट किया जाए, अपने उस नॉक को कंफर्म किया जाए, लेकिन एक्शन बैकएंड के ऊपर VPE के उस एक अकेले प्लेयर को इस मैच से एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं। 52 अभी के लिए टॉप 5 स्क्वाड्स के अंदर आ चुकी है, और बहुत अच्छे तरीके से 52 के प्लेयर्स ने अपने आप को स्टेल्थी रखा है, उन आंखों से बचाया है जो उनको इस मैच से एलिमिनेट करवा सकती थी। लेकिन अभी के लिए टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स आर लुकिंग सो गुड, और मेरे ख्याल से इस मैच के बाद टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स टीम फाल्कन्स को नीचे उतार लेगी, उनको डीथ्रोन कर दिया जाएगा। VGS अब थोड़ी मुश्किलात में फंस चुकी है। DWG के दोनों प्लेयर्स के क्रॉसेस उनके ऊपर जमे हुए हैं। व्हीकल्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है, स्मोक्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है, लेकिन DWG के प्लेयर्स के पास अगर नेड्स मौजूद हैं तो VGS को बहुत ज्यादा खतरा है, खतरे की घंटी बजा दी जा चुकी है इनकी तरफ से। लेकिन टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स तीनों के तीनों प्लेयर्स के पास M4 मौजूद रहने वाली है। एक्शन कोशिश कर रहे हैं इंट्रूड किया जाए, एक आधे प्लेयर को एलिमिनेट किया जाए। DWG के स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स अभी के लिए किल स्कोरिंग के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान देती है, लेकिन 52 के प्लेयर्स क्रॉसहेड्स के अंदर आ जाएंगे विजुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड।
बिल्कुल वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड के प्लेयर रैंडमली यहाँ पर एक प्लेयर को नॉक करते हुए, लेकिन टॉप की तरफ से वाज को पिक ऑफ किया जाएगा। वाज का किल टॉप की तरफ से कंफर्म भी कर दिया जाएगा और यही चीज टाइम दे देगी वीजीएस को डीडब्ल्यूजी के ऊपर प्रेस करने के लिए। डीडब्ल्यूजी काफी देर से पुरसकून यहाँ पर इसी कंपाउंड के अंदर मौजूद थी, कंटेस्ट नहीं किया जा रहा था उनको, लेकिन दिस टाइम अराउंड वीजीएस यहाँ पर उनको कंटेस्ट करती हुई नजर आ रही है। चारों के चारों प्लेयर सामने भी रहने वाले हैं। एक प्रॉपर स्क्वाड फाइट हमें देखने को मिलेगी इन फाइनल सर्कल्स के अंदर। दूसरी तरफ 52x ई स्पोर्ट्स जो है वो टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के साथ यहाँ पर अपने सींग फंसाती हुई नजर आ रही है, लेकिन डीडब्ल्यूजी के फॉरेस्ट है क्लोज इन करते हैं। आई शॉट बैकएंड के ऊपर रहने वाले 3v2 सिचुएशन इस कंपाउंड के अंदर रहती हुई स्मोक्स करके पूरी तरह से इस सारी सिचुएशन में विजन जो है वो डिनाई किया जा रहा है, लेकिन डीडब्ल्यूजी नोज के उनके बैक के ऊपर टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स का थ्रेट भी मौजूद है। सो स्प्लिट के अंदर खेलना पसंद करेगी यहाँ पर डैमवॉन, लेकिन वीजीएस फुल प्रेस इन कर चुकी है। एक कंपाउंड पहले वो अपने लिए खाली करवाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन डाकू सर्कल के अंदर मूव करना है, 12 मीटर सर्कल के अंदर जाना है, सामने पूरी ओपन स्पेस रहने वाली, लेकिन टॉप डाकू को भी पिक ऑफ करते हुए फेरो इज द लास्ट मैन स्टैंडिंग, पॉसिबली वो भी स्पॉट होते हुए थोड़ी देर के अंदर नजर आएंगे, लेकिन नॉक निकाला जाता है एक्शन की तरफ से। किल कदाफी कंफर्म करते हैं, लेकिन फेरो आखिरकार स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के हाथों पकड़े जाते हैं और ओपन एरिया के अंदर रहने की वजह से 4 स्पॉट के ऊपर टीम 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स एलिमिनेट होती हुई भी वो किट का स्क्वाड भी 50 के ऊपर एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा, लेकिन 2 नॉक्स निकलते हुए वीजीएस के ऊपर। वीजीएस के आई शॉट सामने मौजूद, बाजू नजर आता हुआ उनका एक प्लेयर को डाउन किया जाएगा। कदाफी की तरफ से नेट जाएगा, नेट पॉसिबली यहाँ पर प्लेयर को नॉक कर सकता है, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ स्टारवर्ड के एक्शन पुश करते हुए डीडब्ल्यूजी दोनों साइड से प्रेस हो चुकी है। एक साइड पर टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स, दूसरी तरफ वीजीएस, लेकिन एसटी के एक्शन को सुसंग की तरफ से टेक डाउन किया जाता है। एक और प्लेयर यहाँ पर डाउन, डीडब्ल्यूजी सुसंग बैक टू बैक टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर को डाउन करते हुए लो एचपी प्लेयर है, 1 से 2 गोलियां भी यहाँ पर काम तमाम कर देंगी डीडब्ल्यूजी के इस फाइनल सर्वाइविंग प्लेयर की, लेकिन टॉप जाएंगे, पुश करेंगे, ड्रॉप भी बचा नहीं पाएगी, लेकिन स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स 13 किल के साथ सेकंड स्पॉट पे आ चुकी है। वीजीएस फुल रीसेट 4v1 सिचुएशन, स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर टीपीपी लेते हुए वीजीएस के प्लेयर्स पुश करते हुए इस कंपाउंड के ऊपर फाइनल पे दे हैव रियलाइज्ड विनर चिकन डिनर उनको अपनी आंखों में नजर आ चुका है। टॉप एक प्लेयर को डाउन करते हैं, दूसरे प्लेयर के साथ एंगेज होते हैं, लो एचपी एंड फाइनली वीजीएस विनिंग दिस मैच। बेहतरीन तरीके से इस मैच को जीत कर जाती हुई टीम बिल्कुल बाहर से आते हैं सर्कल के और मेक श्योर करते हैं कि जीत को अपना बना कर जाएं। अपनी सराउंडिंग का ख्याल रखा जाता है, 3 से 4 दफा रीसेट आता हुआ इस टीम के ऊपर और फिर भी 4 मैन स्टैंडिंग ये टीम अपने लिए विनर चिकन डिनर लेकर जाती है। जीत की खुशी और फाइनल डे पर फाइनल जो है वो का जो समा है उसके अंदर पहला मैच फाइनल डे का वो जीत कर जाना जरूर मैं समझता हूँ कि यहाँ पर टीम वीजीएस को एक नई उम्मीद देगा इस कंपटीशन के अंदर आदि।
बिल्कुल एहसन, और एक हाश 16 पर रहती हुई टीम अगर पहले मैच का चिकन डिनर लेकर जा सकती है और इतने मुश्किल मैच का जहां पर टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स ने शुरुआत से ही जान मारी है अपनी, अगर ये हो सकता है तो मेरे ख्याल से आज के दिन कुछ भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि मैं ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा था, इनफैक्ट कोई भी इस चीज़ की तवक्को नहीं कर रहा था कि हाश 16 पर रहती हुई टीम पहले मैच को लेकर जाएगी। सो फिर तो आज के दिन हम कुछ भी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अभी चलते हैं मैच रैंकिंग की तरफ।
बिल्कुल, मैच रैंकिंग हमारे सामने एक जो है वो सिचुएशन डिस्क्राइब करती हुई स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स 14 एलिमिनेशन के साथ टॉप स्पॉट लेकर जाएगी इस मैच का। सबसे ज़्यादा टोटल पॉइंट्स उनके पास रहेंगे 26 टोटल पॉइंट्स, जो कि उनको फर्दर दूर कर देंगे फाल्कन ई स्पोर्ट्स से, बल्कि फर्स्ट स्पॉट के ऊपर बराजमान कर देंगे इवन पॉसिबली फॉर द नेक्स्ट मैच एज वेल। वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड क्या ही जबरदस्त कमबैक, 20 पॉइंट्स, 5 एलिमिनेशन उनके बैकपैक में रहेंगी। ऑब्वियसली ओपन के अंदर ये टीम थी ज़्यादा जो है वो गन फाइट्स के अंदर इंगेज नहीं हो सकते थे, बट स्टिल चिकन डिनर लेना डीडब्ल्यूजी के 2 प्लेयर्स को उनकी तरफ से फिनिश किया जाता है, सराउंडिंग से किल्स पिक किए जाते हैं और चिकन डिनर के साथ एक बेहतरीन स्टार्ट दिया जाता है आज के दिन का। दाम वन किया थर्ड स्पॉट के ऊपर 5 किल्स उनके पास रहेंगे, 15 पॉइंट्स। वीवो कीट बहुत ही बेहतरीन फिनिश इस ब्राजीलियन टीम की तरफ से, 14 पॉइंट्स उनके बैकपैक में रहते हैं। 52 ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑन द अदर साइड 10 पॉइंट्स, वैम्पायर के पास भी 10 पॉइंट्स रहेंगे। निग्मा गैलेक्सी आल्सो विद 10 पॉइंट्स। किल नंबर्स निग्मा के पास बहुत ही बेहतरीन रहते हुए। मॉर्फ विद 6 एलिमिनेशंस और 6 एलिमिनेशंस जो है वो यहाँ पर जाती हुई टुवर्ड मॉर्फ ई स्पोर्ट्स आदि।
बिल्कुल एहसन, और टीम वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड बज़ाहिर तो इस मैच का चिकन डिनर लेकर जाते हैं, लेकिन टीम स्टालवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स पॉइंट्स के मामला के अंदर सुपरसीड करती हुई 6 पॉइंट्स की लीड इस मैच के अंदर बनाने में कामयाब रहे। 52 को मैं दाद दूंगा कि 10 पॉइंट्स वो लेकर जाते हैं, और जितनी दाद हो सके 52 को देनी बनती है, क्योंकि यही एवरेज उनको निकालनी है अगर वो पहले पेज के ऊपर आना चाहते हैं। और टीम सोल से काफ़ी ज़्यादा तवक्कुआत थी मुझे इस मैच से, और वो उनके ऊपर कुछ हद तक मेरे ख्याल से पूरा भी उतरते हैं। और टीम सोल was looking good, जैसे सर्कल के शिफ्ट उनके ऊपर आ रहे थे, जाते जाते 2 किल्स भी वो लेकर जाते हैं, लेकिन प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट्स के अंदर थोड़ी सी मेहनत करने की उनको ज़रूरत आएगी। और इसीलिए मैंने जब ये सर्कल शिफ्ट आया था तो मैंने 52 स्पोर्ट्स और सोल को यही रेकमेंड किया था, यही बात हम कर रहे थे कि सर्कल के एज पर रहकर खेलना ज़्यादा बेहतर साबित हो सकता है यहाँ पर इन दोनों ही प्लेयर्स के लिए, स्क्वाड्स के लिए। लेकिन 52 के लिए ऑटोमेटिकली वो सर्कल के एज पर आ जाते हैं, और अगला सर्कल का शिफ्ट जो होता है, आई थिंक सो 4th फेज या 5th फेज ऑफ द सर्कल था, उसके अंदर टीम सोल सेंटर में आ जाती है, और काफ़ी ज़्यादा क्लस्टर का उनको सामना, फ्रिक्शन का सामना उनको करना पड़ता है। सो 52 के लिए कहीं ना कहीं जो कहानी है वो सर्कल की तरफ से खुद ही अच्छी हो जाती है, लिख दी जाती है, लेकिन सोल समहाउ कहीं ना कहीं उस सारे मंजर के अंदर फंस जाती है। एंड जैसा वो एरिया है क्वारी का, वहाँ से आप वापस भी नहीं निकल सकते ऐसा, क्योंकि इतनी ज़्यादा वहाँ पर रिजेस मौजूद हैं और इतने ज़्यादा एरियाज़ वहाँ पर मौजूद रहते हैं। सो कहीं ना कहीं टीम सोल के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल था। VGS के अगेंस्ट जो उन्होंने फ़ाइट ली उसके अंदर से वो बाहर निकल ही नहीं सकते थे। लेकिन खैर ये आज के दिन के पहले मैच की कहानी थी। आइए अभी हम एक नए चेहरे तो नहीं, एक काफ़ी ज़्यादा पुराना चेहरा है, इनफैक्ट हमसे भी पुराना है, और उनको बुलाते हैं अलादीन। वेलकम बैक। पहला मैच आपने देखा और एक #16 पर रहती हुई टीम, ओ माय गॉड, ये आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं? आप वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड के प्लेयर्स को रिप्रेजेंट तो नहीं कर रहे?
देखिए मैं बहुत खुश हूँ। सबसे पहले तो बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया मुझे यहाँ पे बुलाने के लिए। एक बार फिर से हम खवातीनों के साथ आपके साथ जुड़ चुके हैं PUBG मोबाइल वर्ल्ड इन्विटेशनल के आज के दिन के ऐसे मैचेस होकर डिसाइड करेंगे कि कौन लेके जाएगा ये ट्रॉफी, कौन बनेगा इस ट्रॉफी का हकदार। लेकिन जिस तरह आपने कहा कि मैं इतना खुश क्यों हूँ, चश्मा मैंने क्यों लगाया हुआ है, ऑब्वियसली यहाँ जब वो थग लाइफ को रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहता हूँ मैं उस टीम की जो कि लास्ट स्पॉट पे ऑलमोस्ट मौजूद थी, और क्या ही कमबैक किया उन्होंने यार। एक ऐसी चीज कर दिखाई है जो उम्मीद भी नहीं कर रहा था कोई भी। लाइक आई बिलीव जो एक खूबसूरती होती है PUBG मोबाइल के टूर्नामेंट्स की, उसमें एक और इजाफा किया गया उनकी तरफ से। ये जो एक 16 स्पॉट जो कमबैक था, चिकन डिनर था, ये बात बता रहा है कि उम्मीद अभी सबके लिए बाकी है।
एग्जैक्टली अलादीन, और आपसे मैंने बिल्कुल ये उम्मीद नहीं की थी काले चश्मे वाली, और मैं आपकी आंखें देखना चाहता हूँ। मुझे आपके पीसी का सब कुछ दिखाई दे रहा है, लिटरली जितने आपने टैब्स ओपन किए हुए हैं मैं सब देख पा रहा हूँ। लेकिन खैर आपने जैसे मेंशन किया, और अलादीन ये चीज़ किसी ने भी एक्सपेक्ट नहीं की थी। हमें लग रहा था शायद फाल्कन लेकर जाएगी, और स्टालवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स बहुत ज़्यादा करीब थी चिकन डिनर के। इनफैक्ट वो ओवरऑल पॉइंट्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा लेकर जाते हैं, लेकिन ऑब्वियसली चिकन डिनर पर वो जो नाम है वो VGS का ही लिखा गया है। सो अगर #16 की टीम उठकर नीचे से इतने आखिरी दिन में इंटेंस मोमेंट्स के अंदर अगर वो मैच लेकर जा सकते हैं तो कुछ भी हो सकता है गाइस, आज कुछ भी हो सकता है, और हर चीज के लिए तैयार रहिए। लेकिन हेड टू हेड आता हुआ टीम स्टालवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स का और DWG का आपस में एक एदाद का मुआवजना किया जाता है। 2428 का डैमेज इस मैच के अंदर पुल ऑफ किया जाता है STE की तरफ से। DWG ऑन द अदर हैंड क्लोज रहते हैं डैमेजेस के मामला के अंदर, 2147 का डैमेज रजिस्टर करते हैं। हीलिंग उसके मुकाबले के अंदर DWG की बहुत ज़्यादा कम है, और इनफैक्ट उनके जो स्कोरिंग है, किल स्कोरिंग है, एलिमिनेशंस है, वो भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा कम है।
बिल्कुल एलिमिनेशंस काफी ज्यादा कम जरूर हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर आप देखें कि DWG की तरफ से कमबैक दिखाया गया है। अभी तक DWG को हमने जो है वो एवरेज मैचेस खेलते हुए देखा जरूर था। ये भी एक एवरेज या कह लें एवरेज से थोड़ा सा बेहतर मैच जरूर था। लाइक इनकी तरफ से जो है वो अभी तक डोमिनेशन नहीं दिखाई थी। आज के दिन की जब मुझसे प्रेडिक्शन लोग कर रहे थे तब मैं उनको यही कह रहा था कि DWG की तरफ से आज जो है वो कुछ शानदार दिन निकाला जाएगा। आगाज बेहतर है, बट आगे उम्मीद है कि चिकन डिनर की तरफ टीम जाना चाहेगी। अगले 2 मैचेस के अंदर एटलीस्ट कोशिश तो की जाएगी चिकन डिनर की। लेकिन हम सब टीम्स की बात कर रहे हैं, थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं 52 के सर्वाइवल की आती। 52 ने काफी अच्छी सर्वाइवल निकाला है।
बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली अलादीन, वो जो एवरेज हमने हाईलाइट की थी आज की गेम से पहले प्री गेम सेगमेंट में कि उनको लगभग 15 पॉइंट्स चाहिए, या मे बी शायद 10 से 15 के बीच में उनको पॉइंट्स निकालने हैं। सो वो बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सर्वाइवल निकालते हैं। लेकिन अगर वहीं पर थोड़े से किल्स वो स्कोर करके लेकर जाते इस मैच से तो मेरे ख्याल से मामला थोड़े और बेहतर हो सकते थे, क्योंकि टॉप 4 के अंदर अगर आप आ गए हो तो फिर आपको कोशिश करनी पड़ती है कि आप थोड़ा बहुत एग्रेशन ज़रूर दिखाओ और किल्स ज़रूर उठाओ। आप इनफैक्ट वहां पर अगर इस मैच से एलिमिनेट हो भी जाते हो तो आपके पास प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट्स तो आएंगे ही, लेकिन सोनी एक्सपीरिया ऑफिशियल स्मार्टफोन पार्टनर फॉर PMWI हाइलाइट्स आप लोगों ने मुलाहिजा फरमाए हैं। बहुत खूबसूरत ये मैच रहा, ज़बरदस्त फाइट्स हमें देखने को मिली। VGS के अगेंस्ट टीम स्टारवोर्ड स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर 2 दफ़ा आते हैं और आगाज में भी हमने देखा स्टारवोर्ड स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर उनके सामने आते हैं। फिर एक आई थिंक सो आखिरी जोन था, 7वां सर्कल था, जब टीम B2B के प्लेयर्स टीम स्टारवोर्ड स्पोर्ट्स को ऑलमोस्ट एलिमिनेट करने ही वाले थे, लेकिन स्टारवोर्ड स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर राइट ऑन टाइम, मेरे ख्याल से वो एक की डिसीजन था जो लिया गया इनकी तरफ से कि उस फाइट से रिट्रीट बैक करना, और वो उनको हैश पर लेकर आ जाता है, हैश 2 पर लेकर आने में कामयाब हो जाता है।
लेकिन यहाँ पर मैं फिर से जो बात करूंगा, जो टीम जिन्होंने सर्वाइवल निकाला है, जैसे कि आप देखें कि वीवो किट की तरफ से 6 पॉइंट सर्वाइवल के निकाले गए, मगर वहीं पर वीवो किट के पास किल्स जरूर मौजूद थे। कुछ टीम्स ऐसी हैं सर्वाइवल के ज्यादा पॉइंट्स लेकर गई हैं, किल्स उनके पास कम है, जैसे कि विजुअल गेमिंग के पास 15 पॉइंट्स थे यहाँ पर जो है वो इस वक्त प्लेसमेंट के, लेकिन 5 ही किल्स मौजूद थे। किया के पास 10 प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट्स मौजूद थे, लेकिन 5 ही किल्स मौजूद थे। वहीं पर 8 पॉइंट के साथ जो है वो 2 किल लेकर जाती हुई रेज भी नजर आई, 52 भी नजर आई है, सॉरी 52 की तरफ से। आपने जैसा मेंशन किया किल्स का जो है वो एक थोड़ा सा हमें फकदान नजर आ रहा है, लेकिन अभी मेरे ख्याल से अगर वो नहीं रियलाइज करते ये बात कि ये जो आज की जो शुरू के जो मैचेस हैं 3, इनमें अगर वो किल्स नहीं निकालते, इनमें वो बड़ा मैच नहीं खेलते, तो फिर टॉप 10 में आना जो है वो एक सपना बन सकता है उनका। और मैं ऐसा नहीं चाहता कि ये सपना बनकर रहे, मैं चाहता हूँ कि रियलिटी में जो है तब्दील हो। लेकिन वहीं पर एक खवातीन फन एक्टिविटी आपके सामने लेकर आते हैं। सेनेटर को हमने जो वो भेजा है कि वो थोड़ा सा जरा ये जो बास्केटबॉल ये जो है उसके साथ खेल अपना दिखाएं, और किस तरह से वो कामयाब साबित होते हैं इसमें या नाकाम साबित होते हैं, आपके सामने आएगा, मुलाहिजा कीजिए।
बिल्कुल।
I think it was 6. That was pretty decent. It's not the record. But what was that one? 11? 11.
वेलकम बैक खवातीन और हज़रात। एक छोटी सी फन वीडियो आपने देखी जरूर, जहां पर 6 बार कामयाब होते हैं सेनेटर अपनी टीम की तरह। ये भी एक चैंपियन बनकर ही सामने आया हमारे, क्योंकि हमने से पहले जो वीडियो देखी थी वहां पर तो जो कोच थे या जो भी प्लेयर थे वो कोशिश कर रहे थे किसी तरह से गेंद को ऊपर उछाले और उनसे हो नहीं रहा था, लेकिन सेनेटर ने दिखाया कि वो तमाम तर जो एक्टिविटीज है उनको बखूबी अंजाम देना चाहते हैं। और एसटी की थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं, जिस तरह से आज के दिन पहला मैच उन्होंने निकाला जरूर है। डू यू थिंक कि नेक्स्ट मैच के अंदर एक चिकन डिनर की तवक्को की जा सकती है उनकी तरफ से आती है?
बिल्कुल बेशक मेरे ख्याल से अगले मैच के अंदर टीम एसटी की तरफ से की जा सकती है तो। और इनफैक्ट टीम फाल्कन्स आज के दिन पहले मैच में चोक थोड़ा बहुत ज़रूर करती है, लेकिन आई थिंक सो मिरामार एक ऐसा मैदान रहेगा जहां पर फाल्कन्स के प्लेयर फाइट बैक ज़रूर करने वाले हैं। और स्टारवोर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑलरेडी अपने लिए वो पॉइंट्स लेकर जा चुकी है कि वो पहले स्पॉट के ऊपर आ जाएं और फाल्कन्स को नीचे उतार लिया जा चुका है। लेकिन व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट फाल्कन्स, क्योंकि अब फाल्कन्स को वो जगह वापस लेनी अलादीन, उनके बारे में आप क्या समझते हैं कि इस अगले मैच के अंदर क्या फाल्कन्स वापस से वो स्पॉट छीनते हुए नजर आएंगे?
देखिए, जब आज के दिन का आगाज हुआ था, आप शायद आपके साथ जो मेरी डिस्कशन हुई थी कि किस तरह से टीम फाल्कन जो है वो चिकन डिनर्स निकालेगी और क्या वो जीत कर जाएगी या नहीं जाएगी। तो मैंने आपको तब भी ये कहा था जब हम बैक स्टेज बात कर रहे थे कि फाल्कन्स को आज टीम पर किया जाएगा पहले पायदान से, और शायद उनको चौथे तक नंबर तक जो वो लेकर जाए टीम, क्योंकि जो बाकी टीम्स हैं वो थोड़ी ज़्यादा हमें जब वो कहीं ना कहीं नज़र आ रही हैं, कहीं ना कहीं उनका जो कॉन्फिडेंस है वो ज़्यादा नज़र आ रहा है। उनको जरूरत भी ज्यादा है पॉइंट्स निकालने की। लेकिन वहीं पर मैं कहूंगा जिस तरह से इस टीम ने हमें परेशान किया ऑलरेडी, आप देखें 143 पॉइंट्स निकालना कोई मजाक नहीं है। इतने बड़े टूर्नामेंट में इतने बड़े नंबर्स को जब सिक्योर करना आसान नहीं होता, और आपने देखा होगा स्टार्टिंग के मैचेस काफी अच्छे गए थे इनके। मेरे ख्याल से RSG, DWG किया और वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स, इन तीनों टीम से मेरी उम्मीद ज्यादा है अगर कंपेयर करूं मैं फैल्कन के हिसाब से, क्योंकि ये मेरी एक पर्सनल एक कह लें कि मेरा ओपिनियन भी है, साथ साथ मैंने इनको परफॉर्म करते हुए देखा है। RSG को हमने पहले जीते हुए देखा है, DWG को हमने डोमिनेट करते हुए देखा है इन द ग्लोबल चैंपियनशिप। निग्मा गैलेक्सी भी आज के दिन कुछ कंसिस्टेंसी दिखाना चाहेगी, लेकिन निग्मा गैलेक्सी का तो काफी फर्क है फैल्कन के साथ। वहीं पर RSG की बात करें, सिर्फ एक ही मैच दूर है वो। अगर एक मैच RSG का अच्छा निकलता है तो बासानी फैल्कन को जब वो डिथ्रोन किया जाएगा। लेकिन चलें, फिलहाल जो वो मैच का आगाज हो चुका है, मिरामर का मैच आज के दिन का दूसरा मैच खबर नजर आपके सामने स्टार्ट होता है। और फ्लाइट पाथ की बात करें, वो जाता है इम्पाला की तरफ से, इस वक्त विलेडरमा की तरफ टीम रिस्पॉन्स होती हुई नजर आएंगी। अभी फिलहाल LSR की तरफ जाएगी USG, लेकिन क्या कोई अर्ली फाइट होती है आदि, मुझे इसका इंतजार है। और सर्कल कहाँ जाता है इसका भी इंतजार रहेगा।
बिल्कुल लादेन, पिछले मैच के अंदर खास हमें कुछ ड्रॉप क्लैशेस नहीं देखने को मिले और एज सच टीम्स ने इंटेंशनली भी किसी को टारगेट नहीं किया, बज़ाहिर देखने में तो यही लग रहा था। सो आई बिलीव कि इस मैच के अंदर भी वैसी सूरत हाल नहीं बनेगी। हाँ, सैनहॉक के अंदर कुछ पता नहीं है, क्योंकि कल के दिन भी सैनहॉक के अंदर ही टीम RSG ने टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स को एलिमिनेट किया था। शायद वो ही कहानी आज फिर से दोहराई जाए टीम RSG की तरफ से। लेकिन RSG भी पिछले मैच के अंदर इनिशियल्स में एलिमिनेट होती है, पहले 2 प्लेयर्स एलिमिनेट होते हैं, 2 प्लेयर्स कोशिश करते हैं उस मैच के अंदर सरवाइव करने की, लेकिन उनको भी ड्यूरिंग द रोटेशन पिक ऑफ कर लिया जाता है। अभी के लिए टीम्स स्प्रेड हो चुकी हैं थ्रू आउट द मैप। और सर्कल की अगर हम बात करें तो सर्कल बिल्कुल चुमसेरा के पास एंड हो सकता है। साउदर्न साइड के ऊपर एक शिफ्ट लेकर गया है सर्कल, टीम 52 बिल्कुल जो कि फार साउदर्न साइड के ऊपर जा रही है। और उसके अलावा ज़्यादातर स्प्रेड हमें इस सर्कल के हिसाब से और प्लेन पाथ के हिसाब से नॉर्दर्न साइड के ऊपर देखने को नहीं मिल रहा। अलादे
बिल्कुल जी, फिलहाल सर्कल का जो रुझान है वो हमें कहीं ना कहीं जो है वो इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स दिखाता हुआ टीम्स के लिए नजर तो नहीं आ रहा। बट वहीं पर देखते हैं किस तरह से कैपिटलाइज किया जाता है इस चीज को। कल के दिन अगर आपको याद हो तो हमने काफी टीम्स को हमने देखा था कि उनकी तरफ से सर्कल के अंदर होने के बावजूद, सेंटर में होने के बावजूद उसको कैश नहीं किया गया उनकी तरफ से। अगर आपको याद हो 52 की तरफ से बहुत अच्छा एरिया होल्ड किया गया था, बट उसको कैश नहीं कर पाते। वहीं पर अगर हम बात करें कल के दिन जो है वो सोल ने सर्कल काफी अच्छे से लिया जरूर था, लेकिन उसको खेल नहीं पाते सही से। फर्दर जैसे ही कोई टीम उनके करीब आती है वहां पर अपने प्लेयर्स को एलिमिनेट कराया जाता है और यूटिलाइज नहीं कर पाते सर्कल को। तो सर्कल के रहमो करम पे नहीं रहना, फाइट्स को जो वो अच्छे से लेना, और फाइट्स जीतने के बाद ही आप जो वो सर्वाइव कर सकते हैं।
जी बिल्कुल लादिन, वही बात है कि आज के दिन आपको अपने जोर बाजू पर इस जंग को जीतना है। वो जो ट्रॉफी आप लोगों ने स्टेज पर देखी है पड़ी हुई, वो इतनी आसानी से किसी के हाथ पर नहीं रखी जाने वाली। टीम स्टारवर्ड ई स्पोर्ट्स ने फाइट किया और वो पहले स्पॉट के ऊपर आ चुके। टीम फाल्कन्स को इस मैच के अंदर फाइट करना ही करना है।
जी हाँ, फाल्कन को जो वो इस मैच में फाइट करना ही करना है। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के इस वक्त हमारे सामने फ्लूकेट हमारे सामने मौजूद हैं। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के प्लेयर्स हमारे सामने जो वो लूट करते हुए नजर आएंगे, लेकिन A7 वर्सेस RSG की फाइट काफी क्लोज, दोनों टीम से एक दूसरे के मौजूद। RSG के प्लेयर्स आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आगे बढ़ते हुए A7 एक बड़ी मुश्किल में मौजूद है, क्योंकि उनके प्लेयर्स काफी दूर हैं एक दूसरे से। ब्रूनो जिस एंगल पे मौजूद है RSG के प्लेयर्स को पता तो नहीं है, लेकिन ब्रूनो का अगर हल्का सा भी भनक उनकी पड़ जाती है तो ग्रेनेड उनका काम तमाम कर सकता है। वहीं पर RSG के प्लेयर्स हाइट पर जा रहे हैं, ये हाइट उनको एडवांटेज देगी जरूर, लेकिन ब्रूनो इस वक्त पिंच डाउन हो चुके हैं, वो फॉल बैक नहीं कर सकते। यहाँ से पीछे जाना उनको जो लॉबी की तरफ लेकर जा सकता है। डीडी मीनवाइल उनकी तरफ से जो वो आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश की जाएगी, एक डिफरेंट एंगल से वो आ जरूर रहे हैं। RSG बिल्कुल भी उनको अंदाजा नहीं है। RSG को देखें वो अग्रेसिव स्टांस में है, A7 87 इस वक्त डिफेंसिव स्टांस में, उनकी तरफ से होल्ड किए जा रहे तमाम एंगल्स को। सेना यहाँ पे जो वो बैकएंड पे मौजूद है, उनकी तरफ से इंतजार किया जा रहा है कि टीम को जब एक जब पुश होगा तो बैकएंड से जो एक कवर प्रोवाइड किया जाए। बट सेना का एंगल बहुत ही बुरा है यहाँ पर, मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज वो उसी एंगल पर है जहाँ पर ऑलरेडी 3 प्लेयर्स मौजूद है। उनको यहाँ पर जो एक फ्लैंक देने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए या फिर किसी हाइट की तरफ हो जाए। सो इस फाइट के अंदर कहीं ना कहीं RSG का चांस काफी अच्छा है, क्योंकि वो चारों प्लेयर्स इकट्ठे अगर पुश करते हैं तो वो एक या दो प्लेयर्स को एक साथ लेकर जो वो एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं। लेकिन चलें, फिलहाल सर्कल क्लोजिंग करने वाला है और हमारे सामने मौजूद है टीम टैम वन गेमिंग, उनकी तरफ से रोटेशन की जा रही सर्कल के अंदर, और अभी जो है वो लूट कर चुके हैं वो। हालांकि 4 मिनट और 30 सेकंड ही हुए हैं। किट्स देखें तो उनके पास एक किट मौजूद है, बैंडेजेस मौजूद हैं, ड्रिंक में उनके पास 3 ड्रिंक्स, 2 ग्रेनेड्स और 4 स्मोक्स मौजूद हैं। लेकिन सामान उनके पास अगर हम बात करें इस वक्त हेलमेट वेस्ट की मद में, वो काफी अच्छा है, तो रोटेशन कर सकते हैं। जी हाँ, लेकिन फाइट्स में शायद दिक्कत आ जाए। गन्स इनकी देखना पड़ेंगे हमें, कौन कौन से गन्स इनके पास मौजूद हैं। अगर आपको शुरुआत में मिरामर के मैप में M4 मिल जाती है या फिर एक मिनी 14 और साथ उसके जो कोई भी क्लोज रेंज गन मिल जाती है, तो आप एटलीस्ट गुजारा कर सकते हैं। हाँ, अगर आपको AK-1 मिल जाए,
जी
ये एक बहुत अच्छा कॉम्बिनेशन है। वहीं पर अगर आपको M4 और मिनी 14 मिल जाती है, तो मेरे ख्याल से मिरामर में इससे बड़ी कोई कह लें कि इससे बड़ा कोई कार्य हो नहीं सकता, इससे बड़ी कोई बात हो नहीं सकती कि आपको एक M4 मिल जाए और साथ एक DMR मिल जाए, क्योंकि फिर आप स्ट्रेस भी अच्छे देंगे, क्लोज भी अच्छी ले लेंगे, और मिनी 14 के साथ आप जो लॉन्ग रेंज के अंदर जलवे दिखाएंगे, वो भी आपके जो वो तमाम पूरी जो लॉबी जो है उसको उस पर दाद आपको देगी जरूर। लेकिन बात करेंगे टीम सोल की, जो कि इस वक्त TJP के सामने मौजूद, एक फाइट यहाँ पर बनने वाली आती है।
जी बिल्कुल लादेन, एक फाइट यहाँ पर देखने को मिल सकती है हमें। टीम सोल के प्लेयर्स मौजूद हैं और टीम सोल के प्लेयर्स ने काफ़ी कुछ ट्राई किया है डिफरेंट अपने लिए, काफ़ी ड्रॉप लोकेशन इन्होंने चेंज भी किया, लेकिन ये रूप टीम सोल का मैंने आज से पहले इस इवेंट के अंदर नहीं देखा। BGMIS में हम लोगों ने देखा था टीम सोल अपने किल्स के और एग्रेशन के बेसिस के ऊपर लड़ती हुई नजर आती थी, लेकिन अब वही रूप कहीं ना कहीं वापस आता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है और बहुत खुशी हो रही है देखते हुए। लेकिन एक प्लेयर को गिरा चुके हैं, TJB के स्क्वाड मौजूद था और TJB बिल्कुल टीम 52 के ऊपर ही मौजूद है, टीम सोल से 1-2 पायदान ऊपर ये मौजूद है और दोनों स्क्वाड्स आज के दिन के लिए फर्स्ट पेज के लिए लड़ते हुए दिखाई देंगे। लेकिन हेक्टर को जाना है, हेक्टर को अपने प्लेयर को रिवाइव भी करना है। UMP-45 का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, 25 बुलेट्स इनके पास मौजूद रहने वाली है, लेकिन TJB के प्लेयर्स जिस एंगल्स पर मौजूद हैं वहां से उनको टेक डाउन करना काफी ज्यादा मुश्किल है। लेकिन नीचे की तरफ जाते हैं TJB के प्लेयर, FPP मोड के ऊपर शिफ्ट करते हैं, टीम सोल के प्लेयर गिराने में कामयाब हो जाते हैं, फ्री फायर का बेहतरीन तरीके से इस्तेमाल और प्लेयर को एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश की जाती है। लेकिन बैक एंड से TJB के एक और प्लेयर आते हैं, 2 प्लेयर्स को गिराने में कामयाब रह जाते हैं। अक्षत को आना है, अक्षत को अब आना है आगे, लेकिन अक्षत को पता है कि अगर मैं यहां से निकला तो TJB के लिन उनको एलिमिनेट करते हुए दिखाई दे सकते हैं। टीम सोल के अक्षत अब आखिरी प्लेयर है, उनके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी है कि वो किसी ना किसी तरह कुछ ना कुछ कर कोई जादुई शक्तियां इस्तेमाल कर रिवाइव दे ओमेगा को, लेकिन आई डोंट बिलीव कि ये ऐसा होता हुआ दिखाई देगा। गॉब्लिन भी बैक एंड के ऊपर मौजूद रहते हैं, गॉब्लिन एक नॉक निकालने में कामयाब, दूसरा नॉक भी निकालने की कोशिश की जाएगी, लेकिन क्रॉस एयर लड़खड़ाते हैं, अभी तक प्लेयर सर्वाइव करे, बैक एंड से प्रेशर आता हुआ, काफी हद तक प्रेशर का सामना करते हुए एक और प्लेयर को गिराते हैं, लेकिन बैक एंड से TJB के मजीद प्लेयर इस कहानी पर एक फुल स्टॉप लगाते हैं और टीम सोल को इस मैच से एलिमिनेट किया जाता है। गॉब्लिन का वो स्प्रे लड़खड़ाना इस पूरी टीम को इस मैच से बाहर कर देता है। गॉब्लिन अगर वहां पर वो नॉब निकाल लेते तो मेरे ख्याल से अभी सोल इस मैच में सरवाइव कर रही होती, लेकिन आई विश देम वेरी बेस्ट ऑफ लक। हेट देने की किसी भी टीम को जरूरत नहीं है। टीम स्टालवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स भी अपना एक प्लेयर गवा चुकी है, अलादीन एक्शन ऑलरेडी लॉबी जा चुके हैं और एक्शन का लॉस टीम स्टालवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स को काफी महंगा जरूर पड़ेगा, लेकिन स्टिल दे हैव अ गुड पॉइंट। लेकिन इस मैच में परफॉर्म करना पिछले मैच से ज्यादा जरूरी है अलादीन, क्योंकि वो लीड, वो जो थ्रोन है वो उनको अपने पास ही रखना है, उस पर डेरा उनको जमाना है और उसको अपने लिए ही मखसूस रखना है उनको।
बिल्कुल सही, डेरा जमाना है उस रोड के ऊपर और मखसूस रखना उसके ऊपर। आपके तमाम जो आपने अल्फाज का जो चुनाव किया उनके साथ मैं बिल्कुल एग्री करना चाहूँगा, सहमत बिल्कुल होना चाहूँगा। लेकिन फिलहाल 87 को देखें आप, वो अभी तक RSG के साथ जो एक फाइट जो कि प्रोलॉन्ग हुई थी उसमें अब अपना स्टांस चेंज कर चुके हैं। कुछ मिनटों पहले हमने देखा कि RSG एग्रेसिव थी, 87 डिफेंसिव थी। अब आप देखें कि RSG इंतजार कर रही है, 87 आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उनके करीब जा रही है। तो ये डिफरेंस देखें, ये शिफ्ट देखें किस तरह से ये जो दोनों ही टीम्स के मोमेंटम का जो है वो बनता हुआ नजर आएगा। लेकिन लाइटनिंग यहाँ एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत स्टेल्थ मोड का यहाँ पर जो मुजाहरा किया जाता है उनकी तरफ से, इंतजार कर रहे थे, TPP ले रहे थे, अब बैठे हुए थे बड़े आराम से, और जैसे ही उनकी तरफ कुछ किया जाता है 87 के प्लेयर की तरफ से, उनकी तरफ जैसे वो आगे बढ़ते हैं, ग्रेनेड लेकर जो है वो ग्रेनेड थ्रो करना चाह रहे होते हैं, उसी एडवांटेज को कैश किया जाता है। लाइटनिंग पर नॉक करेंगे, किल कंफर्म किया जाएगा और RSG अपने बैकअप में पहला किल कंफर्म करते हुए अब एक बार फिर से स्टांस चेंज हो जाएगा। अभी जो टीम डिफेंसिव थी RSG, अब वो एग्रेसिव हो जाएगी क्योंकि वो एक किल कंफर्म कर चुके हैं। और जब पहले स्टांस चेंज हुआ था
जी बिल्कुल, कहीं ना कहीं कोशिशें की जा रही हैं टीम्स की तरफ से। टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स भी एक रोटेशन इन प्ले दिखाते हुए, और बॉक्स गेमिंग बॉक्स गेमिंग को भी अच्छे पॉइंट्स की अशद ज़रूरत पड़ने वाली है इस मैच में, लेकिन अभी के लिए टीजेबी के प्लेयर्स मजीद किल स्कोरिंग करने की कोशिश करेंगे। टीम सोल के स्क्वाड के 4 किल्स अपने बैकपैक में लेने के बाद टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग को इस मैच से बाहर भेजने के लिए वो आ चुके हैं, लेकिन देखते हैं कि क्या ये प्लान काम करता है। बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स के साथ लड़ना इतना आसान नहीं रहने वाला। टीजेबी ऑलरेडी सेकंड पेज पर काफी नीचे आ चुकी है, हैश 14-15 पर ये स्क्वाड मौजूद है, और टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग ऑन द अदर हैंड वो काफी ज्यादा बेहतर नजर आए हमें कल के दिन खेलते हुए, लेकिन अभी के लिए बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स काफी ध्यान से खेलते हुए नेट्स का भरपूर इस्तेमाल करते हैं। टीजेबी के शाओ को टेक डाउन करने में कामयाब बॉक्स के ट्रिस्मी अभी के लिए मॉलो से बचते हुए, लेकिन उनके प्लेयर नीचे जो नॉक है उनको रिवाइवल का प्रोसेस भी इनिशियलाइज कर दिया जाएगा। टीजीबी के प्लेयर्स आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आगे बढ़ते हुए और अपने कदम जमाते हुए मजीद घेरा तंग करते हुए टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स के लिए, लेकिन बहुत ही खूबसूरत नेट का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स की तरफ से। ट्रिस्मी आप नीचे की तरफ जाएंगे, मौके का फायदा उठाना चाहते हैं, एंड दिस इज द राइट टाइम टू रश इन, और टीजेबी के प्लेयर्स अब एनहाइलेट हो सकते हैं इस मैच से। एक और बुरा मैच जा सकता है टीजेबी के लिए। 2 प्लेयर्स एलिमिनेट हो चुके हैं, 2 प्लेयर्स अभी नॉक हैं, 1 प्लेयर इस मैच से एलिमिनेट हो चुके हैं। आखिरी प्लेयर लिन को कुछ करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन 4 बंदों के आगे कैसे कुछ कर पाएंगे मैं देखना चाहता हूं। 1 प्लेयर को क्या एलिमिनेट कर पाएंगे, बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर को लो करते हैं और खुद इस मैच से एलिमिनेट हो जाते हैं। टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग वंस अगेन 4 किल्स अपने बैकपैक में लेकर जाती हुई। टीजेबी टीम सोल के ऊपर 4 किल स्कोर करती है और टीम बॉक्स टीजीबी के ऊपर 4 किल स्कोर करती है। अब मैं देखना चाहता हूं टीम बॉक्स के 4 किल्स कौन लेकर जाता है, क्योंकि ये एक लूप 4 किल्स का यहां पर हमें देखने को मिल रहा है इस मैच में, लेकिन ये वो फाइट थी जहां पर टीम सोल के प्लेयर्स अपनी जान गंवा बैठते हैं। बुलेट वहां पर कनेक्ट हो जाती गॉब्लिन की तरफ से तो कहानी बहुत मुख्तलिफ हो सकती थी, लेकिन टीजीबी के प्लेयर्स ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सामना किया था टीम सोल के प्लेयर्स का। इंडीड जेवे बैक टू बैक पिछले मैच के अंदर टीम स्टारवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स के अगेंस्ट आते हैं और बैक टू बैक के प्लेयर्स ने कोशिश की थी टीम स्टारवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स को एलिमिनेट करने की। रोटेशंस बहुत अच्छी रही बैक टू बैक के पिछले मैच में, लेकिन अभी के लिए किसी से फाइट लेना नहीं पसंद करेंगे। मिरामार के सर्कल्स बहुत ही एक हार्ड शिफ्ट होता है, ऑलमोस्ट हर सर्कल ही ज़्यादातर हार्ड शिफ्ट लेकर जाता है। दूसरा शिफ्ट सेंट्रलाइज होता है और उसके बाद फिर हार्ड शिफ्ट का सिलसिला जारी रहता है। जैसा कि आपने देखा सेकेंड सर्कल शिफ्ट एक सेंट्रलाइज्ड शिफ्ट था और अब एक हार्ड शिफ्ट आएगा जो कि आई बिलीव नॉर्दर्न साइड के ऊपर जाएगा। अब देखते हैं सर्कल क्या हमें सही साबित करता है या गलत साबित करता है। बॉक्स गेमिंग के प्लेयर्स बज़ाहिर इस सर्कल शिफ्ट के बिल्कुल बीच में मौजूद हैं। टीम 52 अपने आप को इस सारे मंजर से साइड पर रखती हुई थोड़ा सा कॉर्नर्ड हैं और इस सारे क्लस्टर से थोड़ा सा अलग होकर खेलना चाहते हैं, लेकिन वीजीएस वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड उनकी जान नहीं छोड़ता। पहले मैच में हमने देखा इनके जो ड्रॉप्स हैं वो भी ये लोग साथ ही लेते हुए हम लोगों को पिछले मैच में दिखाई दिए। इस मैच के अंदर भी एक दूसरे के साथ साथ ही रोटेशंस करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, लेकिन ये स्क्वाड जो कि अभी अलादीन हमारी स्क्रीन पर मौजूद है टीम फाल्कन्स का, इनके लिए ये मैच बहुत ज़्यादा चैलेंजिंग बनने वाला है और कुछ नया, कुछ आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स इनको करना पड़ेगा। स्टारवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स को अगर थोड़ा सा भी रूम दिया गया खेलने का तो वो मजीद अपनी लीड को आगे बढ़ा ले जाएंगे। एंड हमने देखा है पीएमपीएल साउथ एशिया के अंदर कि स्टारवर्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स को अगर आप थोड़ी सी छूट दें तो फिर वो आपके पकड़ में वापस नहीं आते।
और कुछ स्टारवर्ट स्पोर्ट्स को एक बार मौका दिया जाए तो उनको फिर दोबारा से कैटर करना काफ़ी मुश्किल हो जाता है। इस बात से तो मैं एग्री करूंगा आपकी, लेकिन अभी देखिए आपके तमाम जो टीम्स हैं लॉबी में, जिस तरह से फाल्कन्स है, जी है, जो कि अभी तक उस पहले पायदान के खेल में जो वो बराबर के हिस्सेदार हैं, ये तमाम टीम्स भी हमें बहुत ज़्यादा फॉर्म में नजर आ रही हैं। तो मौका इतना आसानी से मिलेगा भी नहीं टीम एस टी को छीनना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर। जब एस टी को कुछ आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स सोचना पड़ेगा उनको यहाँ पर जो है वो, या तो मैं कहना चाहूँगा जो मेरा जो पर्सनल एक मशवरा है जो कि आरएसजी कर रही है, जिस तरह से आरएसजी खेल रही है वैसा खेल यहाँ पर दिखाना पड़ेगा इस टीम को। थोड़ा सा डिफेंसिव रहे, इंतजार करें लास्ट मोमेंट तक का और फिर जो है वो एंड मोमेंट पे जो वो किल्स निकालें, क्योंकि वो जो 15 का जो एक नंबर होता है जो आपको मिलता है चिकन डिनर के बाद, वो एक बहुत बड़ा नंबर है। टीम आरएसजी उस 15 के नंबर के लिए ही खेलती हुई नजर आ रही है, इसी वजह से वो एक अच्छा कमबैक कर पाए हैं। टीम एसटी मीनवाइल वो थोड़ा अग्रेसिव हो जाते हैं समटाइम्स और उनको पनिशमेंट भी मिलती है, लेकिन फिलहाल अगर बात करें हमारे सामने स्क्रीन पे मौजूद है टीम एसटी मोबाइल कैट्स, उनके सामने फॉर राइवल्स दोनों टीम जिसके सामने चूसी भी नजर आएगी और फाइट लेने की कोशिश की जा रही है यहाँ पे आ रही है।
बिल्कुल आदिन, हर टीम्स की तरफ से ही हर ही टीम की तरफ से फाइट लेने की भरपूर कोशिश की जा रही है। फोर राइवल्स को भी पॉइंट्स अपने लिए बेहतरीन चाहिए और जितनी टीम्स पहले पेज के ऊपर मौजूद हैं, खास सेकंड पेज से यार एक टीम उठकर मैं अभी भी एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर पा रहा, इस बात को हजम नहीं कर पा रहा कि वर्चुअल गेमिंग स्क्वाड ने पिछले मैच में एक बहुत बेहतरीन अपने लिए उस मैच को बनाया, उस मैच के अंदर पहला पायदान वो लेकर गए हैं। ये चीज हजम ही नहीं की जा रही। लेकिन अभी के लिए टीम इस्तानबुल वाइल्ड कैट्स के प्लेयर थोड़ा सा पीछे की तरफ आ जाते हैं, बहुत ही क्रिस्टल क्लियर स्प्रे देते हैं और लेजर स्प्रे दिया जाता है फोर राइवल्स के वो की ओपी की तरफ से। फोर राइवल्स के प्लेयर एक नॉक एक्सचेंज करने के बाद थोड़ा से फ्लैंक्स अडॉप्ट करना चाहते हैं या मे भी शायद सर्कल को मद्देनजर रखते हुए अपनी पोजीशन को चेंज करें और फर्दर डीप इनसाइड द सर्कल हमें जाते हुए नजर आए। सर्कल के अंदर सारी की सारी टीम्स शुमार हो चुकी हैं। टीम 52 अभी भी सर्वाइव कर रही है। पिछले मैच की तरह इस मैच के अंदर भी उनको ऑलमोस्ट 12 से 15 पॉइंट्स उनको निकालने हैं अगर वो पहले पेज तक जाना चाहते हैं। नहीं अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो मजीद दूरियां बढ़ती हुई नजर आएंगी। 52 अभी भी सर्कल के अंदर मौजूद है। DWG का स्क्वाड एक बहुत अच्छी जगह पर है। बॉक्स गेमिंग जिस प्लेस के ऊपर मौजूद है, जहां पर उनकी प्लेसमेंट है स्क्वाड की, वो बहुत ही ज्यादा बेहतरीन है क्योंकि वेस्टर्न एज पर जो एक शिफ्ट है जो टीम्स ने लेना है, एक जो क्लस्टर फॉर्म हुआ है, टीम RSG ने वहां से आना है। बड़े बड़े नाम हैं, सारे ऐसे नाम हैं जो कि टीम बॉक्स गेमिंग को कॉन्टेस्ट जरूर कर सकते हैं और अगर वहां पर किल स्कोरिंग बॉक्स गेमिंग की तरफ से की जाती है, गेट कीप किया जाता है, तो मेरे ख्याल से खातिर खा किल्स इस मैच से बॉक्स गेमिंग भी लेकर जा सकती है।
बिल्कुल, लेकिन आप सर्कल का शिफ्ट देखें कितना अच्छा है। इस सर्कल के शिफ्ट के हिसाब से एसटी को एडवांटेज काफी मिलेगा और एसटी यहाँ पर क्लोज बिल्कुल वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के भी, लेकिन वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स एक डिफिकल्टी में इस तरह से आएंगे कि वो स्प्लिट में मौजूद है और उनके ऊपर नॉक्स भी निकल सकते हैं। लेकिन किल फीड में आप देखें इस वक्त के लिए पावरफुल यहाँ पे एलिमिनेट होते हुए फाल्कन स्पोर्ट्स अपना एक प्लेयर गवाते हुए नजर आएगी। टीम फाल्कन इनफैक्ट एलिमिनेट ही हो जाती है। 6 ही पॉइंट्स उनको मिलेंगे जरूर इस सारे मैच के। ओके, फिलहाल अभी जो है वो फाल्कन स्पोर्ट्स अभी सर्वाइव कर रही है। मेरे सामने जो है एक डिफरेंट स्क्रीन, आई एम रियली सॉरी, साथ खुल जरूर गई थी और मैंने उसको जब वो कास्ट कर दिया तो मैं अपने आंसर वापस लेता हूँ आपसे। सो फिलहाल डेनिस बैंक वाइल्ड कैट्स की बात करें, हमारे सामने मौजूद उनकी स्प्रे चाहता जरूर है एंड उनकी तरफ से स्प्रे में जो है वो
He needs to make those decisions quickly because he is going to be in the zone and that zone is going to start hurting and he's going to have to move quickly. Right now would be the time. If you're going to take a shot, right now would be that time. As we go to Falcons, Falcons going to be able to get this knock. They are not. Lappy's able to win it. Falcons really needs to win this fight. How are they going to be able to recover from it? Damar shooting up a car, making sure that nobody's there.
And at least the Blockheads go out early. Oh my god, the Molotovs coming all over the place here. Falcons trying to make the best out of this situation, get the points that they're able to do. Damar goes down. That's super unfortunate. Yusuf and Powerful, last two players, and they're now outside the blue. On the other side, we have Vampire waiting. But four rivals, PMWI is going to try to get the best out of this, get the points confirmed for this situation.
And while all of this is happening, I'm trying to figure out what Star Wars Esports is doing because they only have one Ilum. They do have 3 players, and that is a team that is going to be paying close attention to what happens with Falcon. Vivo Keyed eliminated by back-to-back, but this is just such an important fight. I think Team Falcons is going to be able to pick up Damar, which that is going to be great, but Baru 7 from 4 rivals just waiting patiently. And as you mentioned earlier, Vampire Esports is going to be waiting after this fight. They need to make some decisions quickly. And here comes the smoke. Here's going to come the push from Team Falcons. Is he going to be able to get the knock? He is going to be able to get the knock in the finish. Powerful. Getting that knock in GC, getting the knock against Frenzy. Look at all of this. There you go. Being able to secure some extra points for his team as they were almost eliminated earlier.
That's so unfortunate for Morph to lose a player like that in that situation to Regans. That could have been a good game for them, but now they're down to just 3. Let's see if they can do something more about it. GC finds Rocky 2. Regans just destroying the games of multiple players. Falcon, Yusuf finding Stalwart. Virtual Gaming Squad out there also in 13th place.
And this is going to be such a fight too. This is going to be such a hard push here for the Falcons. Just hope that nobody shoots you. You don't have any smokes. You already used most of your utility earlier. Vampire Esports is going to be winning. There's a lot of teams that are going to have many angles on you. So hope that nobody pops the tires on that buggy and just try to go for it. You can see Vampire Esports waiting. They know that there's a team that's going to try to make that push. Luckily for that nade, not getting anybody from Team Falcons, but I feel like that vehicle is going to get a little bit damaged, and now it's time to start zigzagging. And you are currently shooting at Software Esports. You need to worry about back-to-back because back-to-back currently has all their 4 players. Oh, and unluckily, Yusuf not able to make it, but one of the other players was able to make it. I wonder if he's going to be able to get in the right location, and the Mark is going to try to make it over there too. As Powerful currently trying to heal up, and here you go, kill switch. Can he get it? Oh,
no.
They do blow up the car. It was just such a hard rotation for Team Falcons.
But I would really love to see them drive at the same time, so they would have had multiple targets to shoot at, rather than taking a car at the time. That makes it easier for back-to-back. And now it leaves Falcons just with Powerful left. But he is sitting under the high ground. He could potentially recoup a little bit of the points later. They have 5 eliminations already, and they're guaranteed top 10 as Regens goes out in 11th place here with 4 eliminations.
Yeah, and with Team Falcons, that's just going to be a hard spot right there for Powerful. He's going to be so exposed if for some reason Vampire Esports does decide to look that way, or Star Wars Esports decides to look that way. He's just going to play it patient, try to not make any noise, and he's currently doing the right thing. We do see Atani Esports. Hey, they lost that player earlier in the game, but they are still being able to stay alive. We see Box Gaming going up against USG Donuts. Look at what's happening right now. Donuts only have 1 player alive. And Powerful, as I was saying, it was just such a hard spot for him to be there. Vampire Esports ultimately ends up looking that way, and they do end up getting that finish.
Yeah, and next Chocolate's pop as well. As you can see in the minimap top right, we see multiple teams trying to get into a better angle right now. Vampire looking really strong. Stalwart too, but back-to-back is pushing. They could be taking this fight to Stalwart and try to take some of that terrain. We're going to see multiple teams on the fight on the south side try to get into the circle too. Box, Atan, Morph, Damwon, Kia are all going to be fighting for just a little bit of terrain that maybe can accommodate only one team.
In this fight, if they're going to make a fight right here, Vampire Esports and Star Wars Esports, they need to hurry up, because now back-to-back has made that rotation, and they're going to be looking third party. And look at that right there. One of the players from back-to-back, Killswitch, being able to get the knock on Star Wars Esports. J-Way. Come on, J-Way. Let's see what you can do with this grenade. Are you going to be able to hit on anything? I don't think that's going to hit anybody. But yeah, just, you know, saying, hey, don't go that way, okay? That's pretty much what that nade was. Damn, Kia does have 2 players currently knocked. You can see 52 Esports as well. Box Gaming, they do have all their players up, and they currently do have 6 Illims. Forrest trying to make that push. And oh, Pika. Is Pika going to be able to? Oh, Pika just gets spotted by Vampire Esports. Gets that elimination. You can see here a replay of what happened earlier between PSG and Enigma Galaxy. And
nice
wow,
shots.
freak. Okay. That's really impressive. That's some points that your team definitely needs.
Damwon Kia lost 2 players, and again, as we're talking about, as I was saying before, they are fighting for this terrain that can max accommodate 2 players back-to-back already inside the zone, defending this push from them. Vampire also defending the push from Atan. More shots are coming towards Fran. He goes down as well. And now it's just send a Texa to Atan that is going to try to survive this situation.
And here we go. J-Way still alive. He does have Forrest right there. J-Way hops in the vehicle and somehow is able to escape that Forrest. Not able to get the shots, but they are going to know that he's going to be coming. How is back-to-back going to be able to recover? Do they actually know that Forrest is there? There you go. They're able to get that Illim. They're able to get that extra points. Back-to-back, the hope of a nay. I think it's going to be really hard for them to make it to the top 5, but they're about to take a fight to Vampire Esports, and this is going to be huge. Are they going to be able to win this? Killswitch currently not full healed, but guess what? Vampire Esports does have some players that are not full heal either. J7 playing it very slow, being the anchor for his team, and Fluke being able to heal up. 52 Esports eliminated.
6 plays, 3 eliminations to them. Vampire looking really strong in this situation. Also back-to-back, 4 guys strong on both of those teams. Box have been suffering a little bit from that, trying to get into this little dip here. They have this to work with. The question is, can they take this further?
Something that I love that I'm seeing right now in the minimap is that Vampire Esports does have a great player in Stone. He has a great angle, and they're going to have just that ledge full of cover. They're going to be able to position themselves inside the zone. Vampire Esports is going to have a big upper hand here, especially with that ledge that they have. Nobody's going to be able to see him. And you can see Box Gaming is going to have to push into back-to-back. Can back-to-back hold up Box Gaming? And I see a player there from Morph as well. Texa from Atani Esports being able to get the knock.
Yeah, huge for them to push in. And there's so many teams that are going to be pushing into the south, or from the south side into the circle. And the south can only maintain one team. There's not much space for this. Atan and Box is fighting. Texa is able to do multiple things here. And that means that Box is going to go down in 4th place. Morph also went out in 5th.
box, not able to make it, but a great push there from Atani Esports. Cinetex, one of the veterans when it comes to PUBG Mobile Brazil. He has a lot of experience with this kind of tournaments. And here we go, Vampire Esports back-to-back. How are they going to be able to do this? Atani Esports eliminated. It is going to be a 4v4. Who's going to get the first knock? Back-to-back. Jaywood being able to get the first knock. They're currently trying to get some angles. Polo, you can see Polo in the back just healing up. They are both currently waiting, trying to get angles. J7, this is going to be huge for his team if he is able to get the angle and get the knock on the team, on the player from Vampire Esports that's in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. And as you're pointing out here with this switch here, this is huge. The question is who gets the next benefit. We have one more circle to be popped, and it's going to decide basically who gets the advantage here in the last part of the game. We are up to a 4 versus 4. It's rare to see in this situation here, but shots are coming out from Killswitch. Back-to-back could make something happen here and there, and they already have 9 eliminations as well. Your heart is pounding right now at 7. You're hoping for the best outcome for your boys.
You can't see my smile, but I have a big smile, okay? I'm hoping that they do get at least a chicken dinner here just for some bragging rights for NA, even if they do somehow end up being in last place, which if they get the win, it's not going to happen. Come on. I believe in them. Can they pull this off? And guess what? The circle goes in favor of...
Yeah, that's a great question.
I think
it's kind of the center. It's kind of shared. Right? It's kind of shared. I would say Vampire might be a little bit closer, but it's very shared. And it's very much in the open space here of the middle. There's a dead tree, a crate that could potentially be inside. The question is, when back-to-back comes off from this top side ridge, they're going to have a really hard time aggressing onto Vampire. The team that wins this game is the team that is using the best utility here, makes the best amount of smokes. And I really want to see from back-to-back to offensively smoke off the ridge that Vampire has. Then they can take the advantage away from Vampire.
You can see Polo trying to make a move. If Polo is able to locate himself, there you go. He is able to locate himself. You are going to have J-Way. Right now, the way back-to-back is set up, and I don't think Vampire Esports actually has that much utility because of all the other fights that were taking on earlier. This is going to be a great fight, and it's actually going to come down to the first. Now you can see Killswitch right there hopping off. If I'm you, Killswitch, I'm going to just pop off all the tires from that bus and just use it as coverage. You can see they reposition themselves a little bit closer there. Now they're going to be inside the circle. I'm going to just get a chance and assume of that. J-Way is going to have an angle. He's going to be able to see him. J7 missing some shots. He needs to be able to connect with this, and I think he might just get a chance to move up to that tree. He might not be able to, actually.
Vampire soon might be forced off this ridge here. That's the only advantage they have at the moment. Fluke taking a lot of damage. J7 takes down Fluke, but is traded quickly by Shreps.
And there's nobody with utility at this moment. If not, we would have seen some nades falling. J-Way does get spotted. Ravenclaw, there you go. J7 exploding a car. Two players from Vampire Esports currently down. Polo, this is one of the MVPs of an A. Can he get this clutch? Polo with the AKM. 1v1. He gets some shots. Can he get the other ones? Come on, the hope of an A. Polo, can you get this shot? Yes! Back to back. Able to clutch the win, ladies and gentlemen. 28 points for them, and that's going to feel so good for that team that was in last place. And, I mean, what were we talking about earlier, Martin? We said it. Some of the teams at the top need to be careful. The teams at the bottom are going to try to showcase their skills, are going to try to showcase what they got, what they're here for a reason, and try to steal some points from the top 5 teams.
And also, they're going to push themselves so far up the leaderboard with this situation here. Much more prize pool available for them, of course, coming in with this situation. Super well played by back-to-back here. Love what we saw from Vampire, though. I feel like that utility we saw in the end, if that could have been delayed a little bit, it could have made a huge difference, but there was just nothing left.
Yeah, and I mean, if we go back to it, remember when Team Falcons as well was trying to make that push out of that road, you can see Vampire Esports was using a lot of grenades, a lot of smokes too, so ultimately ended up just hurting them in a big way.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to have one more game to cast you and I. It's going to be sound like your favorite map, but we are going to go to a very short break. But stay tuned. Once we get back, the desk will tell you exactly what you've been thinking about all this time.
NA.
مع التحديث الجديد لستي سي بلاي تجربة جديدة للكل. لو جوك دايم تحديات، نافس وانضم للبطولات، استكشف الشات والتايم لاين وتسوق من متجر التطبيق. الليدر بورد على تفاعلك بالتطبيق، والجوائز الأسبوعية والشهرية على نظام النقاط تنتظرك. ستي سي بلاي، مهما كان جوك هذا محلك.
Yeah, welcome back. Nice indeed as back-to-back take themselves a chicken dinner. Before we can fully dive into this match, though, Sony Xperia, the 1-4, made in collaboration with professional esports players to help bring you the best smartphone for your gaming experience. Also, the official smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile. Gentlemen, North America, let's go, boys. I'm the only American here. They're on the map. The question is how far they moved to the standings, but before we can even get to that, let's take a look at our match rankings.
That's what Americans
brought to you
do,
by
right?
STC. Yeah,
Boxing
exactly.
And other things. Yay, America.
I mean, we are the back-to-back baseball champions of the world, football champions of the world.
The World Series, exclusively containing American teams. Yes. Only Americans can call it the World Series.
Exactly. Anyway. But back-to-back, 28 points, right? We've been talking about them towards the bottom of the table. If I'm not mistaken, they were actually the bottom of the table. Yes, they were. But this is a big win for them, and a much-needed win. Again, there's still a lot of prize money to be won. Realistically, for them to move up the leaderboard and get top 5, probably not realistic, or I can say with confidence it is not realistic.
I don't like saying impossible. Almost impossible. right there. I don't expect that to happen. But, as you said, still some extra money to win for these guys. And you're in a position where I think a lot of the teams at the bottom have nothing to lose, right? You just go out there, get those eliminations, get those extra placement points. If you can get a win, perfect. But I think that should be the focus from a lot of the teams at the bottom of the rankings.
Well, I think the excellent thing about this tournament structure as well is that actually the bump-ups in prize pool, almost every single player, is quite significant, yes. So there is still a significant amount for these teams to play for. For back-to-back getting 28 points, that's effectively almost a third of some of the team's points that are they're pushing up towards, right? Sure. So that's a big win to be able to get them back on the road again here. And coming in from that west side and actually having full dominant control over it, that bodes well for them in the next coming games.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about J-Way and J7, the positions they were playing towards the final areas there, up against Vampire Esports. Some really good off angles being held, Max.
Yeah, it was actually really close between all of these teams, but the one angle that I thought was very interesting was not back-to-back, it was actually Mike, also an Estonian game, right, that is playing for Vampire Esports, and the moment that circle started closing up, he could not play on that off angle anymore, and they were just playing from one singular angle, and that allowed the entirety of back-to-back to start pushing and flooding that area.
That's it, right? I mean, when you look at the two positions that these teams had, yes, technically Vampire, they have that ridgeline to be able to work with, but when the circle constricts the way it does, all 4 players have to be on the same angle, meaning that back-to-back has far better angles to work with on just one solid location as opposed to having to deal with all 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, of the other angles from back-to-back.
And that's the interesting point, right? We talked about it yesterday. If you get still a bit of utility at the end, like one nade there, you're done. That's pretty much like, hold on to the nades until the late game. It's important.
Yeah, very important.
To be fair, I think it was J7 that actually blew up the vehicle and knocked Mike or Stone down. For that, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end, right?
He
just shot it,
he was knocked by the time, so it was somebody else, I think. But
was it?
It's by the by. Yeah, he was. So J7 was knocked, and he was moving forward for
I thought
information.
I saw that as well. but maybe it was J-Way then.
Someone in the back said it was J7. It wasn't J7. He crawled
you don't want to call him out.
forwards.
He's not calling out one of the casters who said it.
He crawled forwards for information, which is actually extremely important. When you get knocked, if there's no chance of rezzing you, crawl forwards, try and see exactly where they are, so then you can relay to your information to your team exactly where to fire.
We're taking a look at our highlights by Sony. Another team we have to touch on really quickly. Reagan's Gaming, not faring too well. Team Falcons as well, not faring too well. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these top 5 teams go out early. Damwon Kia able to make the front page, though, of our match standings brought to you by STC, so they're able to help climb up the leaderboards a bit more.
Yeah, I really have the impression in this third and final day here for the main tournament, at least of PMWI, teams are willing to go that extra step, right? Go extra aggressive to maybe change their rotation a little bit. Like, they are willing to make that change to, as you said already, Kalash, like, try and get that extra prize pool in the rankings. Like, that should be the focus at the bottom. Not focusing for top 5, that is out of the question. Focus on that prize pool increase. 1, 2, 3 extra places. That's a really huge amount of money that can be coming your way.
If you want to touch on the money aspect of it, right? 18th place gets $15,000.
Yeah.
16th place gets $20,000. That's already $5,000 extra.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And then you look up towards the higher ranks, right? I mean, you look at, let's just say 13th place, which is $27,500. If you're getting up to 9th, you're almost doubling up to $40,000. Like, it's a lot of money for these teams.
In one day here at this tournament, it's not out of the realms of possibility that you do have a few banger games back to back. And we saw it from RSG yesterday, moving from 9th to 2nd or 3rd or something like that. But the fact that that is doable and capable here on the international stage shows that you can move up hugely in terms of the money earnings overall here for PMWI.
Well, speaking of overalls, we're going to look at overall standings in just a second, but I once again need to give a shout out here to Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib, again, one of the sponsors to make sure this event is possible, and of course, make sure we can see this awesome competition between our 18 teams here. And, of course, our team's coming up next week. But let's take a look at overall standings, get an idea of where the teams currently do stand. Keep in mind, first place, $500,000. We're going to take a look at the second page, or the last page, to make it spicy. We're going to go the opposite way. I was like, Box Gaming, what happened? How did they get first place? But top 5 as well gets into the after-party showdown happening next week. But we can see here, back-to-back was last place. I believe they were at the start of the day, 38 points, just about, if I could use my memory correctly. Yes, 38 points. Well, I'm a genius. And we have been able to move up to 16th place. I mean, but they can still climb. I mean, look what? Sorry to cut you off there. 21 points between 16th and 11th. Like, realistically, they could see themselves top 10.
One more big win would do it. Like, just pushing them up there with all of this being said. I mean, the fact that they had 10 placement points before this game across 12, 13 games, in fact. Bit of a disaster. So now seeing them, as I say, back on the road again, I'm hoping to see we get them pushing on up there.
And we saw with how much of a lead the top teams currently have, like, there's that sponge coming into play very heavily. A lot of the top teams are getting very little points every single game. So one banger game, you can be up there. And as you said, for back-to-back there already, Jason.
Definitely.
They could make it up there. Though I'm looking on this page, if I could say I would like to see a team way higher, it is Donuts. I do think that, once again, we have 2 MVPs in this tournament from their region. You have Top from Star Wars, and you have Naoto from Donuts USG. And these last 2 days, they've just been pretty much invisible. So I would like to see them more present in these last few games.
Yeah, and gentlemen, I want to bring up at least one talking point here. When I look down this list, I'm looking at the amount of teams that have been able to secure themselves a chicken dinner, and yet they're still down towards the bottom of the table. I mean, look at Donuts, Virtual Gaming Squad, TJB, and back-to-back. That's not a great sign or a great showing of consistency out of these teams.
Yeah, just one hit wonder really coming out from these guys. This situation you want, consistency is key, even in these short-term tournaments, right? If you can keep getting points every single day, even if you don't get wins, right, it doesn't matter. Like, you can do like Stalwart 3 third places in a row, you're pretty much set in a fantastic position. So one win is not going to cut it for these guys.
Okay, we're looking up further into the list. Remember, top 5, so at the moment, Damwon Kia would be the cutoff at 129 points, get themselves into the after-party showdown with another $1 million on the line. We can see Enigma Galaxy, they're trying to make some moves. We got to see in a couple of the matches today. The first one, remember seeing them actually bomb it in over towards Damwon Kia as well. They still can be a realistic contender. I mean, Damwon Kia cannot feel safe whatsoever.
No, definitely, especially with the way that Damwon Kia is currently playing. I mean, of course, they're having that center up and hoping that it's coming to them. This game was very difficult for Damwon Kia, coming in from that southwest side and trying to traverse across the hills of Miramar. Oftentimes, doesn't provide fruit when there's so many teams in front of you. And for Damwon Kia, that was also the case here.
And you're looking at Vampire 2. Really good catch-up. You know, they were falling a little bit out of relevancy, I have the impression, these last few days. But they got in a compound, and we were talking about it a little bit in the green room. They had a compound that really kind of cut them off the rest of the lobby. They were really having not a lot of visibility, not a lot of information, and they have that huge ridge south of their compound. You can't get eliminations. So unfortunately, that game, the point they could have taken home was very limited. So they could have been a little bit higher, but that compound was not the best to do so.
Yeah.
But Max, there's still 4 games left to go before we can hop.
True. Yes.
They just scared me there. I don't know. You just make a really jerk movement there. We still have obviously 4 matches left to go, but to make these matches even happen, big shout out to STC as well, another sponsor here at G8 at the PMWI 2022 to make this possible. Now, we've been obviously talking a lot about different things you guys can win, but there's also something Maxman has eluded, unfortunately for him, for the longest of time, a free permanent legendary set if you guys participate in the Vibe and Drive event. I'm so sorry, Max. The Vibe and Drive event, which you guys can participate with your friends and complete the missions and unlock one of those sweet deals. Max, you know what? I can help you. We can do this. We got 3 on the desk. Maybe Clarus and I can carry you. I mean, Avenger, I believe, used to be a pro player, but it's kind of washed up. That's why he's a caster.
Yeah, times have changed for Avenger.
50 years ago, it was different. Yeah.
You can't see them off camera, but Seven just basically just lost himself. But ladies and gentlemen, you can see 1 minute and 17 left to go before we head into the next match. But it's going to be Sandhawks. So really quickly, Maxman, let's hear a prediction out of you of who's going to win.
I would like to see a Stalwart win. I think that RSG was a little bit mean yesterday, but I would like to see the Stalwart win. I'm sorry, okay, no curse, but kind of. Okay, whatever.
I normally pick Stalwart every game, but on Sandhawk, I'm not picking them. I don't know how that's going to go. That's a bold choice, Max.
Let's go.
Actually, no, they already told you on social media to stay away from them. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's not
This is
listening.
ridiculous.
John Allen tried to hold him back.
I don't
get
care.
more of us to hold him back as well. But the only thing is, we're not going to hold you back at home from seeing the third match, as we're about 40 seconds to kick things off. We're going to be over onto Sandhawk. RSG, they were exceptionally loud yesterday. They've been ever so quiet today. Vampire Esports looking to redeem themselves from that first, or I guess from yesterday, where they didn't have the greatest of performances. And Dan Wankia here on your screen looking to push through, secure themselves in a top 5 placing. But one way to do so is to hear the sweet voices of our commentators with Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
You know, they were talking about one-hit wonders. I want to see who's going to be the one-hit wonder here for Senna, because, yeah, they're not wrong. Back-to-back is a one-hit wonder. Team that won the first game, too. And, man, I absolutely lost it at what Jason said earlier.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good points coming out of the discus. Also a lot of terrible takes, and in general, you know, considering that the biggest achievement we've seen from Kyle Harris is him being a top contender in the Bradford Go-Kart Series of 1999. Of course, Max as well, winning the chess tournament in his local French village with just 5 participants.
What they don't know, though, is that you are a 1993, 1994 back-to-back champion for breakdancing, right, Avenger?
Of my local high school. That's exactly what Calaris is trying to push for. That's a good storyline. But we are going to be ready with Sanok. I'm super, super excited for this one here. It's going to be our last cast of the day and the 3rd game overall. After this, we'll have only 3 more games to go, which is going to be covered, of course, by our fantastic casters, John, Allen, and Blank. We are going to be going from the east towards the west, and the guys are going to be jumping out of the plane where they're going to be seeing fit. But I'm looking forward to these hot drops that we're potentially going to be seeing here. 7.
Yeah, and on the first game that we got a chance to cast today, we're talking about how these 3 games were going to be setting the tone, right? And they have definitely set a huge tone, and that is that the bottom teams are trying to move up. Yeah, they might not be able to make it to the top 5, but they are trying to move up because at the end of the day, there is a prize pool. They are trying to get a little bit more money into their pockets, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be pushing for that even more, which is going to, I feel like it's going to make it even tighter on the top 5.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And a really hot circle here that we have all the rivers in play. We don't know if we're going to go north, west, east, or south. And, of course, thank you to Sony Xperia for being our official smartphone partner here for the PMWI for 2022. And, of course, we're going to be seeing our teams jumping in. But we are in the Stalwart Reckons fight inside the Lobster here in boot camp. The question is, who's going to be winning this one?
And, I mean, yesterday, I don't remember who got a chance to win it. I think it might have been RSG, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure you'll get a chance to correct me, Avenger. But this is going to be a huge fight. I mean, this is teams that are currently in the top 5, actually 1st place and 4th place. And if I'm Team Falcons, I'm just going to be so happy that this is going on, as well as Vampire Esports. Overall, they're playing it slow. They're playing it patient. And I'm going to end up looking towards the top of the mountain. Yeah, I don't see Team Soul. Remember, Team Soul tried to surprise. I think it was Star Wars Esports, if I'm not mistaken, that actually got the win on that Sandhawk yesterday. If not, it was RSG. I can't remember which one out of the two it was that actually got the win here on the boot camp drop. But right now, I think they're learning their lessons because they are playing it a lot slower than they did yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what is going to be happening in this one here. The question is, who survived this one? Again, as you were pointing out, it is two of our top teams that is fighting in this situation here, and that is not a good situation for them, of course. The question is, who comes out on top?
It was actually RSG. RSG ended up winning this fight, and they ended up getting a 5th place and 11 Ilum. So a lot can happen to this. We do see some fights going on the horizon, but I feel like this is definitely one of the most important fights. You see RSGC trying to find a player from Star Wars Esports, and you best believe as soon as this player starts getting knocked, some of the other teams might try to pounce on it and try to third-party it. And that's exactly what Team Soul is doing. You can't really see them on your screen right now, but instead of that, they have realized what kind of circle they have, and they are currently rotating towards the south mountain of boot camp.
All right, Peter, what can you make happen here? Vaz finds TJB, as you see in our elimination feed action. Getting a bit of action here. The question is, does Star Wars try to stay inside this bigger building here, the so-called lobster, or do they just try to make something else happen? They are trying to push onto Pika, as you see here. Again, really closely knitted together as a team. Pika on the very top of this 3-story. And yeah.
I was going to say, with Pika being there, he's going to at least be able to relay a lot of information in regards to where he's hearing footsteps, so that's going to be able to help them out. But I'm currently looking at Team Soul. I was talking about the rotation that they're making it to the south of boot camp, and that rotation is fully done. They're currently going to be setting themselves up, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking forward to trying to third-party something out of this. But you know what? There is some Ilums happening, and it is 52 Esports getting some Ilums on TJB EU.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a rough situation for this one here. I really want to see the teams prioritize on getting into a good position. Maybe sometimes you can have these teams that are holding some of the bridges on the west side now that we have all the rivers of Sandhawk in play. Pika on the top, half HP. He does have a DPS though. Carlaris' favorite gun. It's the only thing he can hit anything with.
Hey. I have potato aim too, so I also try to use the shotguns, and I'm going to be honest, I even can't hit anything with the DPS, so it's kind of sad.
GC, can he make a dream happen here, or what is going on? Back to back though, they are holding a very strategical, important point in the circle here, the very dead center of this circle. Soul again, in this situation where they're peeking over and getting the information that we're getting out of boot camp, potentially could be gatekeeping either Stalwart or Reckons, whoever comes out on top for this one.
And I think this is perfect for Team Soul. Just wait it out, see what's going to happen, and see if you're going to be able to third party. And I can see that they have some players that are anchored, looking at what back-to-back is going to be doing. We have seen circles that goes to that trifecta area where the 3 rivers kind of meet. So perfect location here from Team Soul, and it comes down to who is going to make action happen here between Star Wars Esports and RSG.
Yeah, and the question is RSG going to be able to win it again? Regans with the top situation last time. Stalwart going out early, and that would be rough for Stalwart. You know, they are on top right now. They are maintaining a good spot, and if they can further that lead right now down to Falcons, down to Vampire, and Reckons themselves too, they could defend this top spot. We have some swimmers out early on in this situation. It is Damonkia that are swimming across. They're trying to get in onto the small northwestern island, the Alpha Island.
And I think Pika's kind of lucky right now because with the angle that Team Soul is doing, he's not going to get pushed. I mean, there is some of his teammates here, and as I said, actually being able to get the first knock, and he's going to get the finish. This is going to be the opening that Star Wars Esports needs. You can see Action moving into action, trying to push forward, and Team Soul is just waiting up there. You can see he's going to move up closer. Pika being at the top, if he is going to try to make a move, he needs to be careful with Team Soul. They're currently just eyeing him. They know that he's there. He needs to watch out for a third party. Here we go, Action cooking the nade. Is he going to do it? He decides to back off a little bit, waiting for his teammates to get there. He's going to try to go for it again. If they got some more nades, this might be one of the perfect nades. Oh,
cooked.
A bit too much.
All right, Pika still half HP, means no. Oh, that's some good shots now. Action with the DPS coming in, taking one down, taking Lightning down, one of the top players from Regans. And now we're just down to 2 players. What can Double D do in this situation?
Pika does make the push down. We do see some DBS. Who's going to be able to get this knock? GC is still alive. He might end up getting third party. He does end up getting third party there from Team Soul, I believe, and RSG is eliminated. Team Soul Hector and Action actually being able to get some knocks and some elims there. At least 1 point for their team.
Yeah, it's really important for Stalbot to keep on and maintain. They get the points, 3 points for this. Also managed to stay alive. This circle could go their way. We could still see a bootcamp ending in this situation here, so that is super important for them. And also, Regans could be losing some of those placements on the leaderboard. They could be going down if we have the teams that are chasing have a good game in this one. Falcons on screen. They have lost a player. You see 4 rivals in the distance, Pemberu and Jumper as well.
Yeah, and with Team Falcons, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to be doing here. They might be going for a heal-off, which is usual. Is usual to see here in Sandhawk, but it might benefit him, if I'm being honest, with the way they're currently located, with the way the circle is playing. Yeah,
exactly. And the circle is closing in. The big question is again, where are we going to end up here? There's a slightly bigger chance that we're going to go up on the Charlie Island or the southwestern one. The question is, where do we end up? I'm really hoping we're going to see, a center circle that all the islands are still going to be in play.
I was going to say, I love seeing that replay because we got a chance to see how Pika was able to just push down. And he was waiting for the right moment, and he did so. And the team with Action being able to get that first knock, being able to get that first elim, big. Just the chemistry. It goes to show the chemistry that team has. Everybody knew as soon as they got that knock, just make that push. And now, which circle are we going to end up getting here?
Oh, my God.
And it's going to be unknown. I feel like my toxic trait is going to come out. I want to see some water.
We're loving the water that is in this one for sure. Vampire already is sitting up pretty good. Still a bigger chance for it to go south, but we could see a center circle again for this one. But Vampire looking really strong for this one. They are currently trying to get back to the level that we've seen from them. They do right now have the record of most points made in just a single game. 39 points, 24 eliminations in the very first game of the tournament. And the question is, can they maybe make another good one? I don't feel like we're going to see it on Sandhawk. Sandhawk is often a situation where we see so many teams fighting out in the blue. It's very linear when we're looking at how many teams are getting elimination points. It's often very spread out across.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And I also feel like it's just so hectic. It doesn't really give you the time to engage with the team because you're going to have to worry about that third party. The map is definitely a lot smaller, which is going to allow those third parties to be a lot faster. And if you're not able to finish a team, I would say within at least a minute and a half to 2 minutes, somebody's listening out there and somebody's creating some kind of angles. We just saw it perfectly. We saw what happened with Team Soul during the fight of RSG and Star Wars Esports. They were able to get at least one elim out of that fight.
Yeah, and here on screen we have a ton and Box could potentially be fighting. But the question for me is, some of the teams that have been looting, Sami and some of these far away destinations, have they been able to get, 25 first aids and are in the circle right now? They could be getting a pretty damn good spot to set up a healing strategy. A ton looking like they want to defend this high ground and potentially try to get some of the elimination points that are sitting down in the compound that the Bucks are currently. And we see back-to-back is still gatekeeping one of the bridges. We have Morph on screen, also just in the southeastern eastern edge. And the guys from Indonesia, they're obviously trying to push themselves further up the leaderboard. Right now in 7th place, 103 points, within striking distance of the top 5. And obviously they want to try to get it and push themselves further into this situation.
Yeah, I think they might be able to. And another team that's currently being a little bit quiet is going to be Enigma Galaxy. By the way, while we're at it, complete daily missions to earn points. And once enough points are accumulated, tap on rewards icons to claim the corresponding reward.
And of course, you can participate in the event solo or with your team. And you can do both things, and you could easily get the rewards if you're playing with your teammates.
Yeah, and talking about teams, between August 4th and August 13th, all users in the region of the top 3 teams will have a chance to win a prize maximum of 1 award per user. And during that same span, between August 4th and August 13th, I'll tell you in a bit, because guess what? The M1 Kia wants to get into an action. And talking about action, I did see box gaming, knocking one of the players from Team Soul.
Yeah, exactly. They are utilizing the box formation and really trying to get into a good situation for this one. But Damwon on the high ground, they have the circle that are pushing away. Multiple of them is outside the circle currently, and that's a rough situation. We really want to see them come in. Circle is closing very shortly. We are going to see a new circle pop just very soon. And as you see on the map, they are on the top right now outside the zone. They could move in through and towards Camp Alpha and get closer to Vivo Keat Stars. But they are setting up a really good breach camp. I'm kind of hoping for this to go north. That would be a fantastic, really toxic one. That's the one you love. Yeah, I can just see it. Yes. Oh, it actually goes north. Oh, my God. Send us up on Vivo Keat Stars. Cielo, Diego, and the boys, they are going to be really happy about this one. But I want to point this out here. Action is currently 1,000 damage ahead of third place. Lightning just close by for this one, too.
And while we're looking at that, I mean, if we look at this map, look at Team Falcons. They're so far away from this, and it's going to be very, very hard for them to actually rotate into that circle. So I think they might try to go for that heal strat.
Super impressive with the eliminations as well. In their 30s, Action and Lightning is currently. And as you see on the minimap, so many teams are moving. We can see 52 with a huge macro transition from the northeast and trying to get onto the northern side of the island. Also, boats are going to be used. It's Vampire. They're trying to pick up everybody. Fluke picked up quite fastly. Schweppes is going to go across quickly, try to get some of this really, really important real estate. Now, Enigma Galaxy sees them. They could potentially get some points out of this one. Schweppes does run out. It's really far distance shots here. Again, we could be talking potentially above those 400 meters, close to it, that we currently have for the Eagle Eye reward. The 5,000 extra dollars we can have from this one. Super impressive. To be able to knock players 400 meters away is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I think Nim actually decided, you know what, let's not even take a shot. He might have been able to take a shot, but just nothing was going to come out of it, and they are going to try to take a shot on that player that is swimming. As Raouf almost getting knocked himself from Vampire Esports. They're far away, but I think they might actually want that extra 5K.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing here from Schweppes in that situation, right? You are the one checking that first transition over the end on the boats to make sure that the other guys can swim across safely. So he does protect them, shooting a little bit here towards Enigma Galaxy. Istanbul Wildcats on screen. It's Lux taking some shots towards Stalvat. Action is half HP, as you see in the distance. Also really far here with the 4XM4. He has 4 grenades. Has a lot of utility. And we see a level 3 helmet on one of the players as well. 3 vests onto Pika. 55% damage reduction rather than the 40 that the level 2 vest offers. And a little bit more durability. Top finds one of the Istanbul Wildcat players, and that's super unfortunate. We hear our colleagues from next door, the Turkish guys, go, ooh, that is not good. That could potentially mean that our top leader right now could be pushing them.
Yeah, it could be, and you can see Wildcats, though, keeping a very close eye here on what Star Wars Esports is going to be doing. Virtual Gaming Squad having 1 player knock. They are currently outside in the gas, and 52 Esports getting spotted. They are going to get knocked by blowing up the car. Gaddafi being able to get that knock. He's going to be able to secure that Ilum, I'm sure, but I think they are going to let the player that is down from BGS just... if I'm them, I'm going to say sorry. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to pick you up.
Exactly. Next circle's popping. As you see on the map here, a lot of the circles has gone west, so the mass majority of the pressure is coming in on the east. You see how many teams that is on that edge right now. Many teams are moving in. Falcons is one of them, as 7 is pointing out here to me. Virtual Gaming Squad on the northern side. Also, TJB trying to move in. Oh my God, that is the wildest northwestern shift I've seen in ages. We end up going to the North Island, the Camp Alpha Island here. Damwon Kia looking really good. Vampire looking really good, and Vivo Keat Stars are looking really good here in this next circle.
Yeah, Vampire Esports is going to be so happy with this, especially considering that Enigma Galaxy is going to be across the river, and that might be able to get some shots and also eliminate that team. Keep in mind, these are teams that are currently fighting within those top 5s. Vampire Esports is currently in 3rd place, and Enigma Galaxy is just knocking on the door of the top 5 there in 6th place. You can see back-to-back trying to find a way to bridge this. Star Wars Esports players, they need to hurry because I do see some Team Soul players coming up behind them. And remember, we saw already what Team Soul can do when they third party. They're going to be able to eliminate some people. And here you go. Top, make the push. Is back-to-back going to be able to capitalize on any of this? I do like that Molotov there from Action being able to stop him.
More utility usage. No, but they are closing off the potential peaks that he could be peeking around, right? So you're denying accessibility to go out and push that. Now smokes are being deployed to Stalwart, while we see in the elimination feed that Morph is taking a lot of hits in this situation.
And something that I saw right there, as Action decided to move up, he did let go of his healing, and he gave it to his other teammates, so I think they might actually end up going with the heal up top. Gets knocked as well. Kill Switch being able to get the knock. Pika, 13.
Last player.
That was a great play from them, but I think he wants these ilims, and that's exactly what he's going to go for right now. There you go. If you can get the extra points, just go for it. And I think at that point, he's going to decide to slow it down. And I was talking about Team Soul being able to third party. Well, guess what? Team Soul is going to do just that, and they're going to eliminate back-to-back from North America.
And that's a really interesting one, right? Because he could potentially go up and take some more of those first aids that back-to-back had. So he could get even more of those 13 first aids that he has already, potentially go all the way up to 20. The question is, how deep can he take this one here for Stalwart and Pika? Right now, Falcons on screen, Yusuf there too. Now Morph here with a potential fight against 4 rivals. Frenzy takes some shots, really good shots to get. That is a nice finish off to another point secured for Morph. Currently on 7th place, 103 points. They are one of these teams chasing. They really need these points.
Morph. I mean, wow. That was some shots right there, and I think he knows that there is going to be some other players there from 4 rivals trying to go for it. The player from 4 rivals does have 16 medkits. Can he do it? You see Hector there from Team Soul getting knocked by Atani Esports, and you saw Atani Esports also getting knocked by Enigma Galaxy. There's just going to be some absolute madness here. Vivo Kid, Team Soul X-Shot, can he actually get knocked here? Oh, I think he's the one that's currently doing the heal off for Team Soul, and he needs to be careful because Choco knows exactly where he's at. Choco's not going to be able to heal himself up, but I think X-Shot is able to get the knock there on Team... Oh, he got the knock on Choco, and that's going to be another point if he's able to confirm that for Team Soul.
VGS fighting Istanbul Wildcats currently. See Vivo Kid on screen here with Bucks fighting 2. Potentially later, they are cross side of the roads, but they're going to be advancing in this situation. Virtual Gaming Squad. Oh, that's a little bit of damage coming through. Break taking a little bit of damage on the level 3 as in that situation. The UMP in hand. Can we see some more pushes? But a lot of... I see so many solos out of the blue. I see at least 4 solos on the blue trying right now to heal. Falcons gone out in 12th place. 0 eliminations. That's going to be a rough run here for the 3rd game of the day here at PMWI in Riyadh.
That is going to be a big one for them because, I mean, Star Wars Esports already has some points. And you can see, Goblin gets eliminated there from Box Gaming. Box Gaming trying to work their way up. They are currently in 11th place, trying to make it to the top 6, and they are going to be going up against Vivo Key. These are 2 teams that are actually need this points. Vivo Key is above Box Gaming in regards to the leaderboard. Can they actually do something here? Here comes the shot. Box Gaming, trust me, being able to knock down Gremlin. Adrian, the MVP out of that squad. Can he do anything? He's going to get spotted. Oh, just barely in time, and this saves him because a lot of the other teams are looking at this fight. Can this grenade connect with anybody? And he's not going to be able to connect with anybody there. Overall, though, Cielo still alive from Vivo Kid as well. Adrian, can you get out of this alive? And he is going to be able to.
McGrellan gone down too, and this is just Vivo Kid down to Cielo and Adrian. Adrian had a Groza in hand, and now Box has to heal this off. The next circuit did go north, so VGS looking good. They're taking a fight right now with Damwon Kia. Forrest gone down really low. He's 2 or 3 HP left after that grenade. So Forrest has to try to heal this off. Virtual Game Short still 4 alive. Daffy finds Forrest with that nade. That's super important. Pika going down to play zone. That's impressive, the amount of first aids that he had.
Yeah, and with that, even though Star Wars Esports was eliminated, they did end up with at least 6 points for their elimination. So that's going to be big for them because remember, Team Falcons, the team that's currently chasing them for the 2nd place, did end up getting 0 points. Here we go, Vampire Esports. Talk about the top 3. This is a team that's also trying to chase. If they can win this game, it's going to be a massive change on the leaderboard, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking forward. Stone almost getting knocked by Vivo Cielo, and he's able to just barely get away. He needs to heal up, and he needs to be careful because Box Gaming is still behind them. Then one Kia, Omba, currently with the heal off too. So many teams currently trying out this heal off. And Virtual Gaming Squad, even though they have been a little bit quiet, guess what? They still have all their 4 players up.
Stone trying to secure more points for Vampire. That is 4 for them so far. Chilla gone down to Trismi. Box advancing, and that 7th place for Vivo Kid. Stars and 1 elimination point only gone for them. Ooh, Wildcats finds 1. Box goes down in 6th place with 5 eliminations, and now let's see what Wildcats can get out of this. Shots are coming in from Stone. Lox did not realize that it was that angle he was getting shot from.
Yeah, and Vampire Esports, as I mentioned earlier, if they can secure some extra points here too, that's going to be big, and then Kia as well.
Only 1 point for one elimination for Damwon Kia. That's huge as well in terms of the overall leaderboard. Virtual Gaming Squad looking really good in this situation here. They have 4 guys strong. They have 8 eliminations currently, and they're going up against Vampire that has 6 eliminations and only 3 players strong. Again, we have been talking about so many times they have this 4-player advantage. The question is, can Vampire Esports turn this one around here? Can the guys from Thailand make the dream happen?
And as you say that, Ravenclaw is able to get the knock right there on Yavaz from Virtual Gaming Squad, and now it's even now. Here comes the Molotovs. They're going to be trying to control where Virtual Gaming Squad players are going to go, and guess what? Another knock. Faluji being able to get the knock. He lays down. He does get knocked by Stone. Can Vampire Esports clutch this up? They currently do have the numbers. You can see Gaddafi right there, the only man standing for Virtual Gaming Squad, trying to clutch it up for them. Stone with the grenade, cooking it. Can he get it? There you go!
Vampire Esports!
Talk about a nade. Vampire Esports, our last game that we're going to be able to cast, and what a way. I cannot wait to see what the leaderboard is going to look like, because with that win, they just might have pushed a little bit closer towards that first place. Wow, what a nade.
Fantastic nade, and fantastic way for them to be turning this around. 3 players taking against a 4-player team. That is so rare we see this being able to happen here. So really great to see Vampire Esports taking a win. And that's actually our last cast so far in the main tournament.
Hey, I've been having an absolute blast. It's an absolute blast to be here with you, and I'm just happy we got to see that ending right there. This is why I love Sandhawk. Absolute madness. You don't really know who's going to be able to take it, but Vampire Esports play that so well, considering that they have 1 player less. And I feel like that first knock that they were able to get on Virtual Gaming Squad was just absolutely big.
And it's just action from start to finish here. But we are going to be going back to the desk here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the leaderboard looks here. But stay tuned. After this short break, they're going to show you everything.
Welcome back, everyone, to PMWI 2022. We've had another big win come through, this time for Vampire, as they get themselves now past that halfway point and potentially 1 step closer to getting a top 5 finish. Big shout out here to Spotify as well, one of the sponsors we have here at the show, as well as Razer, making this possible for all of us to participate in and all of us to enjoy at home or in the arena, depending on where you are. But gentlemen, as we take a look at our match rankings by STC, we're going to see a lot of teams have started to close this gap here into our top positions. RSG going out very early to Stalwart Esports could mean their demise.
I think you're looking at me, Kalash, because Stalwart didn't get himself the win. But okay, at least they did win the fight versus RSG in the early game, right?
That's important.
Virtual Gaming Squad able to get themselves some extra points there, Kalaris.
That's right. They've had a great day so far here. Wow. I think it's fair to say 20 points really pushing them up the leaderboards here. And considering that they were languishing down towards the lower positions, the same applies as back-to-back did to here VGS. Yeah. The fact that they can now push up for more money. And it's going to be, Virtual Gaming Squad mania running wild here for the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing, really running away with a good game this time around. Though Dennis Bank Wildcats and Enigma Galaxy also two very close contenders to that top 5 to qualify into the after-party showdown. These are definitely some results you don't want to overlook. So overall, it's definitely close between a lot of the top teams currently. But Vampire, they went top 5. That win is huge for them to try and climb up in that first place.
What's important about this is you have Vampire Esports, you have Damwon Kia, you have Stalwart Esports. 3 teams that were in the top 5, able to either... Well, actually, no, not to either. They are lengthening their lead against the teams like Reagan's Gaming, because Reagan's Gaming and Damwon Kia were technically tied in points, so because they have 2 chicken dinners, Damwon Kia was actually in 5th. So right now, like just the fact that, Damwon Kia, they're not doing amazing here in this match, but they're still getting points. They're still creating a bigger lead against the likes of teams trying to take away their top 5 position.
Doing enough here for Damwon Kia. Again, I think if we probably weighed up their placements to elimination points, we're probably going to see a heavy emphasis on those placement points. They are very adept at being able to secure those, be it on any battleground, I think is fair to say. But if you would indulge me for a moment, I'd like to talk about Vampire Esports, if that's good by you, Jason. Because...
I can go on break now?
No, absolutely not. Because Vampire Esports, I want to say, this is some of the best movement we have seen, I think, on any of the Sandhawks, absolutely, or maybe even any of the battlegrounds here so far as well. They were almost clairvoyant in their understanding of how they needed to move from compound to compound, even moving across water in a very difficult circle to constantly get themselves in the right place. So this was a very calculated win by Vampire Esports, and I'm extremely impressed, especially since we've heard from them directly that their focus is so much on positioning, because they did it flawlessly in this game.
Yeah. I was a little bit scared actually during that game, because the amount of space they were working with is very narrow. Like, the roads were making it very complicated to work around, so really big props to them for able to actually work in their favor and to actually get himself the win at the end of the day and get himself that grenade in particular.
Thinking back how the game started, right? We obviously had the fight at boot camp between Stalwart and Reagan's Gaming. But you had to have been scared. But to be fair as well, Damwon Kia, they just took a little swim on the northern side. We were all confused. Like, what is happening? There has to have been a boat around there.
There are boat spawns up there, a cow beyond as well. But I guess they felt like they didn't have exactly the right amount of time to be able to go up there to get them to then actually move on. But here we are, Jason.
So close.
You can see here, RSG, the cutoff in 5th place at 129 points. Nimba Galaxy at 123. I know Blank was saying, I think they were 16 points behind, able to close the gap quite a bit now, only being 6 in total. But so is Dennis Bank Wildcats. Again, we have 3 matches left to go, and there are still teams in reach of top 5, considering the way RSG are playing.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of consistency from these teams on the top right. We've seen them consistently be on the first page of these match rankings, like Dennis Bank Wildcats and Enigma Galaxy have been there pretty consistently, while RSG should have these big performance games, like these big absolute pop-off games, but then the games that they don't perform, the gap is closing every single time.
Yeah, at the start of the day, Jason, I was saying, I feel like the top 5 is solid. I feel like this isn't going to change. I think we've blown that out of the water now at this point, considering the way RSG is playing this. The other 4, right? I feel, are staying stable, but...
Yeah, that's the key, right? Is that between day 1 and day 2, Reagan's Gaming have completely shown up. But from day 2 to day 3, they're really acting like a day 1 team, unfortunately, for them. And they need to show up here right now if they want to have a chance. But so do our commentators, because the next match is getting underway here. As we do have Erringo coming up. It's match 4, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 left to go here in the main event. Of course, we have the after-party showdown kicking off next week. But here is what it's all about. $2 million on the line, $500,000 for first place. And we only have cash money for the teams, but cash money for your ears with John Allen and Blank.
I'm cash, your money, Blank. There we go. Very good. Thank you very much, Jason. We're going to be getting into the final stretch here at the PMWI. It's exciting stuff. It's very, very close at the top, Blank.
Extremely close at the top. In fact, Stalwart Esports 166, Vampire 162, Team Falcons. We love you too, dude. 150. But Time1 Kia not too far behind with 136 points. Probably one of the biggest surprises for me here. The Korean representatives, Time1 Kia, really putting on a good show yesterday. They could have gone slightly further if they were able to close out that last angle yesterday. But so far, things have been pretty good here and there. Been trying to take that center for themselves, but not quite able to translate a big win as of yet. Stalwart, on the other hand, it has been consistency all the way for themselves. And now here, going into the fourth match of the day, 166 points. But Vampire Esports, they're bringing it back.
Certainly are, especially as Kalaris was mentioning there, with some of the best rotational play that we've seen so far this tournament, to be able to read that one like a book, and a very good one at that, hopefully for them. Maybe they've been reading a little bit of Nosferatu, some of the Dracula novels, maybe.
I see what you're trying to do here. And I was about to say, that's not the greatest book in the world, but we'll take it. I have been to Whitby at least one time.
I was trying to think about books about vampires, and what?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't mention Twilight.
Oh, don't. That's what I was trying to avoid.
I'm so sorry. But these guys, they really are putting on a series. We had the trilogy, and now we're looking at that third day. We started strong with that huge 24 limb game, and it may have gone downhill just a little bit for Vampire Esports, but it looks like they do finish strong as well. But it will be up to these last three matches, because there's still quite a lot of points to be had here in the lobby as we head over to Erangel right now. Down one, USG, Rozok, nothing's changed there, with his playing path being extremely kind compared to most of the others during this kind of small tournament PMWI. I say small in terms of length, but it is huge in terms of the pride on the line here, in terms of the glory, the prize pool itself. So all of these teams really are trying to bring absolutely everything they can from the back of their arsenal.
Just scraping the bottom of the barrel there, trying to get anything they can, pop it in the pocket. Oh, look at this. Plane path was fairly kind. Georgia Paul down to Milter. A lot of places open, but the circle, a hard northern shift.
Yeah, up towards this northeast side. Now, Stalwart might struggle with this one just slightly because they're dropping over towards Nova at Neuer. We've already explained this before, but with an 18-team lobby, it's very difficult to have those secondary spots. So Stalwart's almost forced to head down towards Nova at Neuer right now. And with this eastern side on the circle as well, and them always crossing on the eastern bridge, they're going to come into contact with a fair few teams. You can also come into contact with a fair few of these teams as well, as long as you are watching together with us. So if you complete those daily missions to earn those points, once you have enough of those points and they are there, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
And participate in the event either solo, or you can team up with other players, both totally fine. And if you team up, it could be a little bit easier to get those rewards.
And you saw that little fancy graphic there on your screen there. That's for the PMWI gun skin and outfit. The sale period is from the 4th of August through to the 13th. That's 50% off PMWI packs. I repeat, that is 50% off those PMWI packs, so grab them whilst you can, because you will get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And of course, on the 14th, which is tomorrow, 14th of August, all the way until the 15th of next month, it will be 16% off those PMWI packs, and you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
Well, checking out the map at the moment, Enigma Galaxy over towards Pachinki, just about in this one. Falcons, though, over towards Morph in Yasnaya, just on that eastern side. They said they weren't going to change anything at the start of the day with a beautiful interview with Joy Boy himself, the coach of the team. And it looks like they are sticking to their guns here, but this actually presents a very good opportunity for Team Falcons. They may have slipped behind just slightly, but we saw them have fantastic results towards the end of the day yesterday. And now, with a few games to go, and again, with all the crowd cheering, that mentality is going to be there for them. I don't know how you could get down during this tournament with that kind of support. So I think Falcons can certainly bring it back. They grabbed some vehicles from down south, going to bring those back up to Yasnaya, so they have a fair bit of rotational tools in their pocket at the moment.
I've been called that before. A rotational tool.
A rotational tool?
That's right.
Okay. Does the Interstellar music come with you?
Sure. Why not? Absolutely. Certainly ages me plenty. But we're going to be getting on board at the moment with Enigma Galaxy, who last game, they didn't have a standout performance. In fact, they were caught up in that rotation from that southwestern island, but they closed the gap towards one of those top 5 spots quite significantly over RSG, a very coveted position for Enigma Galaxy to try and take a hold of. So if they can break out again this game, they might be with a chance of getting in for the after party next week.
Yeah, Enigma Galaxy now just 6 points behind RSG with 129 points, so there's definitely potential for them to ladder up here. Enigma Galaxy, I would say they're having a bit of a rough tournament. That's considering in 6th place, but that's just because I respect the team so much. I think that the guys from Iraq are doing such good work so far for themselves. I expected just a little bit more from this team, but I think 6th place right now, 123 points, bring it home in this last stretch right now, and they could definitely be seeing themselves a quick little jump up into that after party showdown.
52 and VGS trading fire right now. And it is 52 VGS, sorry, to pick up a point over on towards one of the 52 players. Nothing too dramatic though for either of these teams. They will just be heading away. Looking at where a lot of these teams are moving, Damwon here, early rotation, right? This is something we've seen, I think you were mentioning this backstage, it's something they've gone back to, right? Just being early on those rotates and getting straight in the middle.
Absolutely. On the other hand, though, it's Vivo Key directly sending into Jumpers building at the moment for Rivals. A little bit split from the rest of his team. Diego will take him down. There will be a knock downstairs from the grenade, but absolutely no response from the rest of 4 Rivals here, who are nowhere to be seen.
No, nowhere near. Unfortunate to have to take that fight in that scenario with no backup. And Jumper will have fallen for the 4 Rivals. Not ideal. VGS, they managed to get an elimination earlier on, but Aten Esports have them in their sights. One shot will fall. Gaddafi under pressure as well. Needs to be careful in the climb on this UAS, but is going very, very slowly, spinning around out in the open as Senatexa sends on in to try and get a better angle, to try and get on this chase, try and get away. It's starting to smoke now, so not a lot of HP left on it. You can see the first level 1 helmet, level 1 vest almost broken as well. Far from ideal, far from what you want to see, but it looks like Aten are going to give up the chase for now.
Very unfortunate Bruno wasn't able to hit those shots on the target, at least being the actual driver, but you know, he did hit a fair few on the UAS. It's not quite enough to actually bring the vehicle down with the explosion, so a little bit unfortunate. Goblin doing his best to slip out of the way there, crawling his way just over the lip of that hill. It's back in his vehicle, spots TJB, who have been residing in North George for some time now. They've rotated up past ruins. They will be in the path of TJB, but TJB very much aware of their location. These two teams been clashing almost every single map now, so you know, this is probably one of those points where maybe just go your separate ways.
Potentially. I mean, it depends what Seoul want to do, because you've also got those other teams that they might want to guard, but then you get behind. Yeah, it's a decision they're going to have to make in these next couple of minutes. It's going to be absolutely crucial that they make one that's going to go well for them. I mean, Seoul haven't had the best of tournaments so far, if we're honest. They haven't had a great time of things, set down in 17th at the moment with 66 points. So picking up any points, laddering up, getting a little bit more cash in pocket would be excellent news for them.
Still representing, and that's the absolutely main thing. As long as you turn up and try and get something done, that's all you can ask. I don't think Team Seoul's put the brakes on at all during this tournament. It's just been a case where there's so many regions here. And honestly, this is probably one of the most competitive lobbies I've seen in a very, very long time. You know, 18 team lobby, it doesn't always lend itself the best to a super competitive gameplay. But honestly, here, it has worked out extremely well. Yes, you know, people have been forced into certain drop spots, but all these teams are adapted fantastically to it. Regardless, you know, everyone has turned up, like I said.
Ooh, definitely spotted the player there. Got eyes on, but TJB are guarding out on the bridge in North George, trying to stop the Wildcats from moving through behind them, but they haven't had much of an impact. They haven't had much of a slowing effect. Lin not really getting the damage that they were looking for, taking out the wheel of that buggy as well. X-Ray playing around this wall, spotted by Tingsker. Gets a lick of damage in, but it's not going to be good enough as X-Ray takes that tumble. First aid on board for Tingsker's. GK first echoes that result with another knock onto X-Ray.
TJB causing such problems in the standings right now, especially for Wildcats, and with this new circle heading right up towards the northeast side. Dennisbank Wildcats in 7th place with 112 points. Today was the day where they could have potentially made it into that after-party showdown. But with so many players going down, and Lux basically having to give it up right now alongside Boran, who is taking a couple of bullets himself. You know, this is one of those situations where you have 2 more games to go, and the Wildcats have to have unbelievable results in those 2 if they want to see themselves into the after-party showdown.
It looks like TJB wants to chase this one down, potentially. Chow just trying to pick up this flush and ensure this point. And will be able to do so. Nice and simple there, but Wildcats will be getting away with 2. Lux and Boran as they head in on the western side.
Virtual Game Squad up towards Severny, their secondary spot, usually liking to drop towards Lipovka, but this time around they dropped in Severny nice and early, and it's actually worked out for them, surprisingly. Box Gaming looking up towards 52 Esports. They're just trying to make themselves a little compound to share for some time. Trying to stay away from a lot of this action. Fair few vehicles on board for these players, but don't want to get too ahead of themselves, knowing there is a fair bit of the game left to go. Scry just get knocked here by Nigma Galaxy.
Okay, and Ralph is looking to plink away, pick up that flush. Nigma Galaxy is starting okay. This is the team that we talked about earlier. Needs a good performance to jump up into those top 5. Taking on Stalwart, proving that's the way to do it.
Yeah, this is great news for Team Falcons, honestly. Obviously not the best news for Mongolia, who are looking to claim yet again another title here over in the PMWI. But for Team Falcons, this does open the gap slightly, with only 3 players on Stalwart looking to weather the storm in these final circles. Team Falcons starting up in Yasnaya might be able to find themselves a decent spot and maybe ladder up, but we know what Stalwart can do. They live and live on. They're very, very resilient as a team. Some would even call them Stalwart themselves. But honestly, this is one of their key factors. It's very, very good. It helps them in terms of that consistency where, you know, even if they get a bad start to the game, they still make it up towards that 1st through 5th placings.
Yeah. Taking a look at this, so this second circle pop, it was, I mean, it's an even further northern shift right now. But a lot of the teams have actually already made it fairly deep into this circle. They've managed to find a lot of positions. We're still 18 teams alive, Blank. We're still 66 players alive. The most players lost on a single team were the Wildcats, and they were in that engagement with TJB that we just saw. So at the moment, it's been fairly quiet in this lobby.
You've got like this little triangle slice that heads up towards Stalba, just outside of Yasnaya, right, where it's just all fields. It's very, very open, so it's slightly awkward to play in, so you're just looking for some compounds in this area. Quite flat terrain, honestly, just above Yasnaya Polyana. Obviously, there's still the fields in place, so that's a big chunk of area that just cannot be played, which is why you do see this fairly even line just across the top side. A lot of teams just looking for beneficial areas. You can see Nigma Galaxy as well as Atten, Esports taking position up towards Stalba. It's not always the best of spots because you do get circles like this, which may potentially not head up there. So you don't want to head up the mountain too early because coming down it is going to be one hell of a tumble.
Well, it does sometimes give you a little bit of control over that terrain, right? But it can be, as you say, very difficult to leave. It's not without its problems, not without its troubles.
Yeah.
Similarly, for Wildcats, with 2 players, they're going to really struggle to push past this glut of players on the western side.
Yeah, there's certainly staging in this area as well, so think of it almost like a staircase where, you know, you can play on various levels up towards Stalba. But right now, it still seems to be a decent place to be playing at the moment. I think most teams aren't trying to move out there too early. Team Falcons just hedging their bets at the moment. They don't want to take it too far into the circle, rather just, you know, hold strong on this southeast edge. Morph at the moment. This is one of the games where, you know, we dropped in over towards Yasnaya and Morph want to stay in this one as long as possible. Shows exactly what Indonesia can do. But it's USG who made a surprisingly early road save. But goodness me, the Wildcats once again harassed by TJB.
They will not let this one lie. TJB don't lose a knock either, but Seoul are on the case for a little bit of an answer now. It is traded off. Tingska will be able to get that answer out in the open, though. TJB have their player knocked. Lin needs a little bit of a rescue mission to be enacted here. Boran could prove to be a thorn in the side, but Hector gets across towards Lin's position. GK first, I don't think they're going to be able to... Hang on a minute. They did. They managed to land the shot. They managed to stop this push, and now it's all on Omega to push in and get this res onto Hector. Not only that, there's another player there as well. TJB have rallied around Lin's down position. GK First will scout this out, and in they go. The duo from the back will swing around the side. Whoa. GK First taken low, taken out as well. A spray over towards Akshat from Shao behind the rock, and GK First will crawl to safety.
Quick smoke coming through from Xiao. Very, very concerned with his teammate's safety here. Akshat off in the distance. Did get that nice off angle, but now he has to leave. And like you said, they rallied together so very well in that play. TJB able to hold strong for just a little bit longer. They have caused a lot of problems so far, taking shots at a lot of different teams. Still only 3 eliminations, but mark that up to 5 now with the rest of the knocks coming through. Boran, though, coming back into action. Takes down GK First from afar.
But they know where he is, and he's not really got too much to work with here at the moment. Boran for the Wildcats, last player surviving. Potential to go down first in this game. Representatives from Turkey struggling at the hands of the European TJB on the western edge. How much further can they go? I think that's the majority of Seoul taken out as we saw that engagement. Akshat sent a lot more centrally. You can see him on the north side there near VGS and Enigma Galaxy. Circle does go their way, though.
Heads up towards that northeastern side, but Vampire Esports actually in a very good position. And considering where they drop as well, usually down towards Primos, they've made a very good run up towards here. So, you know, this is not one of the teams that I was paying too much attention to right at the beginning. So I may have missed their rotation here. So hopefully the desk will be able to fill us in on that. But they have got very, very well situated in this circle, surprisingly to me at least. There's that replay of the car basically getting sent directly back to the manufacturer, where it'll need a couple of repairs.
Certainly think so. I mean, there's plenty of shrapnel in the bonnet. Won't run like it used to. Never will, unfortunately, Blank. But
yeah, that thing will be ready in 2035.
if you're lucky. Maybe they'll have... Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe they'll be able to patch that one up. But Enigma Galaxy are going to patch up their position against the ingress from Donuts USG. Unfortunately, Emodi takes a little bit of damage, repositioning the buggy. Doesn't go down just yet. The reload from Missile gives him some respite.
Donuts USG made an early rotate. I think they're definitely learning from their mistakes as this tournament has gone on. You know, staying in Rozhok for a little bit too long, maybe getting caught off guard. Lightning tries to pass through, and, you know, same as his namesake, they're able to do it. DD falls, but USG, goodness me.
Oh, they are going to be able to hold the second wave of that approach from RSG, but there's still pressure from the off angle. Lightning's been spotted, has got the teammate next to him. GZ is there as well. They both made it through. It's treacherous hillsides now, as GZ can turn up the hill towards Enigma Galaxy's position as they swing out to the eastern side. VGS have eyes on as well.
RSG were right underneath Stalwart down towards the south side, so they were very, very far behind, and this is a very typical RSG play. Just send it to the direct center of the circle and see what you can make do with it, but in this time, they have sent straight into the barbed wires of all these players and got cut up in the process. And that'll be RSG out. Again, with Enigma Galaxy still in the match here, this gives them great opportunity to ladder those 6 points at the beginning of the game.
Falcons taking on Stalwart. This is good news for the top of the table race right now. If you're a Falcons fan here in Saudi Arabia, Action getting taken very, very low, but does get away with it. In the meantime, Team Seoul eliminated. They will be out now, ranked 16th on the game. 15 teams remain, Blank. Oh, no
Horrific action. Yeah, out now, just top remaining. And Falcons, like we said before, they were patient. They waited for their turn in line, and now it seems that they'll be moving into the circle. And we saw what pushed out of the way. This is real opportunity to start making up those points from before.
Stalwart still have one player. They still got top, but it's on the outside there. Difficult stuff. Falcons with 4. One a limb on the cards. Back-to-back just over this ridgeline. All looking to try and push into this compound. They will certainly see this US kill switch. Needs to be on the money for this. J-Way a little bit further down. Falcons yet to make that aggressive push. They're worried about the backstep.
See the smoke drop by top. They assume it's from that final player from Stalwart. Top just dropping on the iron sights. A lot of these players do tend to feel like the iron sights gives them a better shot, even at distance. We'll have the first aid. So Falcon really not letting these teams go at all. Morph, though, also in the sightlines, and Stalwart still has to move in. And with this circle down towards the southeast, Falcon They've been thrown a bit of rope, and they're going to start clambering up it.
Try and get to the top of that cliff. I mean, at the moment, the top of the table's pretty close. They did let it slip just that little bit down in third place. They started the game 12 points behind Vampire, 16 points behind Stalwart, who have just been eliminated now. So the further Falcons can go, the higher they'll fly.
Back to back. Somehow got that chicken dinner earlier today, doing some pretty neat work, but it was Vampire Esports that came in second place against them. It was very close at that. Now, Vampire Esports need to make a move off towards that eastern side, potentially. Right now, they've got Ravenclaw out the circle. It looks like they're just setting up the barricade versus a lot of these teams. They want to clear this western side, keep it as safe as possible, and play from there. Look at this little dugout they have in the rocks. This is going to be absolutely instrumental to their endgame.
Try and leverage that. Try and get something done. Back to back, engaging with Enigma Galaxy on their north side as the push comes through from the squad. Back to back, currently holding that compound on the top of the hill. We saw them push up to it earlier. Ralph looking to potentially get that res, but the backlines of Enigma Galaxy suffering as well on this aggressive move.
Yeah, that's one player going down already. Lord on knee, Ralph on knee as well. I think that's just one player up in Hamodi now. Real tough situation. Ravenclaw. What's this man been doing all his lonesome? Been providing so much good frontal fire for the rest of the team. Vampire Esports were able to scoop up a couple of points for themselves. Here's the nade earlier that put an end to Stalwart's run here on our angle.
The judge is able to get that spray down. Spots the player in the bush. Nicely found. Vampire Esports. They are just sending bullets every which way and somehow finding their mark on pretty much everything there. Morph looking to engage. Rocky doesn't get the knock there. Back behind cover and has to push back through the smoke. GK first spotted on the off angle there for Ravenclaw. Nicely picked up. TJB thinned down yet again.
Has to drop to the floor. We'll have to just jump up and go for the quick peek. Xiao actually goes down, and that's the support from the rest of the team you're looking for. That does send Vampire Esports down to just 3 players now, but they are racking up points slowly but surely.
Box are on their north side with a little bit heavier firepower right now, a little bit more hefty as the Vampires do suffer. Down to 3. Fluketh, Stone, and Schweppes. Still a formidable squad to be dealing with, and it seems like they've turned back up, but unfortunately for them, there's a knock, and Schweppes taken low. A really beautiful spray from Break to really suppress that position. It will slow them down. A southern shift comes through.
A long nade, but not quite long enough here, and this might just give time for Vampire to resurrect one of their fallen teammates. Morph taking knocks from Falcons up top side. That's Never Alone there, who had such a good run yesterday in their 1v2 versus the Korean powerhouse of Damwon Kia over on Erangel. So far, Falcons have been controlling this circle very nicely. Circle does come down to them now, but they've been playing it slow, safe, and calculated.
Enigma Galaxy still with 3 players. They've been able to pick up the pieces on the north side, and they are clearing that area. Very nicely found. I think that was Damwon Kia who did go down to them on the north side. Falcons, though, engaged with Morph right now, all very low. But they are looking to get those heals off, and they are succeeding for the most part here. Morph staying alive in those smoke covers.
Vampire Esports will be them sending the smokes out as well. Box slowly crawling their way up.
Oh.
There's one taken down on USG from Break here. Missile just tries to send his way up, propelled by hydrogen up this mountain.
Vaz is still down in the dirt there, I believe, out in the open. Unless they did get eliminated there, I have to double check. But yeah, maybe they did get... No, 52, still there. Have their representative quite near to Box as well. Could prove problematic with that tiny little bit of cover out in the open. Vampire Esports finally able to take that Thorn out. As Missile fires down yet again over onto Break. Laid bare out in the open. Really not going to survive that. Tree not there in time. Only one player from Box now down the hill.
This is that deadly staircase I was talking about earlier. It's the staging, and Missile just took it for an absolute advantage. Enigma Galaxy, though, with 3 players still up right now and 8 eliminations. They have really gotten back into this one. Stepping back up to the plate now. Vampire Esports did a very good job to clear the western side from not the most amazing positioning considering the circle. I know it's time for them to start making this work, because honestly, after that first game, on the first day, we really expected great things out of them. And now they're starting to bring it back into form.
Donuts USG go down to a nade from Nigma Galaxy there as well, and the north side is starting to get swept. Vampire Esports will be their next obstacle if they want to push this way, but Falcons dominating the majority of this circle. A knock over onto Nigma Galaxy will slow their approach from the north side.
That's from Vampire Esports as well. We currently have 6 eliminations. Falcons currently only with 3, but they have caused so much damage in this lobby. If it was just a knock here and there, slowly but surely, they are really cementing their ground in a very formidable position on the map at the moment. Fluketh, though, with the nade. This guy was on fire on Erangel earlier on in this tournament. Now looking for a little bit more. Morph, 4 players alive.
Circle north towards Vampire Esports. A little bit more time there. Rocky did finally go down. The nade took the majority of that down red bar health away, leaving only 2 4-player squads alive. Falcon Esports and back-to-back. We've had probably some of their best results of the tournament so far today, but it might have been too little too late. Not so for the other teams.
Falcon, never alone with the MK14 in hand. That thing is absolutely brutal here in PUBG Mobile. The speed at which he can rattle off those shots is terrifying. There's Ralph. Nade up top side. Not easy hitting these nades from that kind of angle either. But they are in the trenches, and Nigma Galaxy know exactly where to send these nades in.
This utility usage absolutely on point. Polo shimmies out wide to the left. Low HP, spotted behind the smoke, will be going down if it is going to be found out. Vampire Esports are still on a frag, and they will be hunting. Morph, go down to it. We're down to just 4 teams. Plenty of casualties popping up, and Falcons, unfortunately, suffering 2 of them.
Vampire Esports just pulling out the broom and dustpan because they have absolutely swept this edge of absolutely anyone that might have even dared to have challenged them. Fluketh looking for a little bit more loot from downhill. They are really limited on meds right now. You can see Stoned absolutely nothing on board to patch himself back up with. They'll have to be sharing those meds at some point, so they will have to group back together. But Vampire Esports, they have been on a warpath.
Hamodi really taking the fight to back as well. 2 players up and standing for them, but it's only 1 player now. Just Hamodi himself with a 1 versus 1 against Kill Switch. Finds some shots underneath the vehicle. Looking for more, but spray down is there, and it's J-Way to stand up tall for back on the top of the hill. Can they get these reses and get back to 3?
Swings out wide. Vampire Esports tries to take advantage of the situation, but Falcons, they're too fast with it. They're right into the scene. Peregrines here in the battlefield.
Looking to get on that hunt. J-Way behind the buggy, taken down. 4 players for Falcons versus the Vampires.
The wings are wide span right now, and this is where they start to block out the sun. But that's 1 going down already. Stone finding it again. No meds whatsoever. This fight is one of attrition, and it absolutely is that Falcons have the betterment in terms of supplies.
And Yusef's position behind this crate as well, if it finds it onto Stoned, is great. But it looks like Stoned has the info that there is a player there. What can be leveraged from this spot as the circle moves more towards Vampire?
You can just barely see him in the grass if you're Yusef, but that's mainly because we've got the X-ray on right now, so very difficult for Yusef to even identify this. Question is, how much utility does Vampire Esports have left? And I think they've got absolutely nothing. Luckily, there was a loot crate on their side, but it's 1 apiece either side. Never alone, nade in hand. Stoned actually finds Yusef, and he can't quite hit the shots. That takes him down to 2. Vampire Esports are making this happen.
10 eliminations up to 11 as Never Alone gets tagged. In they go with the push. Fluketh up to the feet as well. Never Alone knocked. It's all down to Powerful for Falcons, but the Vampires running up the hill will be able to take it down. It's Vampire Esports with a chicken dinner. What a resurgence from this team.
With absolutely nothing in the back pockets, in the backpack whatsoever. They just make this happen. Real bushcraft training for the Vampire Esports team. Goodness me, look at that. Hanging their heads with Fluketh. You just cannot imagine how they're feeling right now. 1 of relief. It is a great situation for this team. And realistically, taking that momentum into the next 2 matches, you're going to be feeling good.
Absolutely. I mean, it is such a close race at the top right now, which is brilliant to see this late in the day. But the fact that they were both there means that that race is still going to be close, right? It's still going to be really, really tight. Not only that, Enigma Galaxy with a good, solid performance in that game, earning a lot of points. RSG going down early means that that 5th place is in jeopardy. It would be a great result for Enigma Galaxy to pick that one up.
100%. There is a shake-up at the top at the moment, and realistically, teams are flying every which place and then coming back into the shaker itself. I just don't know who is going to come out on top at the moment. It is so volatile.
No, it is absolutely all to play for here with 2 games remaining. We're going to head back over to the desk, and you will not believe what they have to say.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي أنا ملخصها في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده أنا هرشه كل المجال حبايبي. بروز
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع القي نظرة لو على الحلاوة عندي كاستر والاسم
عفرت يا عفرت هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الأول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الأول.
لا مش مسجل.
اخواتي عشان فاهمين السين سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الأقوى راب مصري اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
If you want to play like the pros, make sure you guys are checking out the Sony Xperia 1.4 or 4.1, 4.4. Either of them are all great, as it's been made in collaboration with professional players, and it is a smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile. Keep in mind, actually, the players you see on the stage are doing just that. Max, no! Get off that! See, we have to worry. This guy's trying to steal these phones. We have to actually have security on the other side of these cameras looking at him, telling him you're not allowed to touch
there.
those.
Yeah, I see them.
They're over there. Ladies and gentlemen, Vampire Esports, the first back-to-back chicken dinner we've had. The team from Thailand, we were definitely worried after during day 2, considering they couldn't replicate the performance from day 1. But Sertani and co, they've been able to, I think, take first place away.
Yeah, I think we can agree, Kalash. This circle was horrendous.
Yes.
It was not easy to deal with, but they got some like those plateaus around Star where you can play from, and Vampire really were clearing a lot of the Western teams trying to enter from that position, so that's why you see such high eliminations this game coming their way. Is that plateau and cleared out like 3 squads in very, very easy fashion.
I think they're feeling the flow here as we take a look at the match rankings brought to you by STC, of course, with 28 points going their way after the previous game. I said it in the previous game, I think they were almost clairvoyant in where they had to go from circle to circle. However, this one as well, this was a test, a proper test, a Stalber ending up on the side of this mountain as well, and they played it phenomenally. I'm very, very impressed by what we're seeing from Vampire.
Gentlemen, that victory right there for Vampire Esports was a $200,000 victory. Second place is $325,000. First place, $520. Well, I guess it's technically take away the 25. $200,000 nonetheless. They are currently in first place, but not only them. You have Team Falcons now chasing Stalwart Esports. You have Enigma Galaxy, who should have surpassed Reagan's Gaming. Reagan's Gaming should be out of top 5.
Yeah.
That is not good for that team coming in from China. But you have other Team Donuts as well trying to make a last-ditch effort, a resurgence here.
I would say an 11-pointer game is not going to be enough for Donuts. Like, they fell off way too much yesterday, so 11 points. We need to see top 3s coming out from this team.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And likewise for teams like TJB, etc., and things like that. 9 eliminations going their way given these circles. Not too bad at all, but again, a little bit too little, too late for these kinds of moments if you're wanting to be aiming for the very, very top.
All right, well, go ahead, Max.
No, I was going to say Nigma Galaxy, though, like their push from, like, they were one of the bottom teams after day one. Like, their push into top 5 is absolutely insane. So they get a few more games like this. Like, After Party Showdown, it's in the pocket for them.
Yeah, and it's going to be extremely fun. If you guys haven't checked out how the format will work, well, obviously you're going to find out in less than a week's time, but it's going to be all about certain achievements you are able to pull off within the actual match. But also, let's be fair, back-to-back. Another team that didn't have a good first 2 days. They got chicken dinner earlier on, another 16 points. They're moving up the leaderboards. Realistically, top 5 should be what, Max?
Top 5.
I know you don't like to say this word, but...
Impossible.
Yeah. But they can still win a ton of extra money and, more importantly, get a lot of extra experience. We need to keep in mind, yes, they have been a team who have lived up to their name, won back-to-back over in PMPL NA, but right now, if they want to compete on a global scale in PMGC, they need to improve. But one team who has improved from yesterday is going to be Vampire Esports. Let's take a look at how they've done today up against how they did in day one, just to kind of see if they're rising up towards what they've done before. And actually, they're kind of surpassing it in damage alone.
And let's see, too, like, their fights are very...
Sorry, other way around. My bad. I misread. No, I was right. Yeah, day 3, day 1. Day 3 on the left side, day 1 on the right side.
Yeah, it was going to be hard to surpass average eliminations from day 1, but they're almost there. The fact that they have actually found themselves... Obviously, we had that first game with the 24-point eliminations, etc., and things like that, but these last 2 games especially, absolutely blasting here for Vampire, and very, very respectable indeed.
Yeah, I think especially Mike has been really doing so much for the team, like finding the off angles, closing off some really strong positions in those end game circles. Like, I think Mike is my personal MVP for this team at least, and he's been doing a lot to get success for the team.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, keep in mind, right, there's still a race to MVP. We know Action was leading, Lightning was behind him.
He could be catching up now.
He's going down, so there's a chance.
You know what? Maybe we actually take a look in that, look into that a little bit later on. But I think what's interesting, right, is this kind of shows, though, like Vampire have been so consistent today. Day 1, if we look back on it, if we really think about it, they weren't amazing. Like, they were amazing. They were consistent through all their matches, right? They had a really big match that set them up nicely. I think that was 39 points. And then they got around like 20-ish points or 20 to 30 points the rest of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they got like a second place later on.
Yeah, that's all right. Performances towards the end,
Yeah. But it's great to see this team is able to replicate that performance, because we did have questions in day 2 if this was just a flash in the pan for them.
Yeah, I think like there's a lot of teams on the first day struggling to have a good first performance. Like, oh, we can afford a break day, like a little vacation, and they just chilled with the boys. Second day was chill.
Again, when it comes to playing for position, sometimes you get days where you can't find that position. You can't find your next checkpoint on where you want to go for the next circle, etc. The last 2 games, they've been able to constantly find them. And as I say, I think that they're really forward-thinking in these games.
Especially on bad circles, right?
And it converts. It converts into extra eliminations as you move from these checkpoints. Think about that first, elimination second, the eliminations come to them.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you get in like a very good position, especially when you have like this many more players in the lobby, 8 more players than your usual lobby, you can turn it out in like an absolute elimination fest, and that's been working out really heavily in favor of the team.
Well, we've been talking about, the nice research out of Vampire from day 1 to day 3, but what about the fall from Reagan's Gaming? Let's actually take a look at how they've done today against yesterday. I mean, this team was out of the top page, and they have not really been able to catch up here. Average damage a game at 428. I mean, the thing is, realistically, these numbers will make sense just because they've been knocked out almost every match so early.
I mean, that's a full from grace right now, having that 8, almost like above 8 average elimination per game, and now just above 1. I mean, I think the race for first place for RSG maybe is over the top. They can still make it into a very good position, get some extra prize pool. Like, RSG can make it up there, but first place, I think they are slowly but surely falling out of relevancy.
They've bled out in a lot of these games. It's like we've seen them lose 1 or 2 early, and then from there... from there, how do you actually recover from that situation? You're constantly going to be hounded. If anybody gets a whiff of the fact that you are not fought alive in, say, a compound, for example, they'll push hard onto that because they know that you don't have the manpower capability of being able to shut them down. So once those early deaths happen here, one of those early eliminations happen, it's difficult to recover.
And the main issue is that we see them like get those 0-point games, right? And you're seeing like your Enigma Galaxies, you're seeing your Stalwart continuously getting those points in. Like they are not only not winning any points, they're falling behind the competition at a pretty steady pace. So they need to get themselves back in action here on these last 2 games.
Yeah, and gentlemen, we've been talking obviously about the overall rankings. We're going to look at in a second. Not after, well, after I actually give a thank you to MasterCard and Saudi Bank as well for being supporters and sponsors here of this event, making G8 happen for all of us around there. Not only in PUBG Mobile, but of course the other titles we've had in the previous weeks. But we can see here 2 minutes and 50 seconds left until we get into the next match, our 5th match, 2 left to go. But let's tune in with the overall standings one more time today. And look at this lead, 21 points, and Stalwart have fallen from 1st to 3rd.
Okay, so if Vampire get another good game, I think it's safe to assume that 1st place is pretty much almost locked down. So you need to see a big comeback from Falcons or Stalwart. Otherwise, 1st place is pretty much could be decided now.
But that's the exciting thing about it, is that we know that Falcons and Stalwart can make up the distance, which is very awesome to see. But the fact that they have 100 eliminations off the back of also being themselves proclaiming that they are a position first team, that's extreme and kind of scary.
Yeah, exactly. It just comes, like, the eliminations come on their own. If you have a strong position in a lobby with 18 teams, they just keep getting in that spot, the eliminations come on their own.
But Jason, RSG out of top 5, that's a huge blow to them.
It is a massive blow, and the thing is, it makes it maybe realistic for teams like Morph. I mean, Damwon Kia, yes, they are 10 points ahead of RSG, and they're 15 plus 9, 24 points ahead of Morph. There is a very realistic chance that they could be caught on. But then again, I feel like maybe at this point, Damwon Kia are just like, let's just play for top 5. Let's play safe. Let's not do anything too crazy.
Did you like
what I did just done that? Yeah, what?
I got Jason to do a little bit of analysis.
There you go. I mean, I can do a little bit of analysis. Just every once in a while I can do it. But gentlemen, I mean, we have 2 matches left, right? I mean, Denzi Bank Wildcats, they technically have a chance to get there as well. But things are getting hyped. Things are getting interesting. I'm not sure if you just heard all the teams screaming, but we have a minute left to go here, so we got to bring our commentators in so we can finally get into our 5th match. I cannot believe we're only 2 matches left until we have our winner, PMWI, and the $500,000. And also finding out what teams will be playing in the After Party Showdown, which is going to be hype as hell, coming up next week, starting on Thursday at the exact same time we've been starting throughout these last 3 days. But John on Blank, why don't you take us into our penultimate match of the day and the event?
Ooh, and the event, Blank. It's all coming down to the wire. It's so close at the top. You love to see these little leapfrogs happening. It's all to play for.
Yeah, he doubled up there right at the end, but we are heading right over into Miramar right now. And this is where we're going to see the playing path. You can't see it yet, so I'm not going to spoil it for any of you, because unlike yesterday, today is a special day where we will be finding out exactly who's going to take that 1st place prize home, as well as the top 5 who will go through to the After Party Showdown, you know, sharing some spots with some very prolific teams. Vampire Esports, though, 190 points, like the guys said. That is a very, very big lead, 21 points above Team Falcons. And I think one important thing that Des was talking about was that, you know, Team Falcons, Stalwart Esports, both these teams have the ability to catch Vampire Esports up at that 190 point mark.
Yeah, it's still a closable gap, right? It's still very much something that can change on a dime. Plane path starting to come through on Miramar, as Jason said, the penultimate match of the day. The plane path from Valle de Mar all the way up to El Azahar. That rhymes. That's nice. I like it.
Yeah, you like that a lot. What I like a lot is when we get this PMWI watch together, so you can complete those daily missions to earn points. And once enough points are accumulated, tap the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in the event solo or team up with other players. Both is totally fine. And of course, if you team up, it could be a little bit easier to get those rewards.
And just before we head right into game proper, there is a PMWI gunskin and outfit, and that sale period is from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August as well. 50% off PMWI packs, and you get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And from tomorrow, the 14th of August, until the 15th of September, so next month, there will be 16% off PMWI packs, where you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And as we head into our final games of the day, we cannot forget the PMWI Champion Celebration from the 4th of August through to the 13th, all used in the region of the top 3 teams. Obviously, you know exactly who they are right now. We'll have the chance to win a prize, and it's a maximum of 1 award per user. So that includes Saudi Arabia, as well as Mongolia, and also right at the top, Thailand.
Yeah, looking to try and pop those rewards into those regions with a maximum of 1 per user. And of course, not only can you get rewards that way, but if you're contributing towards our peak concurrent viewers, if we reach 100 million live viewers watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate with a maximum of 1 award per user.
And you want to do that? You want to head into the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together event every day from the 11th of August for more information. Now, heading right into it, Seoul already losing 1 player right off the bat. It's Box Gaming here in Picardo, and these 2 teams are at it again. They just will not let up. Bensu hits the floor. Goblin also will take a tumble. It's back and forth here, John.
1 for 1 right now, but another knock found swiftly over onto Hector. It's looking Box right now. Team Seoul with 2 players, both close to each other, but their teammates are getting flushed out. Not so for the Box Gaming squad. Akshat and Omega, last 2 standing now. It looks like they are going to get these reses for Box as well.
So 2v2, unfortunately, the 2 players from Seoul have been knocked and also eliminated. So no chance of getting those 2 guys back up again. But Box will be able to get up to a full squad. Nice little split from these 2 teams to make this one happen. Vampire Esports over towards Minas Generales at the moment, just to the north of Morph. Morph with kind of a chance, I'll say kind of a chance of making it to that top 5. It is Omega who's trying to do the do-si-do with these 2 players. Can't quite make it happen.
Giving them the fancy feet, finds 1, gets the reload, but goes to the weapon. Swap in a second, it's Omega for Team Seoul, finds 2 on Box, and Akshat now with a chance to get some healing done as well. They are going to try and take the fight to Box and Trisme.
I take it back with a pirouette and a waltz there. It will be a quick comeback from Team Seoul there. Beautiful stuff. And this will see them up to a 2v2 in a scenario that we did not expect to happen. Now, Trisme, nade in hand, has a pretty good idea of where these players are, but Akshat immediately moves out the way. Wiser in this situation.
Picardo right now bathed in bullets. Casings everywhere, blankets, gone back and forth. Losing 2 players early. When you're in this central position, really far from ideal for both of these teams. It's not what you want to see, especially if you're looking to just try and put as many points on the board as you can. Try and ladder up to those higher earning placements on the overall tables.
Extremely important. Just getting those points right now, every little bit counts, especially if you're trying to hold on to those top 5 spots currently claimed by Vampire, Stalwart, Falcons, Damwon Kia, as well as Enigma Galaxy, who are all set right now to make it into the after-party showdown. There will be an extra $1 million on the line, including the $2 million from the PMWI event itself. So lots of money to be had here in the PMWI, as well as the after-party showdown, which will be a little bit more fun. We got a load of prizes there, but you'll find out more about that on Thursday. I'm sure Jason Kaplan will be very happy to fill you in on all the details when it comes to them. But right now, it's all about these final moments of the PMWI. So many regions facing off.
For Glory to try and claim that top spot at the moment. It's the Thai team on the top. Vampire Esports, who started off the tournament marvelously strong. The 24 elimination game. As James said on the desk, we didn't think they were going to be able to get back up to that average, that day 1 average eliminations, but they've nearly done it so far today. Another good performance would tip them over that edge and plunge them into the precipice of success, which is not a metaphor used often, but I feel it fits here.
That's fair enough. Well, I mean, you know, it was very much the night on day 1 The sun apparently came up day 2 and Vampire withered away, but as nightfall once again, here in day 3, it's time for Vampires to reign supreme. See exactly what they can get done, but you know, there is still those 2 games and 21 points. It may put you just ahead of teams, but at this point in the tournament is miles ahead and can look quite daunting. But Falcons and Stalwart, we know these are 2 teams. Daunting is just another word in the vocabulary to them. They'll make it happen regardless or not.
Not too many teams outside of Picardo struggling right now. Fairly disparate in positioning. No one really clashing just yet. But RSG, TJB, Vivo Keyed from the north side, all starting to eke their way more central. You can see Morph there as well on your screens on the right-hand side, on the north end of Los Leones, potentially looking for a central position as well.
Morph having, you know, a slow comeback from day 1 and making it onto the first page of the leaderboard today is actually somewhat of an achievement in my opinion. You know, starting day 1 in a firm 18th place, start crawling their way back up to here. Just talking to the coach of that team, and you know, it's an 18-hour flight, so I mean, I was only on a 6-hour flight, and that was rough to say the least. But
it got delayed.
It did get delayed. That is correct. But regardless, you know, to come here, compete the highest level, that's what you got to do as a player. And really, Morph has made it happen. And you've got to be proud of the Indonesian team, especially if you are part of their region. Be able to crawl back up, climb back up at this point, you know, with the head held high. Again, though, there is still a chance for Sim to get into top 5. And that's what we love about the PMWI, is that right now it is so scary for a lot of these teams at the top, because at any moment you can be shunted out of the top 5.
I mean, the gap between 1st and 5th right now is fairly significant, sitting at 54, I believe, between the two, if my maths is correct. As they say, never do maths live on air. But that gap, whilst it seems daunting right now, it just requires the team at the top, currently Vampire Esports, to have a bad game, and that gap can close very quickly if you're one of those teams that can have a very, very good game, as all of these top 5 teams are. But the gap between 5th and 6th place, it's so much closer. The laddering up between 3rd and pretty much 7th is really still all to play for.
Look at the maps, new circle coming your way very, very shortly. Right now, Stalwart up towards San Martin. Action still claiming the top spot with 35 eliminations. But check that out. Stoned actually made his way onto this leaderboard again with 31 eliminations. And we thought Lightning got onto that page very, very quickly. But it looks like Stoned is very hesitant to let that disappear. And with the back-to-back chicken dinners also just behind Action in terms of damage, you know, that could be a shake-up towards the MVP list, to be honest with you, let alone just Vampire Esports' current point totals. Circle heads over towards the eastern side, towards La Bandita. We've seen this circle previously in the tournament before. Very rough to play. Graveyard may as well be a literal term for the position on the map, considering there is very, very barren, and that is where so many people do get buried on this map, because it's just very, very difficult to get through that small little funnel. There's so many teams come into that area, they crunch together, end up fighting one another. So a lot of these teams just looking for a good position on the map, and there's still opportunity for this to be an urban ending down towards Los Leones.
Absolutely. On a couple of hard shifts, absolutely, it would prove to be pretty tricky. Could also be an urban ending in Picardo, which is still very much in the zone, right? So we've got a lot of different potential opportunities. You talked about Graveyard being a literal term at the moment. Falcons sat in that area, right? Do you think they're going to be able to make it out of this? They have a lot of time to play with, but if they don't take that opportunity, potentially could prove troublesome.
It's the question of where this next circle goes, right? If we get really packed into that area, then yeah, things start to get a little bit more difficult for Falcons. But right now, they're using high ground to their advantage. As you can see right there, as I say it, there's your snipe down. Beautiful headshot comes through to take the knock. So, you know, this is the high ground advantage you get to play on this little ridge line. But yeah, later on in the game, if we head up here, then it becomes tough. Goodness me, see how just sending it back. Killswitch has to duck back out of the window, lest he lose his head.
A couple of headshots found there. You can see the level 2 helmet took a lot of damage. Level 3 vest, though, so luckily those weren't body shots. Otherwise, that would have damaged that lovely, pristine 3-tick vest. You love to see those. Fortunately, Daku not so lucky. Only the one.
Just needs to plant his feet on the ceiling, apparently, and have his head out of view underneath the window and his vest on show. That's going to keep him very, very safe.
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, on the
yeah. If gravity didn't exist, of course.
Yeah, in a gravityless vacuum, then yeah, absolutely. Assuming he's a point.
Oh, look at that. FLC for the Falcons. Goodness me. The turnout has been absolutely incredible, John. You love to see it. Falcons on screen right now, giving them some love. Oh, dear me. Damar, don't do that. That's very mean to you, fellow player. Virtual Gaming Squad taking some knocks over from Aton Esports. They're down towards the southeast side, trying to make their way through Los Leones, but it's the Wildcats who really hold a very good position up towards the north side of Los Leones to hold out both Aton as well as Virtual Gaming Squad and hopefully pick up a couple of points here.
The crowd happy with their performance there, as they should be. Next circle soon to come on
to everyone else.
Yeah. Well done us. Well done us.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Enigma Galaxy slow, well, maybe not slow, but they are last to come in from the blue on that western side right now. Next circle just about to pop. We were talking about where those hard shifts could fall, how problematic that could be depending on where it goes. And it's north. Picardo on the south side of it, that graveyard position on the east.
So for Stalwart, this is actually fairly decent. Picardo still in the picture, and with both those teams that originally dropped in Picardo and Box as well as Seoul, you know, these two teams, they are not looking too healthy coming into these circles towards the end. So it does mean that Picardo can be taken up residence by another team should they want to drop into here nice and quick. And, you know, Damwon here, we've known them for flying into circles. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Looks like they're heading towards the foothills of Picardo, towards that northern side. Damar tries to get across. Naoto taking some pot shots with the Mini 14, but this guy, he's got the moves in the vehicle. He's going to do a full flip over the top. Can he land it? Doesn't need to. Drops out, bends the knees. That's suspension.
You're right. That is suspension. Goodness me. Bouncy knees. Do you think? He popped a tiny little bend in the knee.
Yeah.
Kept it in. Springs for thighs, that's what they call him. Damn. Goodness me. Lasers for eyes, though. As they do sit now, one of the players from Vivo keyed up the hill.
That is the second headshot of the game coming through from Never Alone. Goodness me. Okay. Give this guy a sniper and give him some clear skies, and he'll find as many players as you need here. Falcons are...
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Falcons here to take names and heads, apparently.
RSG in a little bit of a scuffle. Not too much right now, but there's a team just in front of them that they're going to have to be worried about. Morph, I believe, that's just over the hill. As we get a little replay as Damar sends it on up and over. We're getting the suspended knees there. Stays alive. Very, very good. But back-to-back, engaging with Enigma Galaxy and not having the best of time of it right now. Enigma Galaxy have been absolutely on a tear today so far, Blank. Their day one performance would not have led us to believe that this is the same team.
Well, does go low, but back-to-back, taking a fair amount of shots from Freak here. With the M4, that vehicle is not going any longer there. They'll have to take it on foot now, but still there are shots ringing out towards them.
52 slinking their way across the hillsides. RSG trying to have some oversight. But the ridgeline has been spotted. Vaz under pressure from Lightning, one of our MVP candidates, and taking out the vehicle. That's going to do the job. Boom goes the dynamite. Vaz takes a knee.
Very good tracking on this player, honestly, and he's going to go for another here.
Ooh, Lightning takes a lot of damage, but they get a second knock on these vehicles. I don't know what's going on, but 52 Esports lose 2 out in the open.
Daku here looks at the buggy and just doesn't know whether it's his savior. Or in this case, it is a curse. Every single vehicle that 52 Esports has sent through, RSG have torn apart. Honestly, it is just not looking good for them. Next circle pops down towards Picardo. More on the roadside, but it's Virtual Gaming Squad dropping in on down one Kia. They look like they didn't expect this, but Yafos is already down. Junie, nade in hand.
On that forefront, trying to get a little angle there and be able to get a flush onto Yafos. VGS not having the greatest time. Never alone up in the elimination feed again, by the way. This guy's a madman with this sniper, looking for the eagle eye prize there, but seeing what they can get done in terms of eliminations first. Down one Gaming, they've got Team Soul. Remember, they are down to 2 from earlier engagements on their south side. Box similarly hampered. They are down to 1 now as 52 finally get eliminated. Down one Kia not looking to go for this full push just yet.
I don't need to go for it. They are all the way on this southwest edge. Sung does get knocked by Team Soul, or at least the remnants of them, over towards Picardo. Looks like Akshat does have eyes on from that area.
Sung should be resable though. They should be able to get that one back up, hopefully so. Stalwart under fire, action close to Vivo Keed. He took a knock earlier from the barrel of Never Alone. But now they're engaged with one of our top fraggers in the tournament, Action, trying to get some intel. Pika swings out wide. Might be able to get this player on the wall. Looking for that engagement. Action looks good, and there's the 1-2 punch from Stalwart. Nice coordination coming through on that aggression. The oversight from Adrian, not going to happen there. Not going to work for them. Diego takes a lot of damage from Pika. This is coordination from Stalwart. This is why they are one of the top teams in this tournament.
Really well done so far. Vivo Keed not even able to put a dent into them. Stalwart is holding it down up towards that San Martin. Move down just a little bit along the ridge side to the power grid. And on to the east, taking up residence inside this compound. Very difficult to see out, and there's a lot of different angles that Stalwart can take from this area. It just gives them time to, you know, keep a little bit of a timer on this for themselves. They can start to make their move later. It's what they usually do. Right now, this is just an area to keep it calm. Falcon, though, double nade from Powerful onto USG. It looks like Team Falcons, they are not done yet.
No, they are just going to keep on going. 2 elimination points now found. Although that's probably not the story that you tell having watched this game. It feels like they've had much more of an impact so far. RSG with the highest elimination count at the moment, bar Team Soul, who have had 4, but RSG, all 4 of them alive as well. Vivo Keed. Okay, I thought they were a little bit suffering here, but it seems like Stalwart have had a taste of their own medicine. Adrian from the top rope sends it in. Splashdown.
Oh my day. Circle.
Wow.
On top of Falcons now. This is a really big chance for them, but there is another team inside of this circle just to the east of them. It is Vampire Esports looking to sweep the eastern side, but they take a knock. Never Alone introducing the world to air conditioning, 1 hole in a head at a time.
Goodness me, that man is absolutely insane with this M24. Do not want to get in his sight lines. And on Miramar, it's the perfect place to do it, right? A lot of open ground.
I am in disbelief. I don't think I've seen this many headshots with a sniper ever. Now Wildcats are coming in. Take down a player from Vampire Esports. These guys are now just down to 2 players. This really opens things up now for Falcon. Vampire Esports, they need to look for themselves for an end game finish. A top 5, top 4 would be ideal. This is where they need to see themselves at. But with 2 players, it's a question of how long can they live here. 15 teams alive, 20 minutes. It's only going to get harder for a lot of these teams.
At the start of the game, they had 21-point buffer to play with, right, Blank? So Vampire Esports, they need consistency right now. 10 points a game should be enough to see them through, barring Team Falcons popping off, barring Stalwart having absolutely stonker of a game, but it's still very much up for grabs. This team, Enigma Galaxy and Down One Gaming close by. The nade bobbles around, it comes back. How on earth do you manage that?
I don't know how he lives through that one, but somehow he does. Vampire Esports taken down to just one player now. Lord trying to send some nades over the top. Unfortunately, Morph is now out in 13th place. That climb is ended here. The Wildcats still going, though. Just with Boran. I was talking to the Turkish casters earlier. Sinan telling me that, you know, Boran on those final days, in those final matches, that's where he really starts to pop off.
Enigma Galaxy take a knock over towards Ralph. And Lord as well, jousting up the hill. TJB entering the fray. A three-way fight right now over on the western edge. Lin spotted. Yeah, you're not going to win that one. Lord able to do the work. Enigma Galaxy play up that hill, take down TJB, and now they can focus their aggression over towards Damwon. But they have taken a lot of damage in the meantime, and Damwon Kia are not going to let it slide.
Continuing to hold them back. They're right outside the blue, but the blue is doing the majority of the work. Great Molotovs from Damwon Kia will take out the remainder of the players, taking them to 5 eliminations here. Great stuff here from Damwon Kia.
Enigma Galaxy go down, and Damwon Kia, great news for them as well, because they can start to challenge for those top spots. RGS, Regan's Gaming at the moment suffering. If they go down here, they might lose out on their chance to push back into the top 5.
Boran is just not letting up for the Wildcats. 3 players still in this. Schweppes all in his lonesome for Vampire Esports. He is starting to ladder up, though. 7 teams remain, 17 players still in this. Falcons head-to-head here with Stalwarts. Unfortunately, it's Stalwart with Damwon Kia, sorry, coming in from the behind.
The nades will find their way in towards Store. I have no doubt. Cielo for Vivo Keed could prove to be a little tricksy if he so chooses, but finding the time might be a better answer. A double nade comes through. Damar able to open things up, but in the meantime, Damwon Kia have descended away from this engagement. They know this next circle is better for them if they can get there.
Another nade comes over the top, takes down the 2 players that were knocked there. Now Falcons, they're looking to take themselves somewhere safer. They dealt with Vivo Keed. They've sent Stalwart packing. And now it's time to head on over the road. This is where it gets difficult, but Powerful's already made his way across, but there's still 1 player remaining from Vivo Keed. It's Cielo.
And that's what we're talking about. Could be tricksy. Vivo Keed still in the fight. 7 teams remain with Vampire Esports on #1 spot right now, also with a lone survivor. How far can Team Falcons push to try and catch up to that gap? 3 players remain. Wildcats with 3. Damwon Kia suffering. 2 players down. Only the 1 just Junie up, and that's not long for this one. Damwon Kia eliminated. 4 teams remain now. Stalwart, Falcons, Vampire, all still in this.
Damwon Kia crash and burn on the side of the road. So a nice couple of shots coming through from top. You can never count this guy out from Stalwart. Falcons, though, they did make their way across. Now the Wildcats. It's here, the Turkish team looking to make up some of the points right at the final hurdle.
20 points right now sat behind the leaders. Falcons, they're going to need, well, if they get a chicken dinner, they'll be able to get 15 points from that. So they need 5 more points to draw level. And at the moment, there's not that much in the lobby. So Falcons right now cannot jump up and challenge for the first spot, but they can put themselves right at the door of victory for the final game if they take this one home.
Can definitely go neck and neck, but ooh, top here taking bullets from Wildcats. He really just wants to ruin the days of Falcons at the moment. He wants to be the one and his team just behind Vampire Esports, and it is just neck and neck between these 3 teams right now, but Top's find himself a safe position at the moment.
Wildcats, I mean, we haven't talked about them a whole lot, but there is a possibility that they could jump up towards that top 5 position with Stalwart going down. If they can take out Falcons, they could potentially be booking themselves an invite towards that after party next week as well.
They've got the tickets in the basket. Now it's time to go to the checkout. Well, that won't come till their angle. We'll see if they can get there first. Yusuf, though, just crouched down, waiting, biding his time. Circle, dead center. Neither of these teams want to make the first move. Never Alone has been absolutely unbelievable this match. 4 headshots so far with the sniper in hand. Powerful drops a nade over.
If you can get that opening, oh, that's perfect. Boran goes down. He was their point man as well. If Never Alone can find a snipe, it's going to bring them into a 1 versus 3, but they push in instead. Rifles in hand. UMP to lead the charge. M4 to back it up. Powerful. Sprays down Defoe, and the Falcons ride strong across the top. They want this so badly here in Riyadh that they are going to push all the way back towards Lux. 1 versus 3. The Falcons challenging for these top spots. They want to take this one home, and they will do so. A chicken dinner in the penultimate game. 27 points on the game.
This is going to send them sky high over towards those leaderboards. What a fantastic way to finish their Miramar as well. Wonderful stuff from the Falcons. This is going to be exactly what they needed to get into that top spot, like you said, John. Honestly, where we're at right now is going to be one of those positions where Vampire Esports are really going to have to try so hard to get just past Falcons, who are staying neck and neck with them.
And do not count Stalwart out just yet as well, Blank. They were in that game in 3rd place, right?
Yeah.
They came all the way in late, and that was phenomenal for them to be able to jump on up.
Yeah, I just cannot believe what we're seeing here today, because one more game left right now. I just don't believe that there are 2 teams at the top that are just so neck and neck at the moment. I can't wait to see how our angle turns out.
And the race for the top 5 as well. It is all heating up, and it is right to the last game. Do not go anywhere. We'll go to a short break. We'll be back soon with the desk.
Greatness is in an instinct. A mind sharpened with attuned senses. Awakened by what we're known for. But legacies are meant to be left behind. Why play to your limits when you can break them? Hear only victory. Forget what you know. Unleash what's next.
Welcome back, everyone, to PMWI 2022. We did get to see Falcons take home a victory and get themselves one step closer to that $500,000 prize. And well, speaking of prizes, you guys at home still have prizes you can win by changing your profile picture when it comes to your social media platforms to the team you are supporting, and making sure to comment over on the official social media channels. Make sure you guys check that out. Also, make sure to check out Savvy Gaming Group, as they've been able to help support and put this event on for us. So a big thank you to them to make sure that we can make this possible for all the players, for all the talent, and of course for all of you viewers over at home. But ladies and gentlemen, let's actually jump into our STC match rankings to see how many points Falcons did get, and then obviously get eventually into the point of seeing have they been able to take first place away. We're going to find out in just a few moments here, but 27 points is massive.
It's going to be super close. It is going to be, wow, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll stop. But yeah, for Team Falcons here, the circles were wild in this game. Constant hard shifts. Yeah, what? So, these past 2 games especially, so many hard shifts. So Falcons able to capitalize on that. And then they had a crate drop on them, but I can understand all the concerns that they had about those high ground positions overlooking the roads. You have to deal with all of those teams before you then come back to the circle. So that in itself causes so many trials. It's like a walk into a fire. It's a gauntlet.
Even if you don't like eliminate the entire squad, if you just reduce the numbers and regroup on the other side of the road, you have a very clear chance of denying that win away from the Wildcats, which is exactly what they did. 27 points, that's huge. And I'm not gonna lie, you have some tournaments that become a little bit boring towards the end because you know which team is going to be taking the trophy, which team is going to be taking that first place. Not here. Like we have no idea who's going to take it home here.
I think it might be a 3 or 4 point difference up at the top. Something like that.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Well, you know what, gentlemen? We're going to be getting to that in just a few seconds. We're trying to rush through here because you can see 3 minutes and 50 seconds until we get into our final match of the event. But really quickly, big thank you to Aramco as well for supporting this event for G8. You guys at home, many things for you to win. Not $500,000, but you can win some more prizes if you post your favorite memes and make sure to tag the official channels as well. I would love to see some memes at Max. I don't know if Stalwart Esports can actually win because they had a great meme of telling you to get away.
That's true.
From talking about
John had to hold me back.
Yeah, he did have to hold you back. We'll see if Stalwart Esports can come back here into the final match. But here is our highlights, our Sony highlights here from this last match. Yeah. Honestly, this is, you know, Falcons, the zone starting up on top of them. It was perfect. It was exactly what they needed to get this big game under their belts. But obviously, if everything goes your way, that's great, but you have to be able to capitalize off of it.
There were moments at the start of today where I thought Falcons were playing a little bit defensive, a little bit almost scared to a certain degree to try and hold on to the lead that they initially had out of day 2.
Right.
However, in these last couple of games, not the case. They're coming out blasting. I think they look more controlled in some of these last games compared to the start of the day, and it bodes well for them maybe grabbing that championship.
I really don't think the scared team would have done what they just did in that game. Like, we need to clear all of the western side, get rid of all the teams down in that high ground position. Like, if they were playing scared, they would have never done that 100%. But, man, you said it was like 2-3 points. 2-point difference between first and second right now. Team Falcons hot on their heel, but don't want to forget about Stalwart. There's still a chance they can contest up there.
I mean, well, let's focus on Falcons really quickly. They won match 5 on day 1. They won match 6 on day 2. They've now won match 5 on day 3. They have the home crowd behind them. They have the final match coming up here. They already have the cheers. The offline buff must be real. 2 points is very doable. But the thing is, to me, Claris, Vampire Falcons have to play, in my head, almost a little bit differently to avoid as many fights as possible because you don't want to be that team between the two to go out first.
Try stay stable. And again, you know, I think both teams are very capable of playing that kind of style that you're alluding to here. But I'm going to go, you know what, Jason? I'm going to go with it. I think it's Team Falcons time. I think, considering they've got the crowd behind them, a win on home turf, it might be happening.
You've been supporting them since day 1, Coloris. I think like they're an amazing team.
An excellent team.
Okay, I'm going to cut you guys off here really quickly. I apologize because you still need to focus on top 5, right? Dennis Bank Wildcats, they are within 13 points of Digba Galaxy, so another team.
The previous game.
Exactly. Yeah. Another team that cannot afford to go out early. RSG as well, who have fallen out of top 5. It is getting so tense in here.
I can imagine if Nigma Galaxy can qualify in top 5 with Falcons for the after party and the R8 joining up there, like the crowd is going to go wild. 3 local teams playing in a 12-team event on local home turf, like that is insane. Like the domination from the region is absolutely huge.
Look at Vampires here getting ready, getting underway. They know they have the game currently in their hands. $500,000 in their pocket if they can hold on to this lead. But our commentators are going to have to come in here, and hopefully they're hyped up because I'm hyped up. We're seconds away from our final match here of the PUBG Mobile World Invitational 2022. First place $500,000, top 5 advance into the after party showdown next week. John Allen and Blank, take us away.
One more ride, once more into the breach. In 30 seconds, we're going to be taking to the skies over Erangel for the final time here at the PMWI to crown our champions. It is all coming down to this 2-point difference between Vampire Esports and Team Falcons, and that 5th place chase still on the cards.
It is real scary at the moment. RSG, 137 points. Nigma Galaxy, 148. Definitely possible if Nigma Galaxy has a bad game here for Regans to get back into that top 5. But it's Dennis Bank Wildcats who have been really pumping stuff out in that last game to try and push into that top 5. For the Turkish team, you know, this would be absolutely monumental for them. But Stalwart, 178, 20 points exactly behind Vampire Esports. We cannot count them out yet. From day to day, they have been our most consistent team.
Certainly have. One more chance to prove that consistency here as the playing path comes on in for the last time. From Novo up to Stel, but this time around it's a little east leaning. So Gatka, Hospital, Georgia Pole, a little bit late drop.
Another up Neuer though. Instant drop there for Stalwart. They can get looted and booted and ready to go. Looking at our leaderboards at the moment, Vampire Esports still fielding Stone there with 31 eliminations. Lightning, 32, but it's still Action, who really has been man of action for our tournament so far. Getting some absolutely wild stuff done. Wildcats also will be able to get themselves onto North Sosnovka almost immediately. Even maybe down towards military base. And Vampire Esports will have to drop very, very long here with this eastern playing path over towards Quarry. So that does make things difficult for them. I think he got all those headshots last match.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. That was quite impressive. Action just about holding on to the knock record. 31 to 30 to 30 on our leaderboard right now. The MVP race must be absolutely spiced out the wazoo right now, Blank.
Honestly, we've had so many good individual players from practically all of these teams that it is going to be a weird one to check it out. Oh, dear me.
Ooh.
This is one of the circles where maybe teams will have to change their drops. And in the very final match of the PMWI, we are seeing an absolute curveball being thrown at us.
Wow, what a shift. On an eastern plane as well, this is really going to clump those teams up to that eastern side, right? Not a lot of teams are going to want to go all the way out to Georgia Pole, so that's TJB who could potentially be hit here on a difficult position for themselves. You can see they are on that north side and going to try, well, we can see that they are on that north side, still trying to go for that sort of area, but do they wrap back, try and go somewhere else?
It's the difficulty, right? I mean, they want to get looted there straight away. But it's a struggle, just with the way the circle's gone. But this is going to be a very interesting ending to our tournament. Diego, nothing but a pistol in hand. And TJB have got looted up just a little bit faster.
Yeah, even that shotty, that UMP, there's no way you could stand up to that with a pistol against two. I mean, miracle shots would be necessary, but it's just not going to happen. Nice high nade there to scarce yellow, if nothing else. As Lin gets the spray down. Okay. There is potential here with that shotgun in hand to shut down a stairway push. With the K9 for Lin ready to bark.
Just want to leave him alone here. Don't even bother with it. Real struggle now for Vivo, Keed, TJB, but these are not the teams in the story that we are telling today between Falcons, Stalwart, as well as Vampire Esports. I've really stamped a place in our memories, and hopefully yours too.
Certainly have. Certainly mine. This will be an event to remember for sure. And if you've been watching... Ooh. Okay, hang on a minute. There we go. That was the bark I was talking about. It's ready. Woof, woof.
Pink skirt with Lin, heads up top side. Now it's one last player. K9 Ooh. Tries to send it in there, like you said. Cannot close the jaws around the target. I sent some UMP shots down there.
If you've been following these storylines, if you've been watching TJB over these last couple of days, following that race for the top spot, then of course you have been watching with us and trying to earn those daily missions to earn points. Once you earn enough points, once you've accumulated those, you can tap on the rewards icon in-game to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in that event solo or team up with other players. Both ways is absolutely okay, and teaming up could help you get that reward even easier. There's also another reward here for everyone at home. PMWI gun skins and outfits through from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August. There's 50% off PMWI packs. You get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw the PMWI treasure. Okay, Lin. It just looks so good on screen.
Yeah, well, if you aren't going to jump in for those sales, and I don't see why you wouldn't, the 14th of August. So tomorrow that starts until the 15th of September. There will be 16% off PMWI packs where you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And from 4th of August all the way through the 13th, which is today, ending soon, all users in the region of the top 3 teams with a chance to win a prize, and that's a maximum of 1 award per user. And, you know, talking about getting things done and celebrating, you know, if you tune into the PMWI live stream and we reach 100 million live watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate. That is also a maximum of 1 award per user.
So visit the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together area every day from the 11th onwards for more information.
Looking back at the game, we're back on board with Vampire Esports, who have opted to head down towards Quarry and Primorsk. They didn't want to do anything too fancy here, especially in the last game, and honestly, I don't blame them. This is the smart thing to do. Aton Esports down towards Milter Power. A drop that they're very familiar with. Back-to-back, though, move slightly across from Milter. And it's Regans who actually moved down towards that shelter area, you know, just taking up a little bit more room on the southern side and actually coalescing quite quickly here.
TJB did strike out towards that North Georgia position. No teams in very close conflict right now, which is really what we're looking for. Wildcats and Stalwart potentially coming into a scrap, a scramble, a scrabble for bridge control on the eastern bridge from Military Island. No shots just yet ringing out. Scouting being done right now.
You know, Wildcats are actually moving very, very close, like you said, John. Stalwart's just playing it pretty slow. I think they kind of expected this too. With Circle being so much towards the east, this is one of the few times that Wildcats might want to even go for this eastern bridge crossing and where it really does benefit Stalwart. It also means that it looks like Box is getting directly in position just outside that eastern bridge. They have vehicles. We haven't seen really any bridge camps up until now. Back-to-back tries. Takes some shots over towards Aton Esports, very close together in Milter Power and Milter.
Looking at where this circle is, I mean, you've got to imagine that Milter is going to be a strong position to be holding around in these coming minutes. So getting that claim early could prove to be good, or could prove to be a downfall if a lot of teams decide the same, right? If they decide everybody wants to go in there, everybody wants a piece of that pie, it could be just too much pressure to bear and nobody could come out as a winner-winner chicken dinner from that region. Just have to wait and see, Blank. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of PUBG Mobile.
And we do love PUBG Mobile.
Hell yeah.
100%. Fair few teams out inside of the blue at the moment. Vampire Esports is one we always expect, especially going down towards Primos, Quarry, and Ferry Pier. They are now starting to make their move, and make their move they will have to. It's not one of those games where they can just sit pretty and wait this out and take the first place prize. Flower C looks over towards Yusuf. Not a good start for Falcons, but luckily they do get that player out of dodge. Look how damaged he is. Going into this game with 3 players would have been horrendous, and luckily able to make it out alive. But like I said, you know, Vampire Esports, they cannot sit on their laurels here. Only 2 points behind them is Team Falcons. So they will need to put up some points, or at least Falcons will need to go down early in this game, which I'm sure everyone here in Saudi Arabia does not want.
No, certainly not. And you've got to remember that chase for 5th place spot as well. With Wildcats on 135, facing off against Stalwart on this military island, this is a proving ground for them, right? If they're able to come through, I feel like they would deserve that top 5 spot, but they have to be able to come through. That's a brutal shift, Blank. That's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water. This actually is quite good for Stalwart, in fact, because it means that they can wait. They don't have to cross the bridge just yet. They can sit around, chill out, and take this game a little bit more slow, particularly with the circle heading out down towards them. So there's no urgency for them, so they can start to make their move if they want to. DD is absolutely having a right barrel roll of his life over there. Flower C walks on past, well, drives on past, but does take a quick look out in that direction. Vampire Esports, you can see them just starting to make their way up the coast. Box shot out by 2 teams at the moment, back-to-back and Stalwart.
It's far from ideal. Bad for business. Bensu will get that heal off, so stays alive. The Coop left a little bit too far forwards for recouping that one. If you'll pardon the pun. Stalwart going to push in from the back as well, and Top takes some shots over towards Bensu. The firing line is established. Box caught in a mincemeat.
Stalwart would love to pick up a couple of these knocks and a couple of these eliminations as well. In fact, actually taking one knock over towards back-to-back and a couple of knocks over towards Box. So this is a great time to come in and try and third party. Top even throwing the nade out the vehicle. Goodness me, the moving grenade. They really want to get this fight started and underway. They want to finish it quick.
If they can take that aggression to back-to-back, you have Morph to worry about in the same time as well. They could prove to be useful, but Donuts, USG, no, sorry, Team Soul have rocked up on the back as well. Goodness me, everybody's moving along the south coast, and Stalwart will take heavy fire. Pika trying to suppress this line as Top takes a tumble.
This is not good right now. Stalwart down to 3 players. They were taking this game very, very fast at the moment, trying to be swift with it because they know they need those eliminations, but it's Soul who comes in right at a very crucial moment for STE. You can see Vampire Esports just behind them right now. Everyone on this coastal line.
Team Soul spraying down the back again. Box. They have just had such a terrible time on this rotation. I think about 4 teams have been shooting at them. And they are just not going to survive this one out. It's an unfortunate end to their last game, although they're not completely out just now. 10th place at the start of this game. They will be struggling to get much more done with just, I believe, Break left for the squad. Yeah, there he is. You can see full HP. Goblin has been spotted. Action. Contending for that MVP spot as well. You've got to remember, there's a bit of money on the line here as well for Action alone. So even if Stalwart don't have the best of performances, if Action can get a couple of limbs on, if he can get a lot of damage in, would be good.
Cheeky peek coming through from Action. This is why he's one of our top fraggers. Vampire Esports, you can see them on the map right now, starting to rotate over the top side of all of these teams. They hear this shots ringing out, and they just want to find a position where they're not going to be taking too much fire. Stop just towards the north side of Milter, waiting for this next circle to pop now. Down 1. Oh my goodness me. This is a circle to end the PMWI on. I mean, it's certainly a circle, that is for sure. Aton Esports, USG, both pretty happy with this. They were backed into a corner, but now it looks like they're backed into the last available space on the map.
Wow. Okay, all right. How much of the circles is currently water right now? I feel like it's a good 50 to 60% at least. This peninsula, far from kind. Can the Wildcats get across as well? Of course, they're still in that race for 5th place.
Vampire Esports, though, down 1 Kia, rocking on past. Stone gets tossed out of the vehicle on the rotate. They lose 1 here. Doubtful that they'll be able to get Stone back up again. We'll see if there's any camaraderie here for the Vampire Esports team to get them back up, back in action as a full 4.
Staying alive, though. They are answering and answering in force. Vampire Esports find Sung, find Junie. And they are absolutely furious that they've lost their teammate there. Onba across the way for down 1 Kia with 2 players remaining now. They're in 4th place and, with good performances from other teams, are at risk of dropping from those top 5 as well.
This is terrifying at the moment. Down 1 Kia. Yes, they tried to send it dead central, but they've only made it in with Omba and Forest now. At this point in time, you know, they'd be lucky to get some placement points. You know, it would be such a shame for them to lose the after-party showdown right here, just at these final moments.
The Falcons so far being a little bit quiet, but I imagine that's about to change. 4 Rivals swinging in past the back of Milter Power along that cliffside. 4 Rivals, this push for them specifically is going to be really, really treacherous. In go Box Gaming's last player. Break against Stalwart with 3. It's not going to last long. Action picks up another one in the race for MVP.
He's wanting to hold this. Pika knows that a nade gets thrown out, sees a little underhand as he walks in. It was an underhanded play. In this case, both the players from STE, they just wait it out. Falcons right on the northeastern edge. One player on the floor. It's Damar here. Most likely will lose him. Appy searching the smoke for that player. Powerful, takes a bit of damage. Yusuf's on the drive. They're looking for areas to just stay safe in. It's those 2 points they're behind him. Vampire Esports, similarly not in the best of situations.
It feels like Team Falcons kind of let that one happen and allowed for rivals to descend from their cliffside position and now are potentially on the back foot in their race to try and challenge Vampire Esports for the top spot, for the trophy. The Thailand team taking them on. The circle goes back landward.
And this is good for Vampire Esports. You've got to admit, these guys are like one of those medieval battering rams. They will make it into the circle through rain or sunshine. It does not matter. They were in Quarry, Primorse. Now they're in the dead central of the circle now, despite even the incredible hardships that have kept coming out here. Now Falcons, smokes are down. They've got to get through the gates, get through the fences, and hopefully find their way into this circle. But USG are all looking over towards them.
Donuts USG taking those pot shots, but they can swing around the north side here. Zone 4, so the zone won't be super hardcore right now, but if they get knocked outside too far, they will not be able to get that res. Making it to these buildings, really, really good news, but they're going to really expend a lot of their vehicle utility here.
Enigma Galaxy looking on down towards them. They see Morph off in the distance. Falcons pretty close by, if not a little bit closer to them. Check on the other side. Action. Takes a couple of hits from Team Soul. Pika just sending it in. Has to get immediately out, but does get knocked by back-to-backs Polo. He was looking for the Wizard Tower. Wasn't able to find it. And Nevada Kadavra for a kill switch. Looking to find the rest of the team.
The teams that were the downfall of Box Gaming now duking it out with one another. Back-to-back Stalwart and Soul. All in a line. Still on that western side. Pushing in from Milta. They're on that eastern side. At the moment, Stalwart with the worst of it. Crunched in the middle. That's not a sandwich you want to be the filling of.
Well, they are suffering. You know, that's that thick bread that is weighing down on them from both ways.
It's like soda bread. It's some hefty, hefty stuff.
It is difficult to muscle through, but I'm not sure if even Stalwart can make this one happen. Vampire Esports, though, keeping it chilled out after losing one of their players. Still 3 eliminations, despite everything. Quite decent here. Falcons yet to even score 1.
But survival could be all that matters if one of them takes a tumble early on. You do not want to be taking massive risks here with the score so close. You know you just need to outlast the other team. Sure, there's the possibility that Vampire Esports get a 500 million kill game, right?
Yep.
Elimination game. But Team Falcons, do they take that bet? Probably not. Stalwart on 178 at the start of this game, trying to pick up as many points as they can to solidify that 3rd place position that they started the game in. Kill switch, take the nade.
Action with a nade on the top. Sorry, I've just noticed something. The Vampire Esports currently on 4 players. So Stoned actually was able to just army crawl his way all the way across the map and get picked back up again.
I mean, he is a vampire. Maybe he resurrected, you know?
Or just turned into a bat and flew on over. You know, his wing was a bit wounded, but
spooky.
It was absolutely fine for them. Vampire, though, goodness me, no man left behind. Not on their winning game.
It is their run. It is their chance. Stalwart eliminated now. So 3rd place up for grabs. If one of those teams sat behind them, down 1 Kia, we aren't only on 2 players, or Enigma Galaxy, potentially a little bit more likely to be able to take that. Could jump up and maybe steal that position away. But with both of those teams still alive, it's the Wildcats' chase that is very much at risk.
right now, they're taking shots over towards back-to-back. Vampire Esports, Sertani was saying that, you know, they're a positionally heavy-based team. And honestly, coming from Primos, selecting this specific compound, getting through the players to make it happen as well, and even taking that bold move to move over the top side of the coast, maybe just out of cover whilst they hear the third party going on, to hit this compound in this specific spot, knowing the circle's going to have to come back up towards them. Very, very well done. Very smart. No one can say this is circle look for Vampire Esports at all. Falcons, though, they have got to head through some really rough terrain, and so many teams will be sweeping these areas for players.
52 Esports cracking on with RSG, seeing the pickup mechanic in action. GZ brings DD. The two-letter synergy working out at the moment, but ooh, Daku, if he gets the angle, he's a free broadside, gets another knock, looks for it, no! Snakes away behind the cover, but Vaz is in with the rest of 52. Sorry, the only remaining player of 52, looking for the challenge, but can't get it done. RSG staying alive under pressure. This is beautiful to try and strike out. They stay in it, Blank. This chase for 5th is still going.
RSG, it's not the best position in the world, but they're only got Umber and Forest away aside them. So, you know, this really could be a chance for them. Forest currently fighting the world on his lonesome versus the entirety of USG. Falcons, though, TJB versus them. Never Alone hits the deck, takes a fair amount of bullets.
Yusuf, look at a strikeout. No way that you get that teammate back up. Powerful, hot on the heels. The smoke cover is there. TJB looking to cut down this crossing, but their attention is turned as well away to Enigma Galaxy. Yusuf on the floor, spotted. Powerful, could be taken here, and it could be all over for Falcons on their race out in the blue, and they're gone.
And that is it. The Falcons with one hell of a run here in the PMWI. It will end here, but still a fantastic position. And I think it was one of the players from Vampire Esports.
Yeah, who got that final knock, who got that final point. The blue zone claimed the final victim. And Vampire Esports looking set to take this one home, looking to try and stay at that top point. I don't see a way that they can be dethroned here, Blank.
It's going to be so, so difficult. Vampire Esports currently just sending bullets around the map. This shift, though, over towards Team Soul could be their last hurrah here. Trying to make it happen, but it's Stone looking over towards Aton Esports. Trying to hit some of those shots, but they will have to move. It's a hard shift over towards that western side right now. Vampire Esports looking to break that 200-point barrier.
The circle moving out westward, right on top of Team Soul. So now the main challenge on the cards is that race for 5th place. Who can hold on to it? RSG eliminated 6 eliminations and points total, rather, on this game. So can the Wildcats jump on up? Enigma Galaxy, they're only on 2 eliminations with 1 player left as well. Fluketh takes a knock there to the 4 rivals. Well, they've done the work already. Nades towards the back, though, going to do plenty more. 4 rivals, left down to 1. The push comes through. They'll spot it out in the open. Spray's looking good, and they'll take it down. The drive-by for Vampire Esports.
Voki taken out of the map. Fluketh, though, if we know Vampire Esports, you know, he might just crawl on over. Smokes are placed down. TJB off in the distance here. Perhaps looking for a little bit more. Tink Skirt takes a heavy bit of damage. GK first, just slinking in from the background. Trying to cross his way in. If Vampire Esports can end the day with a chicken dinner, it's a second, a first, a fourth, and then potentially even another chicken dinner on the day. It will be the most incredible bump up of points to finish this tournament for PUBG Mobile at the PMWI. Aton goes down, and Vampire's taking everyone on. Unfortunately, Ravenclaw hits the floor.
Sorted out himself. It's Ravenclaw to take the knee, but back into the smoke. Vampire still with 11 eliminations. They started on Erangel with a strong chicken dinner. It would be such providence to take this one home as well, but they still have to fight through the rest of this lobby. Make that another elimination point to rack on up. Team Soul, though, still with a central position. Nades back in. Zenetexa is going to go down, and the forces holding them out are going to wane, but it's only Schweppes now left standing for the top squad.
Goes for Rez onto Ravenclaw. Stoned is bleeding out fast. Aton Esports now have different things to worry about. It's back-to-back who just nail them down. Torn apart by bullets. Sent so quickly. It looks like Vampire Esports will get all 3 players back up again. And back-to-back, they're stuck in the blue.
They are pinned. That Molotov position really, really solid to stop their push over towards the Vampire Esports position. Now they can start to win their way in, but Seoul have 4 players alive. The team from India, who have not had the best of times, would love to close it out here strong.
But it's Vampire Esports. You just cannot take your eyes off at this current moment. Back-to-back, they fought against them on Miramar. Here we are again. Vampire Esports looking to toss some nades over the top. Enigma Galaxy still have Freak in the game. This nade could prove absolutely disastrous. Doesn't hit anyone, luckily. But they might have seen the arc, and Stoned just slowly strafes over. Luckily, he'll live to see another day there.
A little bit of damage from Ravenclaw, but Freak takes a tumble as well. Enigma Galaxy eliminated. Stoned is found as back-to-back ride on in, trying to get that flush, and they will. Polo sends out. Schwepp wants to find the shots, but takes a lot of damage. Vampire Esports might have their run cut down here, but they have done enough. Only Ravenclaw left, hits the deck for a drop shot, and that is the end of their story. But it is now back-to-back, and Seoul going head-to-head. The team from India, 4 players alive with a heavy elimination game. Find the final, but we are going to go over to the stage for the trophy ceremony.
Vampire Esports, congratulations, you are the PUBG Mobile World Invitational Champions here at Gamers 8. What an incredible performance you had throughout. Now, I just got to ask you, try and explain the emotions you're feeling right now, you and your team.
We are mad right now because we are just living in a dream. Because before we come here, we think, okay, we are the champion, but now we get it. So that's why it's a really incredible moment right now for our team. Thank you.
فريق فامباير اي سبورتس قدروا يحصلون على البطوله. حبينا نسالهم السؤال الاول، ايش شعورهم بعد الفوز؟ وكان شعورهم انه احنا الان جالسين نعيش الحلم حقنا، وهذا الشيء اللي احنا كنا نتمناه من اول ما جينا البطوله، والحلم هذا صار واقع واخيرا.
Well, you came into this tournament, incredibly aggressive play style. We already spoke to many of the casters backstage and they agree. Opening the tournament with 24 elimination chicken dinner. Was that the plan the whole time? Just aggressive, aggressive?
ก็คือเขาบอกว่าทีมเราเตรียมตัวมาด้วยการเล่นแบบ aggressive แบบไฟอย่างเดียวเลยตั้งแต่แรกอยู่แล้วใช่ไหมเป็นสไตล์ของเราอยู่แล้วใช่ไหมใช่บอกภาษาไทยไปก่อน
ก็ทีมพวกผมเป็นทีมไฟอยู่แล้วครับผมเป็นทีมที่เล่นขอบวงครับผมไม่ได้ห่วงโพซิชั่นเยอะครับแต่มันก็ขึ้นอยู่กับสถานการณ์หน้าเกมแล้วก็วงแต่ละวงด้วยครับ
So our team in the play style we play like aggressive all the all time because my player have the confidence and the shooting skill. So we are playing with the circle, very slow and looking to position to fight. And also we are vampire. We are very hungry the blood.
فريق فامباير اي سبورت كان يتكلم عن طريقه البلاي ستايل حقته وكيف قدروا انه يفوز وكيف كانت خطته داخل اللعبه. يقول تركيزنا احنا نلعب اجريسيف لانه احنا واثقين من انفسنا في ادائنا، زياده على كذا في اي اكثر شيء نركز عليه هو الايم حقنا والشوتنج حقنا دائما يكون في محله، وهذا الشيء اللي احنا ركزنا عليه وهذا الشيء اللي خلانا نفوز البطوله.
Well, I have to ask you one final question before I let you go and before I let you celebrate with the rest of your team. Is there anything that you would like to say to your fans who have been supporting you throughout this entire year and throughout this tournament?
ก็ฝากขอบคุณคนไทยทุกคนนะครับผมที่คอยเชียร์คอยให้กำลังใจตลอดนะครับผมถึงวันที่2พวกผมจะบูดไปแต่วันนี้พวกผมทำเต็มที่แล้วพวกผมได้เป็นแชมป์ของ PMWI แล้วครับผมขอบคุณครับ
They said we are 100% for this tournament and they are glad to become a champion. Also, thank you Saudi Arabia for warming welcome us and also support all the tournament. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for the fan. Hope you enjoy this moment. Thank you.
You guys have been absolutely incredible, but yes, let's reconfirm you are the winners of the lion's share of $2 million. The PMWI Gamers 8 trophy is yours. Congratulations, everyone in the Gamers 8 arena. Please give it up one more time for Vampire
Thank you
Esports.
so much.
Thank you so much. You guys have been absolutely incredible. We're going to hand back over to the analyst desk where they can break everything down and round out the tournament.
يعطيكم العافيه اعزائي المشاهدين والحضور. احنا نتوجه الان لاستديو التحليل نتكلم عن الشيء الرهيب اللي شفناه قبل شوي وكيف قدروا فريق فامباير اي سبورتس انهم ياخذون البطوله بالكامل. على طول مع الاستديو التحليلي.
Good to see Sertania there with this team as well after we had him on the desk over at day 2 to talk to him about how the team has done. You can see what it means to them. They're out of words. They're out of breath. They're so excited to take home that $500,000, not to mention that spot over in the after party showdown. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to start to break this one down here. The post show brought to you by VOV. What a run out of Empire Esports. Day 1 looked fantastic. Day 2 looked grim, but they didn't let it get to them. They bounced back hard in day 3.
I mean, they had a game plan, right? In this lobby, they knew exactly what their game plan was. Getting good positions. When we're in a good position, the eliminations, they come on their own. They played to that down to a T, and it clearly worked out. They got first place, right?
It's been a spectacular run from them. I mean, from the very word go all the way to this last match as well. I think that when you look at their performance across, as an average even across all these 3 days, they have stood out above the rest here. So absolutely spectacular. I've just finished doing a tournament in Thailand as well. The fans are going to be going absolutely radio rental for everything that they've just been able to accomplish here. They should be very, very proud of this team.
I mean, on that note, Seven Worlds Gaming was actually watching the event, watching the finals live in the arena, and he told us that when Falcon Esports got knocked out, the entire arena was silent, except for Sertani, who was screaming because he knew with them being eliminated, they got themselves $500,000 and they got themselves the title. Let's actually take a look at the overall standings from bottom to top here so you get an idea of where all the other teams did place, of course. 52 Esports rounding things out with 76 points, 18th place, the team coming in from Pakistan. But hey, a lot of experience for them. They still get a decent amount of money. Let's be perfectly clear about this one. But they get a lot of experience that they can take for themselves back to Pakistan. They can take it and hopefully get themselves into PMGC.
Yeah, exactly. Though we did see Team Soul secure that last chicken dinner right there. Huge for the Hindi fans. And also able to push himself up in 11th position. That's a huge prize for increase they just got with that final game. So, man, Team Soul feeling good. And can't wait to see them getting more and more integrated in the esports scene, hopefully.
Yeah, the game kind of came to them. But, I mean, it was a strong holdout. And I love the way in which they pushed out towards the end to make sure back-to-back had absolutely no room to play. They really strangle-holded that position and took it nicely.
Let's actually move up on into the overall rankings to see potentially into our top 5, right? Because obviously we know who our winner is, and we're going to have Damwon Kia. Enigma Galaxy has made their way through as well, but we can see Seoul, like you mentioned before, in 11th. Back-to-back, let's give them a little bit of credit. They started the day off in last place, able to get themselves into 10th. They had a really good performance today, and if they were able to maintain that performance in the prior days, we potentially could have seen them top 5.
Yeah, unfortunately, like 2 days where they tended to struggle really hurts your overall performance to reach top 5. So still good comeback towards the end of the tournament as a whole, but man, the fact that we can think now we're going to have 3 local teams in the after-party showdown, that is going to be mental.
Yeah, just to touch on back-to-back as well here for a moment. The day one, I actually asked you guys, where are they at the end of the day? Because quite honestly, they looked non-existent. Today, absolutely not the case. They really actually came to play here in this last day, so kudos to them.
Yeah, J7 as well. We saw quite a few plays out of him and J-Way. But as we look up into the leaderboards, RSG, unfortunately, after a dominating performance at day 2, they unfortunately failed to qualify. But we can see here Damwon Kia, Enigma Galaxy, Stalwart Esports, Team Falcons, and Vampire Esports will be participating next week in the after-party showdown with all the invited teams from around the world. It's going to be so exciting.
And it feels like a mini PMGC, the after party showdown, what we're going to have, right? You're going to have all these huge names, and also you're going to be able to have BTR join the mix. You're going to have RAT Sport. Like, that is going to be a really insane event. But Vampire Esport, 220 points. As you said, consistently here, Kalaris looking like the best team consistently from day 1 up into day 3. And when they have a good game, it's a really good game that allows them to just stand out from the rest.
And we really got to delve into this team as well throughout the 3 days. We got to get opinions from Sertani. We got to watch them on the battlefield, extract information on how they were playing. It's great that the top 5 that we have going in, we have a few teams that are approaching the game in a quite similar way, but then you've got this different diverging path of Enigma Galaxy, very rotation heavy, Damwon Kia, very central heavy. All of these guys are going to be bringing different things to the table at the very end to try and get themselves even more money next weekend.
And the fact that they make it also Enigma Galaxy without a single chicken dinner, extreme consistency. Like, first day, a little bit rough, right? But I think the offline event buff kind of came their way afterwards. They saw like, Falcons did it. We can maybe try and replicate that a little bit. So good for them, and especially for Damwon, like your South Korean overlords making it into the after party. Hell yeah.
I'm actually excited to see what Enigma Galaxy does as well going into next week, considering we've seen them in PUBGC in the past do exceptionally well. I think they potentially could pull it off again and maybe, I want to say, redeem themselves a bit, because I think we expected a little bit more out of them, even though they did obviously finish top 5.
I think they're a team that if you give them room, they're actually extremely dangerous. But here in an 18-team lobby, you don't really have much room. Lobbies are a bit different next weekend.
How many teams do we go down to next week, Max?
I'm going to have 12, but the maps that play are also a bit different. So, there's not that much space to work with. Oh no.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Well, before we move into our MVP, because remember there is a prize pool for them, $5,000. I want to give a big shout out to MasterCard and Saudi as well, because they've made this possible, the likes of all the other lovely sponsors we've had here in this event. But don't worry, for you guys at home, there's still things for you guys to win. The Vibe and Drive event currently going on within PUBG Mobile is happening. Get your friends together and complete the missions, and you can get yourself a free legendary set that is permanent. I'm looking at you, Max. It's permanent. He doesn't have one yet.
I permanently don't have it.
But maybe we can make that happen for you. But gentlemen, as we have finished off the day, right, there were questions. We knew Action was MVP after day 1. We knew Lightning was MVP after day 2. However, Action was top overall.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are things different now after seeing Vampire Esports show up like this in the last day? Don't show it just yet, though.
I still might stick with Action.
I think Action had such a big lead, right, and the extreme consistency really helped, but Mike was also insane in
he was. And then the closest from Falcons was for Never Alone. And but it was quite a margin.
You like the limbs,
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, well, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you out there, let's actually find out who our MVP of PMWI 2022 it's going to be. It is Action. He holds on strong. 37 eliminations, 7,600 damage. I feel like the elims and damage for him definitely helped carry him through.
Especially kind of the work he kind of laid the foundations in day 1 to be like, it's going to be really hard to catch up with him regardless. Yeah, average survival time actually for an MVP a little lower.
It's actually low,
but still really blasting out of control.
And it's great when you think about it, right? We keep selling Stalwart as this incredible team, and when you look at their fragging duo, you've got Top and Action. Top actually taking the MVP of his home region, and now on the international stage, Action taking this MVP is insane. But man, it was so close. Mike barely could have made it, but Action stayed on top.
I think one name here that we really haven't talked too much about is Wave. We've really not touched on him here throughout the desk as a whole, but I guess the thing is about Vampire is that it wasn't just really an individual performance as much as Mike has really kind of been at the forefront of that. Yeah. Every single component of this team has looked excellent throughout this tournament here, and so it's been a true team effort.
Yeah, I'm just jealous about Wave. No, that's why I didn't talk about him. I just like his hair, and I wish I had it.
You do like his hair?
Yeah, I do like his hair. That's why I'm not going to talk about him.
Your hair's looking better from day 1 to day 3 now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I did. The offline event buff. There you go. Just get rid of it.
That's right. That's right.
The offline hotel haircut buff that comes through. But obviously, great to see still this many teams able to perform so well, and many individual players as well. I mean, the thing is, we normally cover just Western Europe, so it's great to actually cover a broader audience of players, just so we can see who's really up and coming. Because in a few months' time, PMG's coming.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for Nova Express.
Regional Clash.
And Regional Clash. Oh, I mean, come on. You know we're all going to be sitting there watching Regional Clash together, get the popcorn in hand or whatever we're going to be eating, because that's going to be insane. But PMGC is going to be even better.
There's so many teams that are going to be really interesting to keep track of, and I'm especially hyped to see what Lightning can do, because when you think of like Chinese top players, you got yourself your Order, you got your Power Boys, you got your Jimmy, your boy Jim up there.
Boy Jim.
Yeah, Lightning came in as a very big surprise. Didn't know what to expect from him in particular, but he really stood out for the team. So PMGC, if they make it, that could be a really, really hype player to see play.
My favorite thing about coming into these truly international tournaments, and we did it here as well, is getting the opportunity to truly study down on every region and figure out exactly the kind of differences between them. I mean, one thing even just as small as Damwon Kia, South Korea, bringing in the DBS constantly, always holding it till the very end of the game.
Bison.
I think as Bisons as well. I think as time goes on, some of these little things can be taken away from other regions, and it becomes meta as time goes on.
On that note about Damwon Kia, think about South Korea when it came to PMGC two years ago. We had Archer Gaming, if I'm not mistaken.
And it was...
And they didn't fare too well. But to see that region turn it around like this in just like a year's time, because Damwon Kia did fantastic last year at PMGC, is very difficult to do.
And it's very interesting because you remember there was Inonix on the team back then, actually renamed to Forest. And he's the one who popped off a lot of the time for the side of Damwon. So I think South Korea really are putting their name on the map of PUBG Mobile esports.
Don't get me started on South Korean esports.
Go for it.
I'll talk for half an hour.
We have a podcast after this, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, very, very impressive.
Very impressive indeed. We did mention before there's a award for MVP. There's also the other awards you mentioned before, like Gunslinger, like Eagle Eye. Let's take actually a look into see who all won the respective awards and how much money they got for themselves here. We can see Action, of course, gets the MVP, but there we go. Wave and Mike. They didn't win MVP, but they still made it on there with 2.
It's still some decent money coming their way. Really good stuff. I mean, that's what you pointed out earlier, right, Kalaris? It was a really big team effort from all of the team of Vampire Esports. So having them, 2 of the different players taking Gunslinger and Grenade Master, I'm really not surprised.
And of course for Eagle Eye as well, for a long portion of this time, it was actually top holding that with I think 375-ish meters. But then Hector came in halfway through yesterday, being able to take that crown with a long... It might have even been on Sandhog. And if it was, that's nuts. But because normally it's all close combat in Sandhog. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Team Seoul, they won't make it through into the next part of the event. But nonetheless, I mean, big awards for all these players. I mean, I don't even want to think about how much money Vampire Esports are taking home, because it's $500,000, plus they get the money for these awards as well.
After party
showdown. I mean, just imagine somehow they go home with $1 million.
The fact that there is different stipulations in the after party, and now Vampire's in there. Oh my!
And they won those awards.
Yeah, that bodes well for their money count.
Yeah,
the bank account's gonna raise, boys.
Okay, this was actually scrims for the after party for them.
Well, Sir Danny, I will give you my info so you can send me some money. I can tell you about my favorite car as well, maybe some UC, something. Because the desk buff, I think, the desk blessing we gave him and his team is very important. But gentlemen, before we do end off the entire day here, and of course the main event, I want to give you a chance to say any final last words here.
No, I think it's been great to come back to an offline event, right? It's been, what, 2-3 years since we've been back to offline event, and seeing the crowd present and supporting, Team Falcons, the local team, and even a team that is not local actually winning the event, that is Vampire, is just fantastic. And I just hope we get back into the more offline event-focused events like PMWI, and I think it's just great.
For me, I'm always a big fan of watching the macro plays unfold from all of these teams, and the fact that we have a few different styles at the very top for the top 5 moving into the next portion, as well as taking the lion's share of all the money, is very exciting for me as an analyst to see the way that you can win in PUBG Mobile. Doesn't always have to be the same track way.
Yeah, well, we're obviously going to find out what's going to be happening next week. We do get the after party showdown. Obviously for myself, for Claris, for MaxBen, for Blink, for John, for Seven Worlds Gaming, and of course for Avenger. We appreciate you guys all tuning in, but you're going to have to wait a week. But to cure that itch until we do get back here, watch some highlights and a recap here from Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib. We'll see you soon.